Here we go, dude. Only way to it is through it, boys. And the greatest, most reliable vehicle helps you get anywhere from point A to point B. And that is the outstanding, the durable, reliable Chevy Silverado. We know every team starts the season undefeated. For the first month. Everyone has a shot, and one team has already won it all.
The New York Giants.
Yo, dude. I'm not going to do podcasts with you anymore. You keep doing this.
I'm sorry to you. I'm also speaking to...
According to JD Power, Chevy is the most awarded brand of new vehicle quality, and the Chevy Trucks has won more new vehicle quality awards than any other brand. That's some serious hardware, but champions don't stop. They keep moving forward, and that's what Silverado is all about. From the LT model to the most extreme Silverado ever, the ZR2. Chevy gave the Silverado a new interior with a larger infotainment screen and digital instrument cluster. They gave it a towing technology and up to 14 available camera views. It's always truck season here at Bussin, but now it's also tailgate season. And what better way to roll up to a tailgate than in a Chevy Silverado, boasting a larger, more functional bed than any other competitor? I don't know why we don't scroll down when I'm on the last line. And I'm projecting because I'm mad right now. So this is not on.
He's probably the wrong person to project to as well, because when you say something that could project Jack, it's just a fucking class.
Head over to Chevy.com to learn more about Chevy Silverado. For JD Power 2022 U.S. award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Hey, Jack. Let's be better. And then you would say,
I'm not here to say things. Still.
Oh, he's already into this shit.
Bro.
Hey, vibes up. Hey, guys, let's bring the vibes up. I know we're all working through this. Trust me, everybody listening right now, this is a new thing for us.
And the thing that's rattling in my mind right now is there's some dude in Cookeville, Tennessee being like, that boy should be playing football right now, not being on this damn mic, playing with his friends.
But I was thinking about that earlier, and I'm thinking like, I think everybody tuning in is more like for the boys. But there's somebody like taking time out of their day to see if you in that phenomenal hoodie.
Thank you.
On a podcast, because we'll probably be in this intro for maybe 20 minutes. And then just wants to keyboard warrior it up. Like, what a fucking loser.
Dude, here's the best part, dude. I'm wearing Kevlar, and the best Kevlar I have is I won't even fucking see it, dude.
What's Kevlar?
Kevlar vest, like a bulletproof vest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's all right, dude. I can't read. You don't know words. It's all good, dude. We're going to be straight here. So here's what we should do, dude. Just let the hate out, dude. If you're on YouTube right now or anything, just fucking put the comments in there. Put the negative comments in there. You know why? Because we'll just stack that negativity on top of the beautiful foundation we have of good vibes, and we're going to keep rolling forward. That's what we're going to keep doing, dude. Each week's a new week. And listen, we play... Couple of 9-year guys here. Couple of 9-year guys.
9-year vets going.
Couple of 9-year vets.
18 years.
You lose games, dude. It happens. And listen, I'm sick. I didn't fall asleep till 2:30 last night. Doing nothing. Just staring at my phone, wondering which way's up.
And by the way, Taylor never just texted me this. Taylor just texted me last night. What are you up to?
Yeah. I was hot, dude. I'm like.
Texted back, watching the game and searching for candidates for the next Nebraska job.
He did say that. What you really need to get into soon.
Like, what are you doing?
Here's what I'll say about, because I know you want to ask questions, and there's always that weird thing of like, what do you want to talk about? What do you don't want to talk about? So I'll just do it for you. We got to score more points.
I wasn't.
We got to score more points. You know?
You want to ask questions about the game? Let me ask them first.
Yeah. Yeah, score more points, dude. Fucking couple of good things though. Saw a lot of things out there that's like real positive that, oh, this is cool. Hey, this guy looks pretty good. So
we got the old Bet the Bus show going on right now. Our Bet the Bus game of the week was Tampa Bay last night over Dallas. Locked.
Yeah. That got hurt too, yeah. Poor boy.
The Bet the Boys parlay almost fucking hit. We missed it. Literally missed it by a total of 5 points.
Huh?
3 teams.
Will, how'd your bets go this weekend?
Bet the Bus. I mean, we won the majority of those bets. If you listen to Bet the Bus. Okay. We went 1-1 on college. Nebraska. Listen, we can get into that after we talk about this.
Yeah, we definitely need to get into that.
Tennessee. Shout out to Vols. Covered. Who else did I bet on in the NFL? The NFL games.
What about you? Bet on Michigan?
No, because it was all so high. Like I said, though, those are games that make me uncomfortable. When it was
Yeah,
like
you don't want to-
it was like Michigan favored by like 50 something points, and I was like,
50?
yeah, they're and
Oh, we didn't cover then, right?
I think it was 51, 52. They might have. I mean, they beat them with they were up like 40 something nothing at one point.
Last week.
It was like 40 something nothing in the third quarter with Michigan. But I did say Michigan's going to mop the floor with them, bet responsibly. And then
Your
the
quarterback plays hit.
Derek Carr hit. I think I want to say Kirk hit. Aaron Rodgers did not hit. No, I didn't do the NFL ones. You'd have to check the tape from the show on that. I can't remember the games I bet exactly. The Bet the Boys parlay was all money lines. It was Commanders, all the boys teams. Titans, Commanders, and Raiders. And Commanders was the one I was most worried about. They come out, beat Jacksonville, was hype. I was like, oh. And then we were up 13-0. I was like, oh my God, we're fucking living. Like, Payoff Willie's about to be alive and well. Then we lost by 1 point. Obviously, that field goal was tough. And then the Raiders lost by 4 points or 5 points to the chart. Wait, what did they lose? 24, 2019? So a total of 6 points.
19, yeah.
Total of 6 points. My fault. They lost by 5, and they had 5 turnovers. So, personally, I think we're looking up with the Bet the Boys parlay.
For a first time, too, it sounds like you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're proud of what you did.
Yeah, first game. First weekend out there in the industry.
It makes you feel better. I just saw Big Cat went 0-7, and his last bet this is just NFL, and his last bet was -6.5 for Denver, and he's now flipping to +7.5 for Seahawks, thinking he might go 1-8. But right now he's sitting at 0-7. So if it makes you feel any better,
It did seem like a lot of people were struggling this weekend. College was all over the place. I think that's where I ultimately was messing up. I was like a kid in the candy store, making some of these.
Yeah, you're out there. There's this
I was-
one, this one,
yeah.
this one, this
And
one.
then I'm like, oh, what are parlays? You're like parlaying them all together. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, these odds are incredible.
When you take the money line on something, what does that mean?
So when it's money line, it's just straight up. Titans are going to beat the Giants.
Got you.
The spread for you guys was -2 or -5.5. And I was that on Bet the Bus. I was like, oh, Titans got that one. But on the Bet the Boys parlay, it was just all money lines. And then I want to say, that's what money line means.
Yeah.
And then parlay, you combine them all, and they got bigger odds, bigger numbers. But if one misses, then you don't win. I had like a 9-leg parlay going on.
Parlays are designed to lose.
It was like all players. It was like Saquon 50+ yards, Derrick Henry 100+ yards, Kirk Cousins plus 250 yards, 1.5 TDs. Like I'm betting.
College one was ridiculous.
Travis Kelce was like he's gonna get a 20-something yard reception. He did. Yeah, college when I had a long parlay going on in college that I thought I was gonna smack. I missed like more than half of them.
Since you started betting, how does it feel?
Dude, it's exhilarating. You're locked in truly all day long watching football. Like,
Yeah, 1-800-GAMBLER.
yeah, 1-800-GAMBLER. But
I'm been high on him, Taylor.
Like,
JP says. How much did you bet in total?
No, we can't. We're not going to go over numbers yet. I'm not comfortable enough to do that, especially like on the pod.
Yeah. But
Maybe
they
as we
definitely
get
lost a couple 100,000 though.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
A couple commas.
But dude, it's awesome. Like, literally Saturday all day, I watch ball. And I literally was thinking to myself in the middle of the day, this is what everyone's going through. You're like yelling at the fucking TV, God damn it. Then you sit back. It's just like an emotional roller coaster. And then you might lose one. You just pull out your phone, you look up some next bets, and you're like, all right, the morning slate, we're putting that one behind us. We got the afternoon and the evening. We're going to come alive.
Holy shit, dude.
And then you see everybody just going through it, and some people winning, some people saying, hey, I told you so, or you're an idiot. And then, literally, bro, I think I went 4-13 on Saturday. And then
How many? You
Sunday,
been in 13 college teams?
17.
4 and 13. Yeah, Shaw, you been in 17 college teams?
I bet on 17 things, yeah. Some things are like in the game parlay, like I might bet they're going to score more than 10.5 points in the first quarter. Or second half total, like totals, touchdowns. You can bet it all, brother.
Whatever you want.
You can bet whatever
Can
you
you bet
want.
the coin toss?
No, I was trying to look for that, but I didn't see it.
Barstool doesn't do that. A lot of like off brand like Bovada, like illegal
Wheat
sites will
brands,
do
wheat brands, yeah,
wheat
illegal.
brands that we don't use, but they'll do crazy stats. You know, what color Gatorade and like
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
then,
awesome.
and then on Sunday, I made all my bets, and I'm like, today we prove everybody wrong because it's a new day.
Because it's a new day.
I heard you back there, Garrett. Tried to sneak it in there. But
Fucking
yeah, it's exhilarating.
sounds like
man.
you guys had a good weekend.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, because some things,
It was honestly a very bad weekend. Nebraska gets beat by Georgia fucking Southern.
bro. How did you feel going through that?
I don't know. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
What's confusing to me is like, if you remember, we do all the bits last year, but last year the defense was good, and like we were just bad on special teams, and then we couldn't close out games like on offense, like
Mhm.
late in the fourth quarter. Refs would screw us. But this year, our offense is looking solid, and our defense is just like a fucking wet toilet paper, dude. Georgia Southern was scoring literally every drive, and so were we. And it was like,
what was the score?
45-42.
yeah,
It was a shootout.
Oh my god.
yes, bro.
We can cut this too, but a lot of people in our mentions are wondering what's gonna happen with the Bussin Bowl now that Scotty's gone.
Don't cut that, dude, because I was gonna get to that.
Yeah, so
It feels like, right?
It feels.
If it looks
feels
like a duck
scary.
and it quacks like a duck,
It happened so
we're probably ducked.
not so fast.
not so fast. brother.
Oh,
I don't have nothing good, like actually good, but here's how we can flip the script. Glass half full always. Vibes
ahead.
are up.
We're picking different teams.
So, yeah, when that happened, I was like, I think you shot me a text. I'm like, yeah, it might be.
someone told me I walked into the game a few hours before the game, and someone goes, "Hey, you see that Georgia Southern beat Nebraska?" And I was like, "No way!" And I'm like, "I think they're gonna fire the head coach." I'm a big fan of Scott Frost. He seems like an awesome dude. And then, sure enough, like an hour later, someone was like, "They fired him." I came out of the hot tub, and Ben Jones was like, "They just fired the Nebraska coach." And I go, "Ah, the Bussin Bull's dead!" And I like stormed in the locker room, all fucking mad. Damn.
Yeah, but here's why I think we should have some optimism. Here's why.
Okay.
They got rid of Frost early. Now, all they had to do was wait 2 more weeks for that buyout to get cut in half. They didn't. Scott Frost, he's going to be okay.
He's gonna be all right.
$15 million buyout. He's going to be like Eddie. He's going to be like Eddie O on that recent interview he had.
That shit
where
was
he's like,
hilarious.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which door you want me to walk out of?
Yeah.
Go Tigers.
Exactly. But they're doing that, I feel like, to salvage some recruiting, get some some stabilization for mostly probably recruiting
They're
purposes.
playing the long game.
Yeah.
They say, let's take the short-term hit for a long-term win.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you think about it too, whenever you have an interim head coach, the majority of time they're not usually there. However, I think Coach Joseph is actually like in the lineup to do it. But at this point, it's like finding ways to, salvage the season. I'm not saying we can't go 10-2. Listen, I'm not going to say we are going to go 10-2. I'm just not going to say it can't happen.
Well, obviously, yeah.
All I'm saying is if you have things to play for,
Yeah, if you're OU, you're like, get this. Let's start the twos this week.
okay, big mistake. We're going to fucking sneak them. I think we're going to sneak them.
He goes, oh, okay, big mistake.
I think if you're OU right now, I won't. Hopefully Dobson doesn't listen, but this could be a trap game. This could be a trap game for OU. They don't know what's coming at them. You know what I mean?
Bro, they're not gonna.
They know
Here's,
exactly what's
bro, they know exactly what's coming. They're not. They can't. They can change the coach. They can't change the playbook.
Okay, Oklahoma, sleep on us. That's my message to y'all.
I can't bet. Can I bet on college games?
I think you can bet on college games as long as it's
Bet on
not
college
NFL.
I've never betted before. I don't plan on starting, but I bet you they lose.
Who? Oklahoma?
Yeah. No, Nebraska.
Oh, damn, I was about to get that.
No, I'm with you, and I don't want to take the vibes down because as we've started this podcast, where we started and where we are now, even through all this like mud we're trudging through, I can feel the vibes going up and up. But I'm just not with you on that one.
How about this?
And I
How about
hope
this?
Nebraska wins. I want to say that I hope y'all do.
How about this though?
Go ahead.
Nebraska with points.
What's the points?
Who knows? Probably a lot. That's why I feel like there's going to be a payoff. Willie's going to be out there. I think you could take Nebraska with the points. Oh, okay. Here's what I was going to say about Bet the Bus. Well, you could flip it to, you look at like building, like you got to find positives for recruiting purposes.
Yeah.
You have to if you're Nebraska for recruiting.
Are you talking about the Bussin Bowl or Bet the
Even
Bus?
the bowls. Oh, my fault. Yeah, not Bet the Bus. The Bussin Bowl.
Bussin Bowl.
To me, that's something that you can build around. That you can still sign your name on that dotted line. you keep it kind of hush hush. Like we're not doing it to promote it. We just need to do it because we want to make the trophy.
Right.
We do. But
I think regardless, we need to make a trophy.
no matter what, even if it's like I'm gonna hold it at my house for a year,
Yeah.
you hold it at your house,
Yeah.
we're still gonna be out there for the tailgate,
Yeah.
and we just make it our own. However, I think that it's like you got to find something to rally around. I think that's one of the small things that you can do.
Yeah.
The line is only 11.5.
Oh, I'll take Oklahoma.
Yeah. Refinance.
How do you do I need to start a Barstool Sportsbook right now and just betting all my money on that?
Brother, that would
11
hurt.
points.
That would hurt me. That would hurt me if you did that.
It's not, but it's just business. It's not personal.
That would hurt me.
Bro, the way Will fucking does this with his finger sometimes, like he just said something and he's just waiting for some, like that's his pause and pause and pause. Fucking the little finger thing you do. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about bets because I don't want to get myself in a gray area that I don't even want to be in. I'll let you guys talk about that. But fuck, 11 points. If I was on Bet the Bus, I'd probably say, what do they say? Hammer down, dude. What do they say on McAfee?
Hammer Don.
Hammer down.
Don.
Yeah.
Yo, it always is hilarious when, who is it? Is it Gump? Is it Gump that has that bark video? Oh, yeah.
So lame.
No, he really has that. He really has that little video out there.
One thing that the Titans Jumbotron needs to do better is not show the fans when it's like a 3rd and long and like show the play. Because they always like on the big screen, you're like, I'm like sitting there watching. It's like fans. And I'm like, then all of a sudden it's like 2 seconds into the play and they go back to the play.
Yeah. And like the whole we run it thing, like.
They're trying something new.
Yeah, but that I think that's something, if they continue to do that with the same guys, that'll be tough. Who run it? We run it.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah, that's just my perspective.
Yeah, 100%. So Bussin' Bull's not dead in your opinion.
I don't think the Bussin' Bull's dead at all.
Because I know the boys in Michigan have literally told me we're just waiting for them to sign and we're ready to go. That's what Michigan said. Michigan's already drawn their line in the sand. They got their troops ready.
Do we need the AD?
We're just waiting for you guys to storm the beaches. What's that?
Yeah, we need the Michigan AD to have. We need his signature.
He will. They're just waiting on y'all.
Yeah, I listen. I think we'll get it done. Like obviously, there's some things going on right now to where
October 12th. Like September 12th. We got to go. Like we're
I'm just
literally
saying,
2 months away.
You put yourself in Nebraska's shoes right now. Like we just fired our head coach.
Right.
But I think you know what happens when those things go on. You find things to play for. The Bus Trophy is a moment that you can build around.
The level of optimism is incredible. I absolutely, like, I can't tell you how much I love you. I don't have the words. I don't have the vocabulary to tell you how much I love you. The way you're talking right now, I wish and I hope the AD and the interim head coach, have they said who the interim head coach is going to be?
Yeah, Mickey Joseph.
Mickey Joseph. I hope they're listening and they go, we got to fucking do this. He's right. Because you are.
No, yeah, 100%.
Let's hope that shit gets done.
He actually was the, I don't know if he was the wide receivers coach, but he was part of like this. He was at LSU before Nebraska. And he was part of like building out those receivers.
Hey, did Julio Jones go off last night?
Yeah, he did.
That's pretty selfish.
He was going off in a way to where I wanted to find the Fournette clip of him saying like he's happy because he even dropped the ball and got up and was like smiling, thinking I should have had that ball.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that one. He almost.
Yeah.
I had to just turn it off. Watched Top Gun last night.
The new one?
Oh, yeah, for like the 3rd time. That movie, dude, that's such a good vibe, that movie. It's outstanding. What else is an incredible vibe? Maybe the best vibe that you can possibly populate in your little mind is Spooktober. And it's right around the corner, dude. And I think now more than ever, we need everything. Wizards, witches, goblins, ghouls, specters, the whole fucking thing, dude. I need jack-o'-lanterns with candles lit and they're just fucking glowing at you as you're walking up and get caught in somebody's fake cobwebs. You walk in, you hear or the doon 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 doon. You just need it, dude. We need it. We're on our way. I'm seeing leaves fall. I'm feeling the temperature. Yes, dude.
Are you actually seeing leaves fall? I don't see any leaves falling.
Come to my house, dude. I save the first one every year.
Okay. I love that.
All right.
It's like a tree star.
Yeah, I got it in a book, dude. I fucking hold it down. I keep it in there forever, dude.
But
it's coming up.
The weather is like, it was a little chilly this morning.
It was. Now the weather is going to heat back up. I did look at the weather. It's going to crank back up to the 87, 88 range. So that's a toughie.
That's tough to hear.
That's a toughie.
But I've been driving around with a smile on my face, knowing it's close, and also
I see it.
saw it.
Yeah.
I got yours right there.
I love that, dude. The new Spooktober shirts. You want to turn around for the boys? Let them see it.
I can just hold it up.
Oh, what can't he do?
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I've seen it. So
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I sent it to you, didn't I?
yeah, you don't have to show the camera. It's outstanding. That's the picture. What's with Midland? That's
Yeah.
where they took it off of.
Yeah.
Man, you look phenomenal in that.
Garrett was like, you look like you got Mark McGuire forearms.
Dude, yeah, Mark McGuire forearms. The only tough part is that orange facial hair you have.
Bro.
That's
I
a
was like,
fucking L. That's a fucking L right there,
It's a
dude.
massive L. And the little Amish beard like below my
Yeah,
chin.
let me see my beard. My shit looks good. Shit, that's the best my facial hair's ever looked in that.
Yeah, that thing's full.
Yeah, it ain't ever been that full.
Look tough, too. Popping them knuckles.
Yeah. Damn, boys.
Yeah, that orange, that is tough.
Spooktober's on the
look
fucking
at
way.
And guess when it drops?
When?
What's today?
The 12th.
Drops on the 15th.
It drops on the
So
15th.
everybody listening right now, the 14th or
Yep.
13th.
Nope.
Tuesday. This is dropping tomorrow.
I thought it was dropping Wednesday because we're back to one episode a week.
We want to do it Tuesday because it's earlier in the cycle.
I fucking love it, dude.
Yeah.
Take those algorithms, stir in a pot, dude, in a
Mhm.
cauldron, if you will.
Of algorithms.
Oh, dude, little vampire tier. Put that
Speaking of
thing in there,
algorithms, go
dude.
ahead, start dropping the comments.
Alchemist, boys. Alchemist. We're just tossing things in there.
Spooky vibes.
That's what you got to do. Subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, do the whole thing because the
Comment,
boys
spooky vibes.
fucking need ya. God, dude, you can
Comment,
stir the
spooky
hell. You
vibes.
can churn some butter, can't you now?
Yes, I can.
You can do that
can
shit.
Churn.
My boy, different.
You see them forums on this.
Relax,
TV.
relax, relax. Easy, easy. Fucking on the juice,
I
Willie.
am excited. I'm excited about Spooktober.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be
You'll
be
know when I'm
outstanding.
on the juice too, by the way.
When are you gonna do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
TRT
Yeah, I'm gonna get on test. I'm gonna get on some peptides. Like, I'm gonna turn it up at some point.
test.
Get on a cycle.
You're gonna do a
Not-
cycle,
Not like a steroid cycle.
but you're gonna get jacked.
I'm gonna dive into the Ben Greenfield portfolio
Mhm.
of advice.
Are you gonna hire a doctor?
I mean,
you-
I'm gonna find the guy. I'm gonna find a guy.
The guy.
Yeah,
I would Google who's the rocks guy and just go with that.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Text Jelly Roll like, hey, can you just put me in a group chat with The Rock? I want to ask him a couple questions.
Yeah. Jelly knows the rock?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. He hasn't got the rock on the bus yet.
I think he.
I think Jelly's playing the long game for us.
Yeah.
I texted him twice in the last 2 weeks. No response.
He's
And
on
that's
the road
tough.
hard. He's
yeah,
on the road
he's
hard.
grinding. And you gotta I love it. I'll send him and Ernest a voice text probably once a week. Just telling them how I fucking love their grind. And how I love that they're at the top and they're just fucking doing their thing right now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. No, they're studs.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And you know that, like, especially Jelly, like, he's in a long game with the boys.
Oh yeah, yeah. Jelly's all time. Jelly's all fucking time.
We interrupt this episode to bring you Duke Cannon. Shout out Duke Cannon. No free shout outs. Duke Cannon deodorant is made for guys who run hot. And I know I talk about it every episode. The dry ice, the shit works. Go check them out. It's like glaciers under your armpits. I know you've heard the air conditioning bit, but it is truly like that 24/7. And if you're watching this ad right now, drop a comment and let them know that that dry ice works. My personal favorite product is their coal mining or coal miners face wash. I know I've said it the last few episodes. I've been washing my face like 3 times a day. It is my number one product at Duke Cannon right now. Obviously, deodorant, that's twice a day, that's every day. So I guess I potentially use that more frequently. But my favorite product is their coal mining face wash. They also have hair wash, cologne, hairstyling, beard care, whatever you need, they got it. Big ass bricks of soap with the scrubber. Check out Duke Cannon at any Target or on dukecannon.com and use code BUSSIN for a phenomenal 15% off for your first order. That's dukecannon.com and use code BUSSIN for 15% off your first order. Back to the episode.
Should we do
I think we should.
our favorite segment of the week?
I think we should.
It's time for the greatest segment of the week. Shout out of the week. As always, we start with the easily rattled, but strong and more confident every single time. Mr. Bloss, go ahead, baby. I don't have one.
My shout out this week goes to an item inside a grocery store that's pretty reliable, tastes pretty damn good. That's a good one. But if you go to the grocery store at about 6 p.m., there's probably a good chance you're not going to cook dinner when you get home. Probably going to grab some fast food on the way home.
Mm.
Me personally, one of the things I like to do is I like to grab that hot and ready rotisserie chicken. And it just never lets you down. My shout out, no free shout out this week, goes to that hot and ready rotisserie chicken on the way out of the grocery store.
Too loud, Garrett. Too loud, Garrett.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding. Outstanding. Next up, the MILF Hunter, Jackie, baby.
My shout out, no free shout out of the week goes to a time period, and that is the 8 a.m. to 11:59 slot on Sundays now. I know I've been hitting on ball a lot, but it's that like 4-hour period right before the NFL, like the whole day starts, and the future is just limitless. There's so many opportunities for winning bets, getting your fantasy team in line, and it just like always feels so optimistic until it's not. But those 4 hours, it feels kind of like the world kind of just stops for a moment, and you're able to breathe, and all the silence is there. You're just able to think clearly. Flow state. That's exactly what I was looking for. So shout out to the 8 a.m. to 11:59 right before kickoff, and then the little red zone, some beer, some water, whatever you got going on starts flowing in. Shout out to that time.
That sounds like something exciting. I do like that. What if the world did stop turning? What would happen?
I don't know.
Everybody would die.
Yeah.
Everybody would die.
Burn.
JP.
I don't think so. Would we?
Yeah, the Earth rotates at 800 miles an hour. If the Earth stopped moving for 1 second, we would all just go 800 miles an hour to the east and die. Everyone would die.
Depends.
What do you mean?
I think it depends, man.
800 miles an hour, buildings would fall over. You couldn't strap yourself to anything.
But if you were strapped in somewhere,
That place would probably collapse on you.
maybe you might not be in a spot where you get collapsed.
What if you're on a roller coaster ride? You're
I
already
was
buckled
just thinking
in.
that. However, I think it's like
You just go 600 miles an hour faster, even if you were going on a 200 mile an hour roller coaster. How fast do roller coasters go?
Hang on.
50?
maybe one of those like underground indoor roller coasters. Like if you're like on
Circus in Vegas?
I haven't been on that one.
Oh, we used to hit that all the time when I was a kid.
But the Mummy in Disney, because that's like an indoor kind of underground.
Yeah, but buddy, you're on a roller coaster. The Earth stops moving. How fast do roller coasters go tops? Fastest roller coaster in the world? I'm going to say 78 miles an hour. What's the fastest roller coaster of all time? Because, okay, so let's say it's 100. Let's just say it's 100. You still travel 700 miles an hour faster. Your fucking my neck would touch JP's. And I'd just be dead instantly. We all would. Let alone also the roller coaster would like fucking fall off the tracks and do some crazy shit.
Maybe if you're angled the right way to where you're like going out,
But
and then
you're
you
still
happen
not
to
going
land.
800 miles an hour.
Yeah, but maybe you're like in the air and then you just kind of dives down and then you can kind of land in water.
Or if you're on an airplane.
Land in water at 800 miles an hour.
Hey, what if you're on an airplane?
And you're going 450 miles an hour?
Oh no, because you're not on the ground.
JP.
Hold on.
Oh, you just changed the game with that
Ooh,
one.
fuck.
I hope it
You're
does
landing
happen.
softly.
There's still
Yeah.
a ton of science shit.
Ton of science shit. Because you gotta think,
Depends on
the
if
Earth
you're
stops
stressed.
moving. And
No.
yeah,
No.
Yeah. Think about it.
that's some crazy
You're not a
shit.
rocket. You're not out of the whatever it's called.
Atmosphere.
We're just talking about the
Doesn't matter.
Earth
Gravitational pull
stopping.
involved.
Right.
But if you're on a plane, you're still flying.
Fly west or fly east, like one's faster than the other. Still pull.
Do you think they'd be like dead air? And you just fall out of the sky?
Like the Dead Sea, but dead air.
Dead air.
Everything floats in it.
We're talking about just the Earth
What a
stopping, and you're
interesting
flying in the
pivot
air.
into JP shout out of the week, dude.
Yeah.
Interesting pivot.
Yeah, shout out to time travel. My shout out, no free shout out, is also a little bit of manifestation because my maintenance light came on in my car, and so did my tire pressure one. So my shout out, no free shout out, goes to when you go to the car repair shop and it's only minimal like repairs that have to be done. Exactly what's on the thing is like, okay, we can get that taken care of for less than $1 million. So that's my shout out. And hopefully that's what happens tomorrow.
More money to spend on Bet the Bus.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right. Garrett, best mustache in the world, buddy. That thing looks fucking electric, dude.
Thank you.
Keep going. What's your shout out, number shout out of the week?
My shout out of the week is going to go to everybody that came to the tailgate yesterday and bought merch.
We sell out?
Very close.
Oh, we could have done something special.
Could have, but
We were slinging merch, bro.
slinging it.
The show
and
was
even
awesome.
like, unfortunately, the Giants fans were buying merch.
That's okay.
So thanks for your money.
Yeah, appreciate it.
But that's my shout out. No free shout out. We'll see y'all Raiders weekend. We're gonna have to re-up, come early, so it's not all sold out.
Because if it sells out,
We're gonna do something special.
we're going to do something special.
Dude, there were, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of Giants fans too, but they were about the boys. They were about fucking Bussin.
The whole time, like we didn't stop.
Yeah,
selling merch.
rooftop was crowded, bro. Like the vibes were up.
Really?
Vibes were up.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will
Oh,
goes-
speaking of Michael Chandler coming through, he was in our suite, and after the game, obviously I'm feeling sorry for the boys, and I walk out and Chandler's there, big smile on his face, big hug. Who wasn't? I sent him a text and said, "At least your real friends show up, even when the flames off, dude."
I put tap tap, haha.
That was
Like, I'm
tough.
like, oh, this is a joke.
I wanted to see you so bad.
I'm sure like,
Did you leave?
our babysitter's done and she was up at 7:30.
I respect it.
That was literally the only,
I
that was
respect
the
it.
reason why we had
I
to,
respect
we
it,
had to
dude.
bounce.
It's all good. It's all good. But I'll tell you what you can do. Let me know your shout out number shout out of the week.
All right, so I got one. I think you guys will enjoy this. My
That's so
shout out,
sexual.
my shout out, no free shout out, goes to a time back in high school. Whenever you have your license, the world seems small. It seems like it's all about the bubble you got going on in high school. The dating relationships going on, all the storylines in high school. We're all doing life together. Everything we do in high school matters the most. However, my shout out goes to when you're on the road and you see your boy out driving. Don't know where he's going. You just happen to see your boy. Like, remember the times where you'd be in the car, even before driving, and you'd see like your parents' car and you like see your boy in the back and you're like waving. You're like, oh, there's Taylor just went by. And then in high school, when you're driving and you see your boys and you see him pass by and you're like, oh, that's the boy. And you sit there and text him.
Sit there and call him real quick.
Because now that I'm in Nashville, I feel that doesn't happen. So maybe it's like a small town vibe thing because we were driving the other day and I thought I saw somebody where I thought it was their vehicle.
Yeah.
I was like, man, remember the times back in high school when life was simple and you would just see your boy out driving and you'd like give a honk and be like, oh, was that just you?
Hell
So I
yeah.
feel like it doesn't really happen in the city.
God.
So
It
my
is an
shout out,
outstanding, dude. That's an
my shout out,
outstanding
no
play.
free shout out goes to seeing your boy out driving, giving a nice little wave.
You really saved that one because mine, like 2 weeks ago, was seeing your boy out in the wild, like in the middle of the work week. But you saved it by driving.
Oh, yeah. Because it was literally like a fleeting thought of like, I thought it was somebody's truck and I was like, man, I don't really feel like I see any of my boys out on the road anymore. I was like, maybe it's like a small town thing where you like see somebody's car and you're like, oh, this is so-and-so pulling up.
Well, that's
I
probably,
feel like the world just gets bigger to you.
but that's when people had like jacked up trucks and like something very specific on it.
Than you
know?
guys. I try and wave at every cop car that goes by Blossom. Oh, I don't think that was him.
Dude, the small town is definitely a thing too because there's only so many vehicles out there.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're right. It might just be like more of a smaller town
Yeah,
thing.
dude. I feel bad for people that grew up in small towns.
I do
You know?
too.
It's such a vibe, especially in high school. Like, what a fucking awesome, like, you just see all the same people all the time and, like, you're kind of always at home. But I do think wherever you move, even if you live somewhere for a long time, it definitely, like, the world just gets bigger to you. You see more cars all the time. You're doing more shit all the time.
Yeah. Because I don't think I've ever seen you out.
Yeah, I saw,
You saw me out there.
yeah, I saw Boss.
I don't think I've ever seen you guys
I saw Garrett on the way to a football game one time. Jamming.
You know what game it was?
What game was that?
It was the Bills game.
Oh, was it? When was it? Last year or 2 years
after,
ago?
Like the 14-day off, couldn't practice, COVID shit.
Oh, that's right. We played them Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, I remember that.
Honkied them.
I remember going to that game. It's like this game is either gonna be close or they're gonna blow our asses out because they were able to practice and stuff.
Your windows were shaking on the truck. You
Oh,
were
buddy,
listening
I
to
was
music so
fucking-
loud.
I was getting.
I remember we'd get like try to seek out all the cameras at the end of the game and be like, this ass whooping's brought to you by Zoom.
Yeah.
We were just on Zoom all week.
Oh, dude. Fucking A.
Times.
My shout out, no free shout out, of the week goes to a specific time in your life that not everybody's gone through. Will hasn't. I don't believe JP has, but I know that Jack, Bloss, me, and Garrett have. And it's when you get your first tattoo. Not when you get the first tattoo and you feel cool as fuck, but when finally that tattoo settles into your skin, there's no more peeling, there's no more scabs, and you're just like, hey, this is me for the rest of my life with this baddie on my arm right here. That is such an outstanding feeling because when you first get the tattoo, you're like, yeah, I got it and it's here, but I need to make sure this thing heals right. You're super anal about that tattoo when you first, especially the first couple. After you get about like, a baker's dozen of them boys, you're like, it'll rip, it'll be fine. Throw some lotion on that piece every once in a while, you'll be good. But you're so anal about, I got to put this A&D ointment on. I got to make sure and wash it with an unscented soap. All that shit. Yeah, I got to make sure it's open, but not too open because I don't want to get infected. All that stuff. But when it finally settles in the skin, and everyone kind of does the same thing, you like grab your tattoo and you like kind of take your fingers and you like mush your fingers in your skin and be like, that's just fucking me now, dude. That's just fucking me on my hand. So my shout out of the week goes to when that first tatty finally settles. Hey, that was off the top too. I had nothing. I had fucking nothing. I had nothing for this week.
That was good.
Thanks, man.
That was actually so good. I think I'll post your shout out and be like, I'm posting this for the boy.
Thanks, man.
For everybody who wears tattoos out there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Because it really is a thing, dude. When you get that first tattoo, you're so hype. I remember my first tattoo I got was Lewan on the inside of my arm. And I got an Old English. And an Old English W low-key looks like an M. So like I looked like it said Le Man on my. But I would legit go to parties after that thing settled. And I would go find the nearest couch my freshman year of college with a short sleeve shirt on. And I'd like put my arms up like this or whatever. Just had that thing showing off.
Man.
Being like, oh yeah, this boy, he's gunned up. You better watch out, dude. He's gunned up. Dude. Yeah, here he is. What's up, boys? You straight? Just a fucking big stretch, dude. What's up? Oh, that right there? Yeah, it's my last name.
Oh, it's my last name. Then you get to college and realize like everybody that comes from everywhere has like either their initials or their last name somewhere like on their
Yeah,
arm.
and there's very specific white guy and black guy tattoos.
Exactly.
Very specific. But it's just fucking, you get it, you feel it, and you feel a certain type of way when you get that first tattoo. Like, hey, your boy's got a little more street cred. I'm out there right now. Yeah. You can find out someday.
One day. Maybe one day.
You can find out someday.
Book's not closed.
Is it though?
I feel like you go
Book's
out
not closed.
just get comeback sleep.
Oh, that'd be so
That's
fire
exactly
if Will
what I felt like thought about before.
just getting a sleeve done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do that.
Maybe I will.
Why don't you right now?
You know I don't like being forced, like peer pressured into like an instant decision.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Would you get a For the Boys tattoo or something?
I mean, maybe, like somewhere on this.
No, just
Somewhere on
small of his low back, dude. Get For the Boys.
just the
So
small.
when he sits in a chair and the shirt's a little too short, you kind of so everyone's like, what the fuck's that say? For the Boys? Maybe it has an arrow pointing down. I don't know.
Some lower back hair kind of sticking out of it.
Oh, speaking of, dude, shout outs. And we don't really go back to other people's shout outs, but sometimes when you have a shout out and something happens and it kind of makes you nervous for that individual, like you want to come back and check in. And our friend Jack had a shout out about being in the steam room with some older gentleman at the YMCA or wherever the fuck he was working out at. And I told you that old man was probably trying to slap some cheeks. So has there been any update between you and him?
I thought you were about to like say some experience you had, not just
No.
circling back. No, I have not.
Have you been in that steam room since?
Yeah, for sure. A couple
Has
times.
he been in there?
No, not him specifically, but like I said, it wasn't like a specific man. It was like that type of man that's 70 plus and just does not care what's going
Always
on.
hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He probably moved that towel to the side when you walked in. Let him see it, dude. Let me see if he's interested. Yeah, little hand towels, dude.
They are.
Like Starsky and Hutch, them little hand towels around the waist.
Dude, I actually met this nice old man in the sauna last week.
And then?
He is the winningest wrestler at the University of Oklahoma's history.
Yeah.
That place.
I bet he wanted to wrestle you in that fucking sauna,
Look it up.
dude.
Hey, look it up.
Spooktober shirts
Yeah,
out
Steve
the
Byrne.
15th.
Steve Byrne's the interview.
Steve is all time. Tells some incredible stories. Talks about who was one of my favorite comedians growing up, Dane Cook. It had an incredible story on that. Had a very strong opinion about Jerry Seinfeld. as well.
Dude, that's right. He did have some like good stories.
He had some great fucking stories, dude. So I think everyone's gonna really enjoy this one. It's gonna be all time. And you read the ads?
Yeah, I already knocked out the ads.
Well, then I think it's just time to dive into the ad that's about to come up right now. But then, Steve Byrne,
subscribe,
and rate 5 stars.
leave comments, high vibes, intro vibes.
Big hugs, tiny kisses.
All right, we're going to take a breather. We're going to take a moment and shout out an app that was created by fans for fans. This is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Shout out the Game Time app. Game Time is a new ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest possible price. If you haven't given the Game Time app a shot yet, don't know what you're waiting for. You guys are gonna absolutely love this app. They have tons of Barstool fans using it, hitting us up on social about the great deals they're getting. I've been using the Game Time app all year. I used it for my tickets last week against the boys. Unfortunately, we lost, but against the Giants. It's super easy to use, amazing deals. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the US. You're going to love it. Again, if you don't follow all the Barstool personalities, they're literally tweeting about it all the time. The games, the sites, all the pictures they're getting with it. Download the Game Time app, go to the account tab, create a login, and redeem code BUSSIN, that's BUSSIN, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, as always. Download Game Time, last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Back to the episode.
This is my first podcast back too.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, dude. But yeah, man, this is a crazy ride.
We have Steve Byrne on, comedian,
Legend.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk through a lot of stuff because
Iconic.
your boys was one of like my comedy heroes.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Pauly Shore. That's okay.
Pauly Shore is great, dude. In the Army Now.
Yeah,
Phenomenal movie.
that's right.
Phenomenal movie.
And don't you do a podcast as well with Joe?
I do a podcast with Joe Gatto from Practical Jokers. Yeah. So I do that. And then I do Comedy Pinata, which you joined on.
Yes.
And that's just, done at Zanies. We sit in the comedy club and it's just comedians sitting there watching stand-up comedy together. And we break down the bits and kind of poke through the holes. And then we have stories about the comics. So it's really a fun, organic way. Because I've seen podcasts about like stuntmen breaking down stunts in film, or like special effects artists break down, Star Wars and Star Trek. And I've never seen comics breaking down bits of comedy. So it for me, even through the process of doing it, made me really appreciate the different gears that different comics have. Whether it's you're a storyteller / just full-on entertainer like Bert Kreischer, or like a prolific joke writer like Mark Norman. And so you get into the nuances of everybody's thing. And then you have like, Swiss Army knives. Like I could do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But not one thing great, just a lot of things good.
Yeah. And so what would you rather be? Just great at one thing or good at a lot of things?
I'd rather be good at a lot of things because even when I'm going to Nashville, like I go to Zanies, right? I just do I just do crowd work.
Yeah.
I just fuck off and do crowd work.
What do you mean by crowd work?
Crowd work is when you just go up and you don't have any material plan and it just starts with conversations with the audience and you're living on the wire. So my job there is to just make them laugh out of nothing and just see what I can do. So it's because I work so much on crowd work just at Zanies and like when I'm in New York City, like last night, for example, at the Cellar, just doing crowd work. Now when I go and do my regular shows where it's just material, you could do anything to me and I'm prepared. I have so many like knives and an arsenal of like weapons for any situation. You drop a glass, I got a line.
You SEAL
for it.
Team
You
6
got-
over there on that stage.
Yeah. How do you like prepare for that?
It's just doing it over and over and over again and putting yourself out there and digging yourself. I mean, at Zanies, I dug myself into so many horrible holes. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get out of this? And usually it's talking to black people.
He's Asian. He can say that. We're all good.
But yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's talking to black people and just, I'm always like, what's the worst thing I could say right now? And I say it.
Whoa, you
And then
say
it's
it.
like, well, I'm not dropping like the N-word or something
Okay, I was
like that.
gonna
Yeah.
say.
You say the worst thing possible.
Can Asians say the N-word? Is that like an okay thing? Because I,
I
hear
would
Mexicans
never
say that.
say the N-word.
I hear Mexicans say it a lot.
What's that?
Mexicans say it a lot.
Well, Yeah, they kind of get like a pass, right? Because
Right.
it's like they're almost.
Yeah, I'm digging myself a hole that I don't even want to be in right now.
Please, like, let's get the fuck out of here right now.
Hey, I'm fucking treading
I'm
water right now.
just gonna be-
Messiest dude I go in my head. I'm like, why the fuck would you say that, dude?
I'm just gonna be doing
We're
this
4
all the time.
minutes
Just
into
fucking.
almost getting canceled.
Yeah.
I think basically.
Hey,
Yeah.
Will tries to get canceled once a week. I swear to God, dude.
Are you talking about the last thing, the Jew thing?
No, but that thing too. He goes, yo, the Jews party on Twitter. But even that, like when you posted having your baby and it was a black baby, like shit like
you
that.
talking about April Fools?
Yeah, because I didn't even think about that. Like, oh, I like the canceling thing, and then like Mr. Arnold was like, hey, he's just trying to do whatever he can to get canceled, huh?
Puts in your brain, you're like, oh damn.
Will's really trying to do that. That's crazy.
I thought the baby thing was fucking
Hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious. It's when it's when it's going when it gets outside of like the audience who kind of knows you and knows how you joke and stuff like that. That's when like the racial stuff kind of comes in.
Yeah.
Because one dude literally goes, "This is what do you say? This is white nationalism at work," and it's like, "Fuck, man, I'm just
Oh,
So
God.
strong, such a strong tweet.
Yeah, holy
It's
fuck,
like, yo,
man,
bro.
take it easy."
Like I'm not wearing a pillowcase on my head. Relax.
Yeah,
Dude, that's fucking. Here I go again.
yeah.
Here I go again, digging myself a hole.
Party, bro.
Dude, Jews
Did you
party
see
party.
that, Steve?
But you were saying, yeah, that Will tweeted that. He had his baby. Oh my, dude, my man is fucking hilarious on Twitter. He really don't miss.
Willa Erlene. Born at 6:32 a.m. My wife and I are literally just laying in bed laughing, everything happening. Because Taylor hits me up. He's like, maybe you sent a voice thing, or maybe we got on the phone, but you're like, hey, did you have a kid? Did
No,
you have
I
your
didn't
baby?
do that. I knew it was a black baby. You said you got a whole bunch of people legit
Well,
saying
but
congrats.
you didn't know. You didn't see the photo yet. You didn't see the photo yet. I thought you had heard that something had happened. You're like, am I finding out through somebody else before hearing from you? Remember? Because you were traveling, like you and Taylor were somewhere.
People were saying congratulations to you on Twitter. I didn't see your tweet. And I
Yeah.
remember telling Taylor, I'm like, this motherfucker is so into Twitter now that he didn't even tell one of his best friends. Like that he had his child. Like he took the Twitter to tell the world before he told me.
Up. Like some people are saying congratulations. I'm like, do you not fuck?
But when you feel a good joke, it's like it's got to go up now.
Yeah.
Right? There you go. Yeah.
So
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
no, yeah,
absolutely.
but go back. So usually you get in the worst deep waters with black people. Go on.
Yeah, and then I think you feel it. You feel
Yeah.
the room. You feel the air leave the room.
Mm.
You're like, all right, now it's like it's just a game of Tetris. It's like this goes here, and you slowly build. And the key isn't to make the audience laugh. The key really is to make the individual laugh that you're in that hole with, because they're like, oh my God, did you just say that to me? And it's like that's how challenging that moment becomes.
Mm.
So for me, I love it. I don't know. That's like the new high for me in comedy, because comedy itself, as you witnessed, to get a laugh is such a high. It's great, right?
Mm.
The bombs are the fucking worst. Those pendulum swings when you're first starting, I always tell people it's like getting Sharpie on your face when you're starting, when you bomb. It's like it's gonna stay with you for a while, but eventually it's gonna wear off, right?
Yeah.
But then you get so used to it, it's like, fuck, bombing's nothing to me. And then you need something. It's like you got to cut yourself, like,
Yeah.
to feel again.
Yeah.
So for me, like the crowd work is like, oh, this is so fun. It's so reinvigorating. And then when you break through and get them to all laugh, but especially you break that person, that's the best feeling in the world.
Mhm.
Along with doing jokes that are challenging and all that other stuff. Like this new hour is going to be a lot of fun. But for me, I really love crowd work, and it's helped me become a better comic.
Yeah.
Sometimes do you ever not get out of the hole?
No,
Oh, and it's something that like
Well, you
after
can figure it out.
after the night's over, you're kind of thinking like, if this happens again, this would have been funny to say. Like, here's how I can get myself out of
Yeah,
it.
it's always tough when you're like in an argument with somebody.
Yeah.
And they say something to you and you're like, well, whatever, something back. Then like 20 minutes later, you're like, I should have said this.
Right, or you're driving home, you're like, why
Yeah.
did I react that way? Like, I could have
Yeah.
said this. Or even if
Yeah.
it's a joke, if I'm like trying to make somebody, if you're like trying to make somebody laugh and they're not getting it, it's just stone face, and maybe one person might laugh, but nobody else laughs. You're like, all right,
In
that's,
real
that-
life,
that's something I need to work on
That
tonight.
post-nut
Yeah.
clarity of life.
Yeah.
but in real life, I get stumped,
Yeah.
which is weird. But on stage, it's just like, I don't know what happens. Like, I can't get it. Just like, even if I get stumped for a second, like you were saying, don't you ever get stumped? It's like, I'll put a bookmark in it knowing, okay, use a stock line, get out of it. But the whole time I'm doing something else, I'm still thinking about that other
How
one.
can I
It's
get
like,
back to that?
I'm going to get back to it.
Yeah.
I will figure it out. And usually something bubbles up over here and I call it back to over here. And then I tie those two things together
Mm.
and then you get the laugh.
It's super interesting hearing comics talk about comedy because it's kind of like when you're an individual and you don't get to talk to people like you. Like if you're watching the UFC, you look at it as like, oh, these are just a couple of brutes really just going at it. And then you
Sure.
start learning like, oh, these are technical things. They're doing the guillotine,
Right.
half guillotine. Like they're playing chess up there. And when it's
Sure.
talking to you, it's kind of like the same thing. Like I'm over here sitting here smiling and laughing,
Right.
but I don't know that you put all this work into it or whatever. We just think, oh, this is a funny guy
Yeah.
that comes up here.
That's a good point because UFC, you get to see all the behind the scenes stuff
Yeah.
too. Like you see all the technical side.
And then
of-
they talk
of
about like, oh, I had him in
football.
half guard, so I knew I had to do this.
Right,
It's like, yo,
They're
they're
talking
really
through
thinking
their-
about that.
Yeah. I look, even like roasting, like Jeff Ross, the roast master. That's a totally different muscle. It's like, oh, do comedy, just go do a roast. It's like that's a skill set. Like
He's
that's
really funny.
real different skill set.
Yeah.
Crowd work's a skill set. One-liners are a skill set. Like Bert Kreischer, storytelling, that's a skill set. That not everybody can be that, but when you can do a little bit of both, that's why I try to push myself to be a little bit of both, to be a little more well-rounded.
Yeah.
It's the fucking greatest job in the world.
So going back to like bombing, when you start bombing, like you go to a comedy store or something like that, and you get on stage, what's worse, bombing in front of the crowd or bombing in front of other comics when you're first starting?
Oh, that's a good.
You know what I'm saying? Because part of you, like you're probably thinking to yourself, like, I want these people to be my peers.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
want them. I want
It's probably like, oh, we're all trying to be funny in a way.
But like just like anything, there's different personalities. So there's probably some comics out there like, oh, this guy fucking sucks, and there's gonna be other guys that are super helpful that want to come to, hey, you did this and that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Comics love nothing more than watching other comics bomb.
Really?
The fucking greatest. Yeah, because you're just watching them weasel the way out. And then when you're watching it, it's just like, it's the fucking best because now you're seeing your friend in a puzzle. It's like, is he going to solve the puzzle or not? And when they solve it, it's the best. But my favorite thing are bomb lines. I love when somebody's telling a joke and it sucks. And like Carson was the best, like the old Carson show. He'd literally pull down the boom mic and tap on it, or he'd have a ton of bomb lines. And it's just, again, another like organic way that the comic's living in the moment. And you're seeing how is this individual going to get out of that moment of silence where it's so fucking uncomfortable.
God.
Nothing's worse than that. But to get the laugh is the best.
The boom light grab is good. That puts
it's-
everybody back into back into key. Like, okay, we're back in this thing.
Bombing, I feel like blood would just rush to my head and I wouldn't like know what to do.
Well, the thing is, like, you've been up there for 5 minutes. And some of your jokes were hilarious. There were a couple like, all right,
Right, but the one that was like, oh, I didn't really land the
That
plane.
last
So was the
one.
last one to where I
Damn,
could
I
just
know
be
it's a
like,
good
all right,
one,
that's all I
too.
got, or whatever I said.
There's
But
a
yeah,
lot of
it was
setup.
nuts.
I remember
There's
that
a lot
night.
of like
Yeah.
nervousness.
You helped him a lot with that, right?
Steve helped me punch up with several of my jokes. Like I would come up with the concept or
That
think
NBA,
about
that
it.
NBA one was the funniest joke.
The NBA one was you too. Was where the way it started was differently. I don't know if it's
gave me
something we
this
should
setup,
talk
and I
about.
was
That would
like,
get you
this
in
is
murky water with black people.
Yes, something to get you murky with black people. And then I talked with Shane Gillis. He was like, "Let it ride." That's hilarious,
Bro,
But
Shane
you
is
watch Shane's
hilarious,
You watch
bro.
Shane's comedy and you see why he's like, "Let it
I mean,
ride."
if you're gonna ask anybody, is this offensive? Like Shane Gillis was like, yeah, do it.
Do it. Fucking let it ride.
And Bert was trying to come up with a player because he's like, you got to personalize it. And then when I talked to you, that was like the great way to kind of personalize it while also like,
Yeah, because you were the
vision in
person
both.
in that joke. It was personalized off of you,
Right,
As
right, right.
opposed to throwing it to a name, because then all of a sudden you're saying something to somebody who's defenseless. But it's when it's you, it's like, oh, it's fun. If you can take the sting off it, it's great. Like I'll shit on people the whole show, but then I'm shitting on me more than anybody.
Right.
You know, there's a hot girl in front. It's like, relax, stop giving me static. I know you saw me pull up here in a Saturn. It's like all those like dumb bomb lines. Let the audience know I'm no better than anybody here.
Yeah.
So, you know, Asian Elon Musk, all these dumb jokes, you know, that just
And that
put
plays.
myself down. Yeah.
That does
That's
play.
funny. That's
So
funny.
stupid,
You got
but-
that bank account?
No.
You'd think an Asian Elon Musk would have more money
I don't
than
have a
Elon
Tesla.
Musk, right?
Yeah, that's a
You'd think
really good
so.
fucking point.
You know? You
Mathematician.
can have that. That one's for you.
You can have one. That one's free.
Yeah, that one was free. The next one, I'm going to send you an invoice.
It's interesting too, like, because when I talked to Bert, he was like, "Hey, anytime you got something, I love writing for other people. Like, I love working on other people's stuff."
Hold on. Bert Kreischer said he likes writing. Bert Kreischer doesn't write shit. Bert Kreischer just comes in and just starts talking. You guys hear about this? You guys.
Hey, he does, man. That shit is
What
so
do you-
bad.
His laugh is so infectious.
I know, I know.
Can you imagine Bert
We just sitting there
Kreischer
like building up.
sitting in his man cave, turning on an Edison bulb light, and just taking a pen and going, "Fuck what? No."
What I was going
No.
to say with that is, it seems
No.
like comics
He
don't
crashed.
mind helping everybody. Don't mind helping. each
No.
other.
That I'll say. So I'm not shitting on Bert. Obviously, I love Bert. We kind of came up together.
Oh, that's
in
already
New York
clipped. Everything
City.
you just said is clipped. We're not going to
Yeah,
clip this part.
Clip that out and then put that out. Yeah.
Just
Put that out. And then the
Yeah.
retraction of, wait, I really like Bert. You know, as I'm telling Bert, but Bert's an entertainer. Bert loves entertaining. and the shirt comes off, he is the guy you want to hang out with on the road. We toured together for 2 or 3 years doing this Jameson whiskey tour. I've never seen anything like it. Like, he brings a fucking carnival atmosphere anywhere he goes. So you think it's like that's an act. It's like, no, that's him nonstop. He would get like parlor games going where we'd be boozing after shows, and we get a crowd of kids around us, and he'd hold 2 beer steins competing against somebody and money on the line. The whole bar is in on this thing. I remember the first time I was dating my girlfriend at the time, now my wife. She's from Minnesota. She's not used to like carny lifestyle, right? And so she comes to the show in Milwaukee, and we're just hanging out at the show. She's like, wow, that was really fun. And Billy Gardell was there. He was on Mike and Molly, and Bert was on it, and I was on it. And Bert comes busting out of the green room in a cowboy hat, cowboy boots, and butt naked. And my wife's like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, oh, that's Bert. that's Bert. She goes, is it always like this? I'm like, with him it is, yeah. It's always like that with him. He's just fucking crazy.
Did you see the video of him the other day? He's on stage with a sock on his
The
penis.
sock.
Yeah,
cock.
goddamn comedy jam, yeah.
Is that a normal deal? Am I talking about something that everyone's doing over there?
No, not everybody does that show on a fucking sock. I for sure would not, because I'd
don't know
have
if I
like
have a sock
ankle
big
socks on mine.
It's not small enough.
But they get the rubber bands. They keep it on.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Red Hot
When he
Chili
was
Peppers,
moving around, I was like,
how's he
you know,
keep
you
that
got your
on?
sight set right on that piece. Like, that thing gonna flop off?
Yeah.
You know, because I legit in my head, I was like, because when you watch videos, sometimes you put yourself in the video. Like, what if I did that? And I'm watching, I'm like, that should be off in a second. I didn't know they were putting rubber bands on it.
I think Bert put it around his penis and balls, and then rubber banded.
Yeah.
I don't think you heard what Steve said, what his sock would be.
Oh, I'd have an ankle sock. Yeah.
A newborn sock.
Oh my god. A newborn.
Maybe shoe off the fucking rear view. But Bert is one of the nicest comics in the business, and from A to Z, from him struggling at the Boston Comedy Club and struggling to get sets in New York, to like blowing up right now to being one of the biggest comics in the country and one of the biggest draws. There isn't a comic in this industry that doesn't say, I'm fucking happy. I'm so happy. I mean, everybody's happy for that dude, because he's a grinder, a total grinder, and one of the most giving comics too.
Some of the stories he was telling on this podcast was wild. How he had to like really check himself when Segura was getting paid like $20,000 a set or something like that. And he was getting $2,000. He had to realize like, I gotta pick it up or something like that, because he was doing a bunch of TV.
Doing it as much.
He was
as
jack of
can.
all trading. He wasn't just really honing in on that one craft.
Yeah.
But he seems like a well-rounded dude.
Which I think comes back to him now, because you get to look back at the old stuff, and it's extremely funny.
But here's like,
there's so much to play off. Yeah.
Here's like a typical comic, right? So I'm doing this film, the opening act, about like a comic's first time on the road. I reach out to Bert. Bert doesn't call me back, right? Which is typical of Bert, if you know Bert. So I'm trying to cast this role as a cop in this movie. So I text him, and I'm like, hey man, you have Tom's number? And he gives it back to me, and I call Tom, and I cast Tom in the movie. Now Bert's fucking furious. What the fuck, man? You cast Tom in the goddamn movie? I'm like, you didn't fucking call me back. Yeah. Like, I called you. You didn't call me back. So I got Tom's, and now I put Tom in the fucking thing. He's like, it's fucking bullshit, man. I don't fucking believe you. All this other stuff. And it becomes this fun runner, right? So I'm about to do the podcast to promote the film that Tom's in, right? And he brings it up again. But before, I knew he was going to bring it up. So I brought up an email that Vince Vaughn and Peter Billingsley, the producers, are on. And I said, here's who I want to cast in the film. Sarah Tiana is the secretary and Bert Kreischer is the cop. They signed off on it. I go, great. So it's all like dated, everything. I sent it to Bert. I go, look, I fucking did it. I cast you in the goddamn thing. You didn't get back to me. So, okay. I saw it. Okay, great.
He was actually mad that he didn't get in the movie.
He was pissed. And then
I'd be mad if I didn't get in the movie.
And
over missing a phone call. It'd be tough.
Then he's doing. We had that conversation before. Then he's in his film, right? He's going off to Bulgaria to film his film. Congratulations, so happy for you. You earned this, all this stuff. And I'm sending him goodwill, whatever. And then I'm thinking, this piece of shit. He fucking rakes me over the coals for now. And then he's putting everybody in this bath sauna scene. I'm like, you piece of fucking shit. You didn't put me in your fucking movie. And I actually did cast you. Fuck you, Bert.
Yeah.
Is that the camera right there?
Yeah.
Fuck you. I love you, but yeah.
I love you, but God damn.
But I'm happy for that dude. And I mean, he's a party everywhere he goes. He's the best.
Is he he's by far the most fun to tour with?
Without a doubt.
Really?
The most fun comic. Although I'll say this, I started working with Joe Gatto from...
Bro, he is so funny in
Practical Jokers.
Practical Jokers. he was of the four, in my opinion, the most like shameless. Like did not care, would do
Beyond.
anything. Would do
Beyond.
absolutely. It was, dude. You watch that show,
Yeah.
bro? You rolling laughing watching that
We were
show.
trying to come up with some of our like bits that we were gonna do with Florida
Hubbard.
Georgia, yeah, Tyler Hubbard, by just watching Impractical Jokers all
Yeah.
day long.
He is so funny on
YouTube.
I remember we did this Nashville Comedy Festival that was here, and the Jokers were on it. And at the time, I had this Sullivan show. We were on it, and so we were always hanging out and drinking together. And we were fucking boozing. And Joe's on the other side of this bar. I'm on this side. We're all standing up. Like Colin Jost is there. We're singing Piano Man, and then Joe jumps off the center and starts dancing. He's taking his shirt off and stuff. I'm like, man, this dude's fucking crazy. He's fucking great. And then I found out he doesn't drink. I was like, you do all this shit sober. You're dancing, doing the worm with your gut out and stuff, and you don't have any liquor. He's like, no. I'm like, that's the fucking, I couldn't get my head around it. So he's starting to do stand-up. He's like, let's go. He loves gambling. So we go to Craps Table, and
Nothing to love.
What's that?
Nothing to love.
I-
Gambling.
He loves it. He loves it. But craps is his thing. He loves getting a good community around it.
That is a fun time.
It's the best social gambling game you can do.
Yeah, it's so communal, right?
Yes.
But he gives you license to like have fun because he's having fun. He's shitting on the dealer, calling them shit show, senior shit show, miss shit show, like in a fun, lovable way.
Yeah.
When he's losing, and then there was this thing where this kid would always roll and he'd look at me. And we'd make eye contact. So you kind of like have a little fun. You're like batting your eyes, you're licking your lips and stuff. And then he keeps winning. I'm like, fuck, I got to keep up in the game. So so he's getting ready to roll. I sneak up behind him. I go between his legs. I'm down on the ground between his legs, looking up at him like this. And he maintains eye contact, rolls it. Joe hits horn high aces on it and wins like $17.50. So now I'm like constantly doing shit. And his buddy lifts me up. I put my feet on the fucking craps table and I'm starting to finger myself. I'm like,
Hey, yo. And this man's diabolical.
And then he hits on the fucking monster bet. And they're like, oh my God. It kept going.
So what'd you do next?
Then
I got two guys coming over. I started jerking them off.
I had
one guy up here, two guys over here.
Funny you bring it up.
Yeah.
I got 2 bottles of water. And as he's doing it, I'm going like this. And then I go, bat, and I squirt the water all over me, and I'm just drenched in water. And again, he hits. The kid rolled for an hour and like 5 minutes.
No way.
And I was doing all this crazy shit, and I was exhausted. But it's because Gatto was like egging me on, and he's that guy that's like so like he pratfalls everywhere. We're in the airport, and he'll walk towards somebody's luggage, and he'll just trip over it. And he'll pick it up. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. But he can't get up either. Like the first 2. He's got to wrestle with the thing. It's nonstop with him.
That sounds
No cameras on. He's still doing that.
No cameras. He still does it.
No
Everywhere
way.
you go. If there's like stanchions, he'll walk through the stanchion and get wrapped up in it and pull them both down and create the biggest bang you've ever heard. And people are like, oh my God, are you okay? Aren't you from Practical Joke? And he's like, no, I'm not that guy. And then he'll just run away. It's fucking crazy.
He'll just run away, dude. That's so funny.
It is really fucking funny.
Oh my
But
God.
we do a pod together called Two Cool Moms where we take people's like questions and answer them.
Jack.
So he's
Jack loves moms.
Jack loves moms, dude. Who else loves moms? The
Zach
quarterback for the
Wilson.
Jets.
He's on
What's his name?
Brazzers.
Zach Wilson.
Jack Wilson loves moms.
Pretty much. I guess I'm the designated mom guy now.
Yeah.
Talked about it last pod.
Yeah.
It's crazy because when
You're
Jack
in.
first
he
came on
likes
the
banging in juice boxes.
yeah. Jack, when he first came on, we tried to get him it's Pothead Jack?
Stoner Jack.
Stoner
I've had
Jack.
a
And,
lot of
and he
men
was not how he's like, guys, my parents, we can't do that.
No, it was
We bring
my-
up
it
MILF
was my
lover, and he's like,
career.
yeah, I can
I wasn't
handle
being
that. I
paid
can,
at the
I
time.
can handle being a MILF lover.
Well, the
Did you
mustache.
hear him? He goes,
yeah,
"It was my career. I wasn't getting paid at the time. You guys just call me Stoner Jack."
How long you had the stash?
A couple years.
He's
now.
he's had
It's
that
been
mustard
going
for a little
while.
bit.
Yeah.
Somebody brought up a very good point. Billy off Stranger Things. I feel like it's a vibe you're going for. Is that true or false?
It wasn't like my intention, but I can see it for sure.
You go a little bit
In the
longer.
In the show, Billy goes for Mike's mom. So I
Yeah,
guess it
that's
plays.
why
Yeah,
I was like,
he goes.
maybe Jack is doing it.
I'm glad to
for
hear you
that.
like moms because you do look like every other Amber Alert. I would
Oh, shit, dude.
We interrupt this episode to bring you gocurrency.com. Getting financing for big ticket items like construction equipment, farm machinery, trucks, and trailers can be a complicated and time consuming process, but that isn't the case with Currency. Currency specializes in finding the best possible rates and terms for all kinds of equipment without all the hassle. With Currency, customers can get loans for up to $500,000 with little or no money down and terms up to 72 months. Currency can also help you finance expensive items like new or used motorhomes, fifth wheel RVs, riding lawnmowers, and utility vehicles. All you need to do is fill out an application, and the Currency finance team will get working to find you a lender with the most competitive options out there. It's quick, secure, and free to use. Currency is equipment financing made simple. Visit gocurrency.com and find out what Currency can do for you. Back to the episode.
The first I watched Titanic with my grandma in theaters.
Did you cry?
Oh well, no, I didn't cry. I was too young to feel the emotions of the movie. Ever since when the boobs came out, it was kind of the whole movie was a blur after that. You know, when she said, "Paint me like your French girls," I was like, "Man, we're done."
It's weird to jerk off in front of grandma.
Yeah, it's
right?
tough. That was awkward though.
you're
Those
trying to
boobs came out.
recreate
She's
the
sitting right next to
handprint.
you. She put her hand over my eyes, and I'm like, "Fucking get out of the way, dude."
I feel like that was my first movie where my parents tried to cover my
It
eyes.
was the first
too.
pair of boobs I ever saw, and like it changed me.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Titanic?
Titanic, yeah, it's still probably a top 5 movie to me of all time.
Really?
I love that
When's the last time
movie.
you saw it?
Fuck, it's been a few years for sure.
It still holds up,
No,
though, right?
no, it's been like 6 months. I watched it during the season. Maybe after week 1, I had a tough week 1. And I really just wanted to get emotional.
Before you go to the gym, you get
Every
pumped up.
night in my dreams, I'm flying with you, Jack.
Dude, you can sing though. You sang with Jelly Roll.
Thank you for saying that,
Wait,
dude.
is that a bad thing that he sang?
No.
that? I wanted to sing with Jelly Roll. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, Wolfie's like, I've never seen someone go up there and just give it. It's like, yeah,
Oh my God,
I
that
fucking.
dude.
In my head, I was like, I'm about to blow these people away. I have no idea how it actually went.
Yeah, it was great. I'll tell you, I first off, Jelly Roll could do stand up.
Yeah.
Yes,
oh
bro.
my god,
So
bro, he'd
fucking
be
good.
so good.
You can do stand up.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
There's
you
some work
definitely could.
there.
Knowing you and then hanging with you and then being on the show, I like there's because I watched the clips.
Mhm.
You guys have more chemistry than some comics on their podcasts, and you could do this. You could do stand up. I'm sure if you wanted to.
Well, you texted me,
Yeah,
and was it August 4th?
because we were hanging backstage, and you had said two or three funny things in the green room. I was like, oh fuck you got a great sense of humor. But I think what's like doing this is one thing, but then being on stage and you have to have like presence, right? You have to have some semblance of presence. Even like somebody like Nate, who's pretty like dry in terms of his delivery, he still has a great
He's so
presence on
funny.
stage, you know? Jeselnik, incredibly dry. He gives nothing to the audience, but he definitely has a different presence than
Mhm.
like Kreischer, for example, or
Yeah.
Sador. But you guys both have a great presence. And that night you did it, I was really blown away to know that was the first time you had been on stage, but then to deliver jokes like that was fucking great.
Yeah, I feel like you would be really good at that. Writing and all that. We've talked about it a bunch.
Yeah.
It's funny, dude.
Yeah.
It was
You guys
funny to
should do
see it.
live shows.
Oh,
on the
We're
road.
next
Hey,
to the
we've
Ryman.
been
Next to
talking
the
about
Ryman,
it.
baby. We're doing the Ryman. Well, we haven't. No, we haven't.
But we are
The
putting
Ryman said, we said, hey, we're doing the Ryman next to the Ryman Twitter, like, sent some eyes. So
You guys are
I
crushing.
guess you could say it's in the
guys are
work.
crushing, I'm
Yeah,
telling
well,
you.
I feel like
It's
we
great.
could do like go to our spots
Yeah.
where we feel like we'd get a crowd and do a
Yeah,
live show, especially
dude,
for Bussin
the
With
live
Boys,
show was a blast, and we did. We got the live show. Will called me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to do a live show at Zany's?" And I was like, "Yeah, sounds good." Because you'll agree to anything if it's far enough away. You don't really think about it too much, right?
Right, yeah.
So it gets closer and closer, and I'm like, "Hey, we should." I even go to Will, and I'm like, "We should probably write a couple
Maybe
things about
figures
what
to
we
figure
should
this
do."
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did not do a fucking thing.
Right.
Didn't do a thing. And there was a couple people from Barstool that came to see the show.
Mhm.
Like, "Hey, did you guys prepare anything?" We're like, "No, not at
Well, I
all."
sent you because we could never get with Steve because I like Steve wants to sit with us and help us
That's
out.
right.
Because he sent the
That's
email
right.
and I was like, hey, check out this email. And then yes, you got to go to KFC where it's like, all right, they have a podcast, they're doing a live
Yeah.
show. What
I
in
made
the
it a
fuck did
huge
you learn
point to
from
go to that
that?
because they asked both of us to come on the show.
Right.
Will couldn't. He just had a new baby, so I was like, "I'll go" because I really wanted to see like what the vibe was like on a stage like that and everything.
Yeah.
And once I left there, I was like, "We're gonna be just fine."
Yeah.
But it was nerve wracking before, like sitting in that green room. I was nervous. You
Yeah.
were not.
Oh, I
you
was
were
very
nervous.
because I was nervous about the stand
You
up.
had to do stand up, so his
Yeah.
nerve level for the show was like, "We're good."
But
And
how-
you got a buddy with you too.
Yeah.
Like you have a buddy system.
Like when we're us, like
it
yeah,
was so cool to
I
see
thought
how
you were great, but
supportive
you
you
were
were
great.
though of him. That was really cool.
a social boy.
Yeah, but I mean, most comics don't have that. Like you're kind of going up for the first time and you're new to the scene. You don't have anybody really there. But to see how supportive you were beaming about him, and it was almost like you scored a touchdown. The way you came into in the green room. It was really cool to see.
I'll tell you, it's my guy.
Yeah.
That's my guy right
That's
there.
your boy.
That's and that was one of the most fun nights I've had. Like that was actually my first time in Zanies.
Oh, wow.
Spending
Yeah.
time in there and then being around all y'all. And after we're all drinking, the place is shut down.
Bro, that was such a good fucking
dude,
time.
Yeah.
It was a feeling you're like, man, like it's like living somewhere for so long. And then you find out there's this whole new world that's just as exciting
Yeah.
and more fun than most of the things you usually do on a regular basis. Instead of going to bars, like go to Zanies. It's so
That's
much
the
fun.
vibe. Like even like last night, I was at the Comedy Cellar, and every time I go, because now I visit, I go and pop in and do my sets, and the Cellar is like the club in New York, right? You want to be past there. It's where everybody goes and meets, and you walk in, and Chris Rock's there, Kevin Hart's there, T.J. Miller's there, Mark Norman's there, Sam Morril's there, and you just know, all right, TJ's there. Fuck, now I'm drinking, and you leave at 5 a.m, but it's like that communal spot where you could walk in with me, and next thing you know, you're sitting at a table with all the best comics in New York City, and
Yeah.
you're just having a fucking blast.
Just stuff you
It's the
couldn't even
best.
make up in your own head as a child.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin's just like mad dogging me, and I hadn't seen him in years. We were just catching up, and he's just going on in this bit, and I'm dying laughing. And then you're watching him and Chris. They're filming a doc at the time, and then T.J. Miller, who's just, I think, one of the almost like an Andy Kaufman-esque of like stand-up comics, where he'll just go up and just do crazy shit outside the box. And he had the comic before I was to go up after him. So he was doing bits, and then he had the MC come back up and introduce him like 2 or 3 more times because he felt like it wasn't going well. And then he was doing these bits, and it was weird. And then I said, what you should do is, before he brings me up, you go up again as yourself when they bring me up. And then he brought me up as Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
And so it was fucking great.
That's
But
outstanding.
that club, this is my favorite Cellar story of all time. I was just new there, maybe like a year in. And on any given night, anybody could walk through the door. And so I'm maybe a year in on stand-up comedy, 2 years in. So I go in, and Godfrey's hosting, and it's a Tuesday night. The Cellar's not the Cellar like what it is now, right? Now it's like a tourist spot, and it's packed every night, and there's 3 different rooms. But then it was just maybe 100 people on a Tuesday night. Godfrey goes up. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I love the Comedy Cellar. You never know who's going to stop in here tonight. So tonight we got a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, how about it for Robin Williams? Rob Williams goes up for like 30 minutes, just crushes, right? And all the young comics are kind of waiting to go up and stuff. And then Godfrey goes back up. He's like, oh my God, you guys, you're never going to believe this. How about a big round of applause? Ray Romano. Now, Everybody Loves Raymond was still on the air, and Ray Romano comes in, place goes bananas. And then Godfrey goes back up. He's like, guys, this is just one of those nights. I can't believe I'm saying this, but ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. Dave Chappelle. Chappelle walks in. They're losing their fucking minds.
Yeah.
Right? It's Tuesday. They paid $10 to go in.
What a win.
Goes back up. Comics are slowly like leaving because they know the night's getting longer. Goes back up. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Seinfeld. Seinfeld comes in. The fucking place, they're going nuts, right?
Yeah.
Seinfeld comes off. I'm the only one staying now, okay, because everybody's gone home now. And Godfrey goes back up. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe I'm saying this. I've never seen it like this. Chris Rock goes up, fucking destroys, right? They're giving him a standing ovation.
How long are these sets they're doing?
They're all doing like 20, maybe a half hour. But I was
Holy
so
shit,
young
so
and
we're in there for
hungry.
3.5 hours now.
Oh, yeah, those shows would go from 9 to 2 in the morning.
No way.
I was the only one that stayed left. Godfrey goes back up. He goes, guys, you're not going to believe this. I cannot believe I'm saying this. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Murphy. People are fucking standing up, applauding, crying. He goes, just kidding, Steve Byrne.
No shit. Oh my. So how'd you do?
I fucking bombed.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
ate a plate of dicks that night because it was just like that sustainment of excitement and everything that they had. But as a young comic, again, it's one of those learning experiences where you're just watching the best of the best and then going upstairs and hearing their stories was fucking great.
Now, when you have that much star power around, you're like new starting out. Is there like what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do? Like, is there like an unwritten rule of being able to like, hey, you can only hang out for this long. You probably shouldn't. You don't want to sit there in the room with everyone and kind of just stick around be the guy that sticks around for too long.
Well, at the Cellar in particular, it's called the Table, and the table's where only past comedians can sit there. So you get a bunch of comics that come and they want to be around the Cellar, so they go off to the other tables. But the table's the table, so you sit at the table during your sets. But when those guys come in, you just shut the fuck up and listen.
Really?
There's some great stories, yeah.
God, that's awesome.
That's
Pretty
incredible.
fascinating.
I mean, you've been doing comedy since '97.
97, yeah, 20 plus years now.
Wow.
So it's been
I was 6.
a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that grind. I mean, you've been in it for obviously fucking decades.
It's the best job in the world. But I think what I like now is like seeing all my friends hit at different times, right? Like Kreischer again, like a grinder that just kept getting passed up. Sebastian, I mean, the guy's doing what, 8 shows sold out Madison Square Garden, and there was a period of time where nobody wanted anything to do with him, like nothing to do with him. But we all like. At the store, we always would have impressions of comics we loved, and Sebastian had this joke. So anytime, Sebastian would be on stage, you'd walk in and be like, "Who's on stage?" You go, "Apple Martini," and he's like, "Oh, that's your way of saying Sebastian," So
Yeah.
it's fun to see like guys hit at different points that really deserve it, and then there's guys like Steve Simone that don't hit, but you still love watching, and I don't know, it's just fun to see the growth, and even like. Guys like Mark Norman and Sam Morrell, these Joe List, these guys in New York City that are blowing up. It's fun to see them take the industry within themselves, because before you'd have to wait for the anointment of the industry, Netflix or HBO, to give you your first break. But now it's like Andrew Schultz, you just release it on your own platform, and then all the comics get together and via social media blow it the fuck out to help that individual. And now you're getting 10 million views on YouTube and monetizing that and making just as much money and kind of giving a finger to the industry, which I love. That I can't believe Mark Norman, one of the most prolific, and Sam and Joe, these guys are all joke writers. They're craftsmen. They really take their job seriously. And Netflix passed them up. And it's like now they're bigger than ever. They're doing theaters and stuff, and they deserve it.
Yes.
Yeah, because of politics.
I think the industry, you can't take it personally. I'm sure much like your industry, you gotta, there's a point where like if you get traded, right? It's just like you can let your emotions get involved, but there is a business to this at the end of the day too. And the industry in our business, they're heat-seeking missiles. They want to go after people that got a little heat or a little cachet. And every few years, there's this new individual that comes out. The industry backs, but you got to go with the tried and true, the people that are grinding, like Mark or Sam or Joe or any of us when we were younger. So
you're saying, but with the new stuff, you don't really need the Netflix anymore, huh? Same thing with Chris Stefano. He did his stand up, and he's like, Netflix can have it if they want it, blah blah blah. And they ended up coming after he even filmed the thing. Everybody turned him down, and then he released it on YouTube, or Netflix bought it. Shane Gillis as well. His shit is that stand up he did was so funny.
Really
I thought Stefano was hilarious too.
And all those guys, they took it upon themselves. And before they were doing this, like Joe Coy is another perfect example, right? The guy is blowing up. He's selling out theaters. The industry wants nothing to do with him. So he goes out. He's got deep enough pockets. He says, well, fuck it. I'll just film it myself. He goes back home to Seattle, gets a big theater, blows it the fuck out, looks at the credits, goes, he's the DP on that thing. I'll call him up. He's the director on that. I'll call him up. Gets all the people that worked on the other ones, puts the sweat equity and money value into it, and then goes back to it and says, this should be on. They go, yeah, fuck, of course, yeah. And then it goes on, and now he's got a film with Steven Spielberg. It's like, yeah, he took it again. All these guys we're talking about took a gamble on themselves and took money out of their pocket and put production value behind the things that they're doing. And now they're being rewarded for it. And they deserve it too, because it's talent meets sweat equity meets commerce. So
when you're talking about comics and different styles, storytellers and joke writers, craftsmen and stuff like that, is there like kind of a seasonal thing? Like people are really into like shot comedy right now, or people are really into storytelling right now that maybe the industry gets behind? Like someone could be behind a Bert Kreischer and there's like a Ralphie May, or it's like, oh, this dude's just kind of saying whatever.
I think it depends on the voice, right? I mean, there's different voices for different periods of time, right? Like Bill Burr is, I think, the voice of right now.
Yeah, he's Mount Rushmore, isn't he?
I mean, Mount Rushmore. For me, I probably put him up there, but I also started with him, so I don't look at him like everybody else does. Where it's like, oh my God, it's Bill Burr. It's like, this is Bill who we would perform at Dangerfields in front of 15 people, and he would go on these, quote unquote misogynistic kicks, and I would see a 65-year-old woman go to strangle Bill Burr. Literally Dangerfield. She got up and Bill just took the mic stand and held it in front of him like this. He's like, lady, you can't do this. You can't do this, lady. Because there was no security. So Bill's just like holding it like the crucifix in The Exorcist, backing her away. And eventually her husband came and dragged her off. But But I mean, Burr is, yeah, I mean, he's definitely the comic right now. I'd put him above Chappelle even, I think, in terms
Really?
of just hitting a different stride and blowing up and being so well received that he is this lightning rod for comedy right now that everybody knows and loves him.
Who would be on your Mount Rushmore?
Carlin, Pryor, Rock for me. I love Chris Rock. I'd put Bill Burr there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's also, I don't know. There's so many different factions of stand up too. So I know this is like a comedy, a comedian episode. There's
Yeah.
no laughs because I'm talking about the art of comedy.
No, this is
I'm
awesome.
fucking, yeah, I love this.
But
shit, dude.
I don't know. There's so many just different gears. And like, I'm reading that book, Elvis in Vegas, but the book's really about entertainment in Vegas, how Vegas came to be, and all these great performers and entertainers that performed out of Vegas. I love Dean Martin. I love Bob Hope. I love Johnny Carson. I love Dangerfield. Dangerfield's one of my favorites. And you could watch a Dangerfield set today, and you could put it in front of we're all different brackets of ages and generations. You could put Dangerfield on right now. It fucking kills. Still kills. My wife is so ugly. I took her to the fishing pier. All the fishermen go, "Oh, what bait you use?" I mean,
Yeah.
that's a fucking great joke. It's so quick and just right there and compact. I don't know. I love like that kind of delivery. I love Weekend Update, watching Colin Jost and Michael Che.
Yeah.
And they got evergreen kind of one-liners.
Have you seen the skit they did where they wrote each other's jokes?
That's the fucking best.
It's probably the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
It is hilarious.
It's my favorite thing. And they truly don't know. And Che
Dude.
loves to bury Jost.
Oh my God,
Jost is
kills
such a
that
great
man.
victim. But Jost is such a great writer. People don't know that guy was a head writer like in his 20s.
Mhm.
So that's he came out on the road with me when he was just writing, and for 3 summers he would just come out and we got to know each other. And that dude is prolific. We just went and did a run of shows, and we woke up at like 8, golfed all day, hung out with the guys, had dinner and lunch, and then literally rush back to the hotel, shower up, go do the show in front of 2,000 people. And from the night before, he had 15 new minutes. I was like, when did you work on that? He's like, oh, it was just in my head all day. I was like, how the fuck?
For 15
Like,
minutes.
but to prepare and memorize, like I'd have to sit down and put it in a notebook and write it out. And he just did it on stage. It was fucking, and when he would go on the road with me in his 20s, he would have a new 15 minutes every night. I'm not joking. Every night. It's unheard of.
That's a
That's
gift.
how prolific he
It
was.
really is a
He'd
gift.
have
really
3
is.
newspapers next to him at the pool. He'd go swimming in the morning. I remember I was hungover and I'd have to go do morning radio. That dude, I don't think I'm speaking out of school. He's Harvard educated, good looking, handsome, married to a movie star. He's the friend I have that shit his pants most in public.
Really?
You want to hear shit your pants stories?
Yeah, I
Talk
do.
to Colin Jost. He shit his pants during finals in Harvard, where he's sitting in shit.
Did you have like irritable bowel syndrome or what's
You got
the
a
deal?
problem?
What's going on with my man?
Nervous? Like, I gotta
I
release
don't know.
it right here.
Like I think
He's a nervous shitter.
I think he's lactose intolerant. And we'd go get ice cream. He's like, this is the gamble I'm willing to take every time I have ice cream.
respect
ice cream's
that.
really like that, though.
Fucking respect
Ice
that,
cream's
dude.
a tier 1 dessert in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's out there, dude.
So when I look at him, and he always laces in shit jokes once every 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm like, I know where this is coming from.
Yeah.
Because he experiences it himself. Is it hard to stay patient for your time? And I'm not talking like you specifically, but as you're a
What do you mean?
comic coming up, staying patient, like you see, you're growing through your career with all these guys. You see guys hit their moments.
Oh yeah,
start to,
I'm sure
they
you
start
guys
to-
see that too in your industry,
Oh,
where
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
folks are getting rewarded.
But your
It's
guys,
a little bit different though, because it's pretty cut and dry in football. Like you're
It's
either
based on
producing or
statistics and
you're not
production,
producing.
yours,
Yeah,
right?
there is politics when you get to like the practice field in camp. Like a guy who is undrafted
Sure.
is not going to have a fair enough shot to a guy who's like a 3rd round pick or something like that. They're going
Right.
to give a guy
not as many
the edge.
opportunities. Shit
But
like
you get
that.
on the field on a Sunday and you ball. It's like the
and
tape
dry.
don't lie. Yeah, it's cut and dry.
In comedy, it's
Right.
more like it's a creative space, so everybody's energy is a little bit
And there's
different.
so many different styles.
Yeah, a lot of different styles.
Yeah.
And it's longer. Like you've been on stage since '97. It's like football is a finite career, like
Yeah.
a very short career.
Yeah, look, I mean, the healthiest way to do it is I always got in the mindset of like, we're all golfing. I got to concentrate on my game. I can't concentrate on your game. Your game means nothing to me. I don't even golf, but that was my way of making it analogous and healthy for myself.
Analogous.
I think the great thing,
Hey, Google that.
Oh,
I
like
think-
You know what that word means?
I mean, analogy, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
a bigger
yeah,
way
yeah,
to say it.
yeah.
Thank
Sorry,
God.
yeah.
Hey, I was going to
Instead of
Google that later.
analogy,
I was going to be in my
it's
van trying to figure out.
Like, let's make it.
Oh,
Guys, I am half Korean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there it is. There's more waters we can't tread.
Let's talk about porn, and you guys will demolish me, okay? So I am half Korean,
my
ladies.
search bar is a little different.
Your search bar a little different.
Yeah.
But I think like in that industry, it's so easy to see. But now what the difference was, the industry would anoint certain individuals, like Millie Kalig, for example, right? She was anointed pretty early on, Ivy League educated, and just running with a great career. And I'm sure she works really hard at it, of course. But with comedy, the industry would anoint you based off a great Tonight Show set.
Mhm.
But if the booker didn't like you, well, you're not getting on, and you could kill on the road. Nowadays, you don't need that shit. Bert's a perfect example. Like, the industry ignored him for years. He just did a movie with Mark Hamill. I mean, he did it on his own. Schultz did it on his own. All these guys are doing it on their own.
Bert's the co-MVP of this podcast right now. He's been brought up a lot today.
Yeah, he has been talked about. Yeah. But I mean, I really am. He's a great beacon of hope for people that are talented that just got passed over. And he did it on his own. And for my journey, it's funny, over COVID, I watched my hour specials because for 5 years I've been working on this hour that I'm filming here in Tennessee. I'm filming it Saturday, August 27th at the Franklin Theater. And for years, everybody said no to me. Nobody wanted my new hour. Like, nope, you're done. You're like washed up. I had a sitcom. And nobody wanted anything to do with me. And then I had this film that came out during pandemic, of course, and it did well, but well enough, right? But it didn't have like an impact. So I'm just sitting there waiting for like a fucking yes. Will somebody say yes to this? And I thought, okay, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do this on my own. But then finally somebody from Amazon saw it, but it was only because I think I had the time to go back and be accountable for my act. I went back and I watched all my hours and I was like, it was good. That's it. It was good. It wasn't great.
Like, if I were to listen to a podcast of Will and I, sometimes I'm like, why are people listening to this? Like, it's just us hanging out, you know?
Yeah.
So you're going to be a massive critic of your own self. Like, you're just hearing yourself
Yeah.
talk and everything.
But you got to be accountable for. I think it's easy to go, oh, well, fuck it, or they're racist, or I'm
Yeah.
fucking great, or this. You can make 1,000 excuses, but
Yeah.
if you don't take the time to look at yourself and go, no, it's just not good enough. You didn't do well enough. You got to do better. And so I pushed myself even further and harder and really wrote and went out to my friends and said, can you take a look at this? Can you help me with this?
Mhm.
And them going, oh, you tweak this and that'll be fucking, and then it all kind of glums together. And then after I did this self-accountability, look at myself in the mirror, I go, okay, now take another stab at it. And I did. And then Amazon said, all right, let's do it. And it took, that was the hardest yes I've ever gotten in this industry. It took so much fucking rejection. And so whether it hits, whether it doesn't, I'm just fucking proud that finally, like, I did the work and it paid off. And we'll see what happens.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I like how you said all that stuff too with the self-accountability aspect. Because you're like, yeah, we can come on and I feel like we obviously sometimes it sucks to hear our voice over and over. But like with football,
You're right. You ever hear yourself? Like you play something back and you're like, I sound like that?
Yeah.
Me, especially. I have the amount of times I had somebody go to, I didn't think you'd sound like that because of how big I am. It's a tough life I'm living out here. You know what I'm saying?
I like pudding.
Dude, I should look like I should sound like the dude from the Allstate commercials. That black dude. You
Are
know what
in
I'm
good
saying?
hands?
Yeah.
But I don't. I sound like a fucking
But
6-year-old.
think
That's
about,
what
think
it
about
is.
ball. There's a lot of guys who would be in denial about their own game, thinking
Yeah.
like, I'm not sure how I didn't make
Bro,
the
that
team,"
is the
stuff like
most
that.
annoying shit when people do that.
Yeah,
I do
but
that sometimes
it's
though.
kind of like the same thing. Like, you go back and actually look at how you play, and then you go and get peer perspective. Like, sometimes you might be nervous to go get another outsider.
gotta be hard to do.
But like going against somebody, hey, actually do, like, watch this for me, check this out for me, give me your honest feedback. Like, don't beat around the bush. Like, I think that's.
But
fucking
isn't there
awesome.
like when somebody, you always see this, right? Somebody has a breakout year, contract year, then they go to like the Yankees, for example, whatever team you want, and they get this major fucking contract, and then they just don't produce. Is there like a complacency when you hit a truly ridiculous amount of money that you see sometimes in athletes?
It's all dependent on the individual.
Yeah.
Like some guys from going from somewhere to somewhere else, I think a lot of times depends what position you play. Like if you're a receiver and you had all these yards, but they were throwing you the ball all the time,
Right.
and then you go to a team that maybe has more players or something like that, and you're not as utilized in that offense,
Right.
that might play. And there is a level of complacency that guys do get when it's this guard. His name was David DeCastro. He plays for the Steelers. He got broke off paid one year, and it was 2016. We're at the Pro Bowl, and he's like, "These are going to be the hardest 5 years of my life." And I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Because that motivation to get paid is now gone. You know, so
Oh, wow.
where else is that chip now?
Yeah,
where
Albert Hainsworth.
You know, Albert Hainsworth. But there's probably
Wow.
more guys than
Yeah.
not that don't grind.
Right.
There's got to be of a level of like you have to have a different why than money. If your
Sure.
why is just money, you're not going to succeed to your ultimate potential.
So this is something I do wonder, because you guys do this professionally, but does the competitive fire kind of wane once you become a professional? Understanding we're all pros here, you know, like you see, like I'm a huge hockey guy, right? So you're seeing guys play, and even in the fighting, they don't want to necessarily really hurt each other, because
But the game's also evolved so much.
Right.
That there's not like these guardians of the ice anymore, where it's like these dudes are here to play
Sure.
3 minutes and beat the shit out of people.
Yeah.
So that's a different thing. But what I think is that's so different is in football, it's just hard, dude. Competitively, you're either competitive or you're not.
Right.
There's guys that are ultimately super talented and you can come in at any time, but like there's guys that are crazy talented and are just like good and they can turn it on and off whenever they want. Julius Peppers is a guy that reminds me of that, because even at his older age, playing against him, he looked like he didn't really care, but then all of a sudden he'd be like, I'm gonna get a sack real quick, and he'd just go fucking light somebody up because he just was that good.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
there's guys like Michael Jordan where it doesn't matter, the cash never mattered to him.
Right.
It was really about like I need to win and be
Just
the
have
best.
That
Yeah,
competitive.
LeBron,
fire.
Kobe, those guys. But
Yeah.
that's why you see those guys transcend up to the top.
Right.
Is because they have that competitive edge. They're fueled by something else other than the success of what other people say or
Right.
what their peers think about them. They're fueled by whatever's
Right.
inside of them.
It's not like fame, money, and everything else. I think it just all depends on the
Yeah.
Social media, like with comedy, like I hear so many comics go, "Fuck, I don't want to do this." Like you have to post, you almost have to do a podcast now as a comic, right? And a lot of them just don't want to do. They just don't want to do it, right? But professional athletes, I mean, do you feel that you need to do it,
I
or
just
is
love
it
doing
something
it.
like
For this
you?
podcast. For this podcast,
If you were just strictly an athlete without the podcast, would you be active on it, or would you just be like, "Fuck it, I'm good. I'm on the field. I don't have to market myself." But there is still a marketability for everybody.
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like if there was no podcast, like I've always enjoyed like whether it's making people laugh or
Yeah.
showing people, things that go on. Like I've always enjoyed that stuff. Like I've always goofed around and like
Sure.
had fun with it. So I think I would be doing it no matter what. But also like when you are an athlete, like seeing it as like, NFL stands for not for long. Like the average career is 2.8 years.
Sure, yeah.
There's only a finite amount of time that you're going to have to play this sport. Now, not everybody's going to cash out and be able to hit like some huge bag. Like you should do well if you're in the league for several years. Like you should be well enough to give yourself a cushion for a couple years. But eventually you're going to have to find something to do. And even people who make a lot of money, like you're still going to have some kind of curiosity whenever you're done playing.
Sure.
So whenever you do have, like, to me, the way I look at it, when you do have the shield, you need to use it as much as you can, even when you're in college, especially with NIL now. But before the NIL stuff, like you have a certain amount of time to shake as many hands as possible, network as much as you can. I always say your jokes are funny, or you're better looking, all this stuff while you're playing. So you need to take advantage of it. And social media is a way to build your brand, whether or not you have a podcast or anything else.
Right.
You have these platforms to kind of maximize the window that you're in.
Right.
If you're trying to parlay it into something else, because whenever it's gone and it's behind you,
Right.
and say you weren't doing
People
anything,
don't care about you near as much.
people don't know what the league's not going to take care of you afterwards. People don't care about you as much, and everybody's going to like any opportunity you try to create or make. They're gonna be like, oh, he's kind of trying to get back into something now the ball's over.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that's how I've always looked at it. I've always enjoyed it, and now it's like having this stuff gives me even more of a
How
reason.
great of a time is it though for you guys? I mean, to have this that you built up, and now the track's set. Like when it does eventually draw to a close, you have this next venture, which is so fucking awesome, because there's a lot of professional athletes I know that deal with the depression that comes with it, with the pivot and change of loss of identity, having a regimented schedule.
That last
for
one you just said
everything.
has got to be probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That loss of
Loss,
identity.
yeah.
Because when you play sports, especially you play football and even hockey, like you're a big hockey fan, like you got to commit to that sport
Right.
fast and quick, especially in hockey. But your whole life is that. And then you
Right.
got guys who put their head down and grind. Like before this podcast, I didn't even think about anything other than football.
Right.
And then once this podcast started, there was a level of pressure in the back of my head that I didn't even realize I had. Where I said, when this thing started going off, it's like, okay, I know I'm going to be okay after football.
Sure.
I know I'm going to be all right for whether it's the identity thing, whether it's what am I going to do?
Right.
Like, how am I going to still like scratch this itch of being competitive, whether it's like, numbers going up and all that, or like some sort of creative outlet. Is
Right.
that's definitely something that's I think guys are really struggle with when they're done.
Right. Right.
Really hard time.
Yeah, because it's like the stuff we talked about with Eric Wood, like finding that next roller coaster. Like
Mhm.
we've lived our entire lives to play a sport, like our dream, and we're living out our dream.
Yeah.
And it's gonna come to a close. And when it does, it's like, if you're lucky enough to play to 30, you
Right.
have hopefully the majority of your life left. Like, what are you going to like do or put your energy into? And I think guys do struggle because we're put on this pedestal for our entire lives. Like our years are built around
Silver
ourselves.
spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like selfish with our time, and like because money is like the factor that says, hey, I make X amount, this life should be around me because I'm on TV every weekend.
Sure.
And then when that's over with, it's not like you realize
Like,
like
it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a dope
for
profession.
sure. Oh yeah.
It's a
It's
dope
great,
ass
yeah.
profession. But
Yes,
even like
man.
college, dude. College, you're like you go to a major university like Nebraska or Michigan. There's a silver spoon the whole time you're at that
yeah,
school.
I went to Kent State. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
yeah,
a
the
good
Golden
football
Flag.
program.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a big deal right there.
218 out of
Yeah.
224.
There you go.
I got the fever.
You got the fever, baby. But when you're there, like you're going and you're working through all this stuff, but your hand is held the whole time.
Yeah.
I was the guy that grinded on that 2.0. I would do whatever I could just to keep the 2.0.
Grinded on
Grinded on that 2.0. I would literally go and teach you, be like, hey, if you just change these couple of things, you can get a B instead of a C.
Yeah.
Well, why? I'll just get the C. I'm passing. I'm solid. What do you mean?
Good as long as I can
You know
ball
what
with
I'm
the
saying?
boys.
I can play. Degree's a degree.
So
A degree. Your degree doesn't say C on it. It says fucking degree.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, and so, but when you're there, like you have the academic centers, you have the tutors, you have all this stuff.
Can I still play on Saturday? Yeah, it's
Dude,
just
that's the
C.
truth.
So C
Like,
allows me to still play.
C,
Like,
C
yes,
means
okay.
good to go, right? That means I can play. They're like, yes.
Shoot for the stars. I see him.
Yeah, they're nice. It's a beautiful view. But if you're in the stars, you can't see the stars. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that shit. I want to look at them bitches. That's nice. I just drove 22 hours. I saw plenty of stars, dude. South
I
Dakota.
love his laugh.
Yeah, you gotta.
Great.
It's dude. But it's what it is, dude. And these guys. Like I was lucky enough to go play in the NFL. Some of these guys finish college and they're like, "You're not the man anymore. It's
Right,
over."
right, yeah.
You know, and it's finding a way to figure out not being the man from like people know who you are, how much money, like how do you feel in yourself that same confidence you had when you were
Sure.
playing
Yeah.
football
Yeah.
or were all that. And that was I think it's gonna be a hard thing for a lot of guys.
Do you find it alarming that there's more coverage on football than national politics? I mean,
Bro, it's
I
nuts.
think it's better. I think you should have more coverage on football than in politics.
crazy.
as much
Yeah.
coverage as possible.
As much
on
coverage
football,
as
but
possible.
It's like
Dude,
the
crazy.
biggest
Politics
thing
is
on
fucking
TV.
insane.
Oh, the
Every
worst.
time I turn on my Instagram, it's Biden stuttering on something, and then a couple years ago is Trump being racist about something. It's just like
Yeah.
too much.
We know what Taylor's algorithm feeds him.
Bro, I just played both sides.
Not the cap.
It's just too much,
Do
dude.
you?
Do you watch the news? Do you go home? You turn on CNN?
I watch
Yeah, I
the
went there.
news. I do watch both.
Yeah.
I do watch both. So I love to get my January 6th update on one network, and then hear the pro police update on the other network.
Yeah.
But I just as a comic, I really hope Trump runs again. Because
God,
I fucking
dude,
love it. It's like
stop
a
it.
Christmas buffet. That dude does not stop giving. He's
Yeah.
fucking
Material
fantastic.
for days, huh?
Oh
for
my God, I
days.
fucking love him.
It's
I love
crazy.
everything
You
about
talk to some of them right wing cats, they're like, well, Fox is actually owned by the liberals too. It's crazy. This whole world we're living in of like Illuminati type shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it was so funny how like Elon Musk is like this golden child, and then he's like, I think I might vote Republican. He's like, this guy's a piece of shit, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just think it's so fascinating the pendulum swings that the media has and everything. But just like as a comedian, I'm strictly speaking as a comedian, I fucking love Trump. I think he is just absolutely fascinating. He doesn't give a fuck. He just says whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that
Clip the part where he says, I fucking love Trump. That's it.
yeah,
That's all we need.
drop
Yeah,
bass
it's
and
all
beats
we
to
want.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hearts around me.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact
White
that
Twitter's gonna love this episode this week, boys.
Here they go again, another one.
Here they go again.
Like when he's asked questions like, "What do you think of Heidi Klum?" and he's like, "Well, sadly, she's no longer a 10." It's like that's fucking crazy.
She's no
You
longer a
describe a human being as no longer being a 10. Like I'm like, keep those coming,
Oh,
please.
dude.
Let me write that down.
Yeah, politics are fun.
Politics are not for me, dude.
Yeah,
Not for me. Not interested in it.
To me, like everybody gets way too
there's too much
Way-
emotional.
the
investment.
Way too much.
yeah, the emotional involvement. Like I just listen. I'm just trying to like do my
Yeah.
daily stuff.
People say
You
if
guys
you
can
if
argue.
you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. I say fuck that, dude. I'll not stand for anything. It's the best. That way I can get along with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Whoever
I'll fall for it all.
Yeah, I'll fall for it all. If I'm around somebody that's a Democrat, so am I, dude. If I'm around a Republican, so I think Jeff Dye had a bit about
Yeah,
that.
he did.
That shit was
It's funny.
hilarious.
I mean, for real though, if people tell me something, I'm pretty gullible. I'll just be like, oh shit, for real? I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, this man is the most gullible man of all time, bro.
I want to talk about how the Earth's flat, guys.
Yeah, I
no,
agree.
I think, like, especially as a comic, I like to peg both of them. I like to shit on both of them because comics, I think 85% are predominantly leftists. And so when I tweet stuff that fills the void of the right, I get shit on, I get blocked. I'm like, I hit everybody. You guys know me. And I had a friend, a good friend, and a very popular comic stop talking to me because of all the stuff. And
What's his name?
We need this.
Go ahead.
Just all three mics.
I'll give you his initials.
No, don't do that. Don't do
I'll
that.
give you his Neil Brennan.
He just stopped talking to you because of the political thing?
Yeah, because he's look, he's definitely pretty lefty. I still love Neil. Like, I respect him. I flew to New York to see his show, but he said, I just can't talk to you. I'm sure at some point I'll see him and I'll hug him or whatever. But he basically was bent up because, you know, as co-creator of Chappelle's show, I think you definitely have an in with a certain community of this nation, right? People that predominantly vote Democrat. I'll just say that. Black people.
Yeah, yeah.
So he
I'll just say that.
So we were having this debate about January 6th and BLM riots, and I think rioting across the board is bad. And I think rioting the Capitol is as bad as rioting city streets and destroying businesses. And he was like, one is justified, one's not. And we were going on this, you know, pontification and debate about it. And he just said, I just can't talk to you anymore because the last election, I think it culminated because the last election, I couldn't vote for either candidate. He said, how do you not pick this over that? And I was like, I'm a lot more apolitical, but I am very political in certain jokes. You know what I mean? So I'm not emotionally invested in politics, but he is. And so for me, I like to kind of jab a bit more. And
I know that's what I hate, like potentially losing homies over stuff like that. So I would just rather be like, you know, somebody will say whatever they want to say. And I'm like, I don't want to be emotionally invested in this kind of conversation.
Right,
I want to still hang out. Like whoever's sitting next to me might feel a certain way. But
I'm invested
just try
in
and
the
like
joke.
just stay. I just like
That's what I'm
stay back
invested in.
from fucking any of those kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's not worth all the like, hey, we're literally splitting up friendship
Sure,
wise
yeah.
over something political.
Yeah, unfortunately, in my industry, I'd say 95% of the people I work with are not only left, but really left. In the entertainment industry, it is a bubble, absolutely, that people live within this dome of like super progressive values. And I'm pretty progressive, but I'm not like hardened. Like I believe in smaller government. I believe, you know, certain things. If you want to get an abortion, I think you should, you know. So I have a perspective, I think, that's kind of like more middle than most people. But my peers are all pretty extreme.
Balance is important in life. So why wouldn't you try to stay balanced in your views as well?
That's why I love living here because like the city's blue like most, the outskirts are red. And so when you go and perform at Zanies, you get this great hybrid of opinions. And so you could tell these fun jokes. And like one of the jokes that I don't do material on this, but you know, it was a real experience. Literally the first day I move in, the setup is real. The punch is a joke, right? And the setup is I was signing a package in this brand new home that first day I move in, and the UPS driver's like, so where'd you move from? I'm like, oh, Los Angeles. He's like, California. I go, yeah. He goes, hey, will you do me a favor? I go, yeah. He goes, you keep your fucking politics in California. And I was like, holy shit, okay, I'm in the South now. And my joke is, don't worry about a thing, sir. The only thing I brought with me is my black Jewish husband.
Yeah.
So that's the joke, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of like find a way, but I try to like, I just try to find a way to hit both sides, you know?
Yeah.
I'm pro vibes, man.
Pro vibes
I'm
for
just like,
sure.
keep
That what a
pro vibes.
line.
Like, I'm
pro vibe.
What a
I'm
line
pro
by the boy.
vibes, dude.
That's the truth,
Just
dude. It's
keep the
tough.
vibes and it'll all like.
People angry about a lot of stuff. I was up in
my
Canada
God.
for a month. They're mad about stuff up there too. Trudeau, they hate him.
What are they? What's
Hey,
Trudeau? Yeah,
Trudeau.
yeah.
There's fuck Trudeau stickers. That's like Canada's just America up there right now.
What's fuck Trudeau? Oh, that's a Trudeau's
Trudeau's like
person.
their guy.
Okay.
Like their prime minister.
Yeah.
Oh.
And and he's like trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. He came in with good ideas, allegedly. I don't know, but it seems like people are really not about him. Really not
Great
about
head
him.
of hair.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. Who was the guy who ran Cuba for a little bit? What was his name?
Castro.
Yes, allegedly he's the illegitimate son.
That's right. Yeah. Those are always like the.
Those are
right,
fun
you know,
conspiracies.
Oh, I
Those are
love
fun
conspiracies,
Dude,
dude.
I love to go down rabbit holes.
shit.
Now you start talking about flat Earth, I'll take a stance on that right now. Come on, you know what I'm saying? That's
What
just
about
crazy.
Hollow Earth?
Who?
What about Hollow Earth?
Bro, there's too much weight up on here. We're gonna fall through. What do you mean?
Just
Hollow
asking.
Earth?
He's just asking.
Yeah.
Fans.
I
He's
don't know
"I'm
about
just
that."
saying."
But like they talk about, have you seen Loose Change on YouTube? About 9/11.
Oh yeah.
It's a crazy
yeah.
deal now. You
Long
sit there
time
and
ago.
at the end of it, you're like, maybe.
Where's the debris in Shanksville?
Yeah.
All that stuff. Yeah.
It's just a
wild.
crazy deal. Then the whole idea of the Illuminati, that there's a bunch of people running the world.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild to me. Lizard people. It just kind of gets crazier and crazier as you go.
The one I think is always funny. I love watching Ancient Aliens, and I always thought it was funny how, like, when you see like the Great Wall of China, it's like the Chinese built that, and when you see something else, it's like, oh, the Stonehenge is like the British put this here in a denoted time or whatever, and then you see like pyramids. It's like, oh yeah, aliens built those. There's no way these dirty brown people could build that shit. It's like, why do you not believe that that's possible? That's fucking crazy to me,
Dude.
But we can all agree that aliens are real, right?
Are we? Is that a fact now? That aliens are a real thing?
I think it is.
Imagine
It's been coming out.
the first podcast with an alien on.
We'll have it.
Well, we blow up.
Hopefully we're
We're having that. Make a call, JP.
1 second.
Yeah. Hello. Beep boop boop
Hey,
boop.
aliens are real, right?
I've always been a believer in UFOs. Not like
Tom DeLonge.
I heard like I don't know if I could. I don't know. You guys edit stuff?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
heard
literally
like Aaron
I think you just
Rodgers,
said, dirty
is a
brown
huge
person.
alien guy.
Is he?
Yeah, I was talking to a
Wait,
friend.
who?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is an alien?
No, he's huge into it. I have a buddy who is a comic that's friends with him and hangs out and was
Rogan?
like, oh, he's. But he's like, no, it's not Rogan. But he was saying he's a big alien guy. Like I was like, oh shit, I never would have thought that. But then the more I read about him, the more I'm like, oh, maybe.
He's out there.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers, though.
Same, dude.
He's
He
a
can sling
stud.
it.
We were playing. I signed my contract, and we played the Packers in a preseason game. And it's halftime. And I'm jogging in to the locker room, and someone pats me on the ass and says, "Don't spend all that money in one place." And I look, and it's Rodgers.
Oh wow.
Never talked to him in my life. Kind of just jogging, gives me a wink,
Yeah.
keeps going. Since then, I've been a
Oh,
fan.
That's awesome, man.
Since that moment,
It's a cool story. I can like picture that. It's like
Yeah.
a commercial.
it was cool. Like the Mean Joe Green commercial, the Coca-Cola
Yeah,
commercial.
yeah. That's exactly it, dude.
yeah, dude.
I love when him and Tomlin had that moment. Mike Tomlin, when he gave Mike Tomlin the wink and Tomlin gave him the head nod.
Oh, you're talking about when he was on the field?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were playing. I went to Ben's last game, Big Ben's last game in Pittsburgh. That was a pretty cool thing to witness.
He's a stud, dude.
Just that city just reveres Ben Roethlisberger, and just like the outpouring of emotion. And it was really cool to see,
Yeah.
especially in this day and age. You guys know more than anybody where you just move around, right? Team to team. But that the Rooney stuck by him and stayed with him, and he got to retire a Steeler. It was pretty cool.
If him and AB and Le'Veon Bell stayed together, you think they could have won it?
Yeah.
They would have. Ben would have had two, huh?
That's one of those.
Damn.
What's your take on I heard AB wants to come back to Pittsburgh, and I was like, that city has
Well, you see Tomlin on Pivot.
436 bridges, and you burned them all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tomlin was on Pivot, I believe,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Well, listen, we all know that's not happening. I love AB, blah blah." Dude, I was with Tomlin. He was the coach of the AFC team in the Pro Bowl, and AB didn't show up to the game until 5 minutes before the game started, after warmups. And Tomlin was there. He's like, "Yeah, he does this every time. I don't like taking his money. I just have to sometimes."
Ah, Jesus
But
Christ.
he's like, but like Tomlin's that dude that he's the guy. He's the type of coach that can handle those type of personalities.
Sure, yeah.
I
yeah.
love that man. I never played for him. I
Yeah.
spent a week with him, and I would run through a wall for that guy. He seems like an awesome
You
dude.
see the kind of respect he has, too, from all the
Respect
players
like
who play
crazy.
for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like in the media how people, there's always like the offshoot rumor mill, like bloggers or whatever. It's like, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
The Roonies are so, I mean, their track record says, you're our guy, you're our guy. They're
To
going
be in a place like that. I heard it was between him and Ken Wisenhunt to get that job back in the day.
Oh, wow.
So
But that organization just from the top, they're so nice. Like Rocky Blyer, I've got to know that guy. and their alumni is so ingrained with going to the games, and he's always taking pictures and stuff with people. It's just, I don't know,
Yeah.
something about that team, that market.
Yeah, that team's cool. And the stadium's cool on the Three Rivers.
Yeah.
It's just a cool place. Fun to play. What's that song they played in the fourth quarter?
Renegade?
Yeah,
My
dude.
Sticks. Yeah.
That shit goes
That's
off.
your squad, huh? Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should have beat them this year. Damn. We lost.
Well, you knew the Steelers were gonna hobble in if they were gonna get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
hobble in,
They
and
really
just
did
like-
hobble their ass in there, didn't they?
Hobbled.
You see the DNs come out, the rankings?
Yeah.
97 for TJ?
For TJ Watt, it was
Yeah.
96.
96?
I think so, right?
My man, he got to be at 99,
The
right?
kid's looking for the exact person who rated him a 96 or 97.
What do you think?
He says, I want the exact person.
What do you think their QB situation is going to be? Because you draft the kid and then you get Trubisky to come in. Do you think Trubisky plays for 2 years and kind of takes him under his wing, or
Trubisky probably plays for, I would guess, a year, hoping that the first rounder comes along. It was the first rounder, right?
yeah,
You're hoping that the first rounder comes along to where you
Kenny Pickett,
don't
yeah.
have to play him this year.
Yeah, this is
Right.
a tale as old as time for the NFL. Like you have a guy who's done it, you know he's played well in the league, he can win you games, then you get a guy that you hope can develop to be the guy.
yeah,
And I like Trubisky. He's a good dude.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, great.
Yeah,
dude.
like,
Almost took my
yeah.
wife.
What's that?
Almost took my wife. At the
Almost
Pro Bowl.
took her.
Almost took her.
But hey, didn't know. Who's laughing now?
We had to intercept that immediately.
Yeah, me and
Get the fuck away from him.
Will are at the bar, and Will goes, "You see this shit?" And he's like chatting up. Trubisky, a handsome dude too. I thought, "Oh, it's over for Will."
Yeah.
It's game over.
What
What
happened?
did happen exactly?
we were
'Cause
at-
all I can think of is
we were
him
at
not
the
knowing,
bar.
the Bud Light. Because
Yeah.
talking about the
We were sitting there, we were drinking beers with him,
Yeah.
and then the three of us are talking, and then somehow he pivots and turns,
Yeah,
and Charo was on the other side of him, and Charo's got a very distinct laugh,
right.
and so you start hearing that laugh happen, and you Will, that's me, and Will's like, fucking, you see this shit going on?
because Taylor treats us to the Pro Bowl, and we're around all these Pro Boys. So I'm like, hey, sweetheart, like, come on now, keep your eyes right here.
I was right here.
We're in all
Bro,
these big dogs.
That
but
was you were watching like, damn, she might go down tonight. That'd be tough.
we just continued to joke about it.
Yeah.
You had been you
He's
just
now
started
wife with a
dating
kid.
at the time,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you
yeah.
were
Talking about this?
What?
oh,
Yeah,
you were with her then?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all together.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things that was happening. She obviously laughed. I immediately go to Taylor, and we just become dudes in the entire situation. We don't let her breathe, and we're just like, oh, he's taking her.
Yeah.
He's laughing.
She took those
Kinda
punches
feel-
well.
Yeah, kind of. He's kind of standing there, kind of like, like feeling.
Yeah, he
'Cause
just
he
met
doesn't
us.
know us. He
So
just
we're
met
now
us.
we're now telling Charo, hey, you're gonna let this man try to take you in front of him, and you can tell he's like holding his beer with two hands, like, what the fuck have I gotten myself
Taylor and I
into?
just being ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro,
It was funny. And
That
then the
was a
next
fun-ass
day,
time.
she got
had
a
food poisoning that night.
Yeah, but remember when?
deserved it.
Yeah,
She did fucking deserve
she
it.
was probably gonna do what we thought she was gonna do, but she got sick. So it's the whole relationship.
Remember when she
just
also
kidding,
made me
Charo.
take a photo of her and Patrick Mahomes?
That's tough.
Yeah,
You know,
that was fucking tough.
that's an L. This can't become a roast of Charo. We can't be doing this to her.
Just start backpedaling.
Yeah, and another thing,
Yeah.
we start going on her.
Is it like true? Like you guys go on the road and there's just a mass of fucking tens hanging out at the Hilton, just kind of at the bar.
You don't see that in Bible study.
Yeah.
I don't see that in our Bible studies that we get.
No, yeah. Usually we're at mass.
Yeah.
Because comics,
I
is the
have
total
not
opposite.
seen that. I have not seen it. Was that?
Comics is the total opposite. Like you guys, it's just like it doesn't happen like that with you with comics. You
Yeah.
gotta scratch and claw and
Who's
everything.
the
Brutal.
Who's the Asian that has a stand up on Netflix? Really funny.
Joe Coy.
Joe Coy.
Yeah.
Yes. I
weird,
saw her.
weird
bit.
way to set up
Oh,
that
you mean
question.
Ali Wong?
Yeah, Ali Wong.
Yeah.
That's who it
Okay.
is. Because she just got a divorce with her
She got a
husband, right?
divorce. Yeah.
But she had a lot of comedy jokes. Like, what is it like? What was she calling it? Like comedic pussy?
Whatever she called it. If I was at the time the husband watching that, do I need to get a divorce attorney? Because
Bro.
iceberg coming. Holy shit!
Yeah.
It was like she's laying it all
She's
out there.
very funny. You should watch her special on Netflix. It's extremely funny. But my wife and I are watching it, laughing our asses off. But it's like, man, I wonder if she like runs these jokes by her husband. And there was an article saying that she did run them all by her husband. Her husband's very supportive. They have
Yeah.
like X, Y, and Z. Couple months later,
Read the tea
they're getting
leaves,
a
baby. Oh
fucking
my
divorce,
God.
bro.
Yeah.
God, it's tough. It'd be tough to be married to a
Kids and
comic.
stuff. She had she did a stand up where she's pregnant, and then
Oh,
she
yeah.
came out with that stand up recently.
Mhm.
I think she's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's
really, really sweet. Really smart. Very talented, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, really funny.
really funny. I have a question. This is just a random question. Being in the game since '97, you saw the rise and fall of Dane Cook. What was the deal with Dane? Because he seems like he's hated in the comic community.
Okay, so
Good question.
you probably don't know this, but
It's a great YouTube
he
clip,
had he had a big thing with me.
Oh,
It became like this kind of like
I saw you take a deep breath when I asked that question, and I knew we were in for a nice little piece here. So thank you.
there was
Go off on him. Go off on him.
there was an incident within the comedy community that kind of became a big thing for a while. So I moved to LA in 2004. Dane is blowing the fuck up, right? I mean,
Massive.
he's
Movies,
massive.
stand up.
All
Good
of
luck,
it.
Chuck.
And good looking, and just like at this place called Dublin's, which was like the hot spot in Hollywood.
Ireland.
So Tuesdays you do that. Like Britney Spears is there, NSYNC's there, Vince Vaughn's there, Cameron Diaz is there. Like everybody's coming through to watch comics. So you're just like a comic with no credits, and you're going up and you're seeing all these faces, and they're like the hottest girls in the world are there, and comics are getting laid after. It's the fucking greatest show you want to be a part of. And Dane's the centerpiece of it all, right? So I moved there. I'm like this new comic from New York City, and I was doing well here. And, you know, the word gets out, oh, this new guy from New York, he's pretty fun. He's cool. So I start doing it, and it's going great. And then I'm not getting booked on that show anymore. And this guy, Jay Davis, booked it. And I call up Jay. I'm like, what's going on? Is something wrong or whatever? He's like, yeah, Dane's got an issue with you. He doesn't want you on the shows anymore. I'm like, oh, okay. He doesn't want me on the shows? And he goes, yeah. And so now I'm not working at the Laugh Factory anymore. And I called the Laugh Factory. They're like, yeah, we can't book you anymore. I go, oh, okay. So then I'm like, well, I'll just call Dane. I mean, I have his number and we're friendly. We have the same manager, right? So I called Dane up and I go, hey, I heard you have an issue. Do you have an issue with me? He said, yeah. I said, well, why don't I come over to your place? We could talk about it. He goes, sure. So I got in my car. I drove over. This has been discussed on Mark Maron's podcast on my end. It's been discussed on Mark Maron's podcast on his end. He has a version of reality I don't agree with, but essentially what happened is I went over and I said, what's your issue? And he said, I feel like you're stealing my essence. And I was like, what? And he's like, you're taking my essence with you on stage. I'm like, Dane, I work so hard. I'm not trying to be a shittier version of you. Like, I work hard in New York City. I work hard here. I'm not trying to be you. He's like, you're doing like me. And I was like, I don't see it at all. So I think we're going to agree to disagree. And this is when I was like, this was the moment where I was like, oh boy, I don't know if I'm talking to somebody who's here. And he said, maybe it's not your time to be here. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, maybe you shouldn't be in Los Angeles now. I'm like, that's weird. I'm just sitting there like taking it and processing what he's saying. And he told me he goes up to the top of the Hollywood Hills. There's these trails you can hike. And he said he closes his eyes and he puts his hands out and he goes,
This is a true story, right?
true. He goes, and he's doing this for like 3 seconds. He goes, I give this city my energy and this energy is given to me from the city. And I was like, I'm fucking out. I'm fucking out, man. This dude's lost.
This is 2004.
The plot. 2004, 2005, somewhere in there.
So the pinnacle of Dane.
Peak just before the peak.
Oh.
So peak before the peak, right? And now I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So now I go home and I'm not telling everybody. I tell like 2 of my buddies. I'm like, I had this fucking weird incident with Dane. It was fucking wild. And so I tell 1 or 2 friends. The one friend I told is super tight with Dane, but also fucking loudmouth, right? So he tells everybody. And now everybody's going, oh, Steve Byrne's stealing Dane's essence, right? So it becomes this fucking thing. And now everywhere I go, it's like, don't take my essence. Because comics are ribbing me, like, in a fun way.
Yeah.
And they don't see it, and I don't see it. And
Are you sure they don't see it?
well, I think what it was Dane is so energetic, right? And physical. And I was slightly physical, but not to the degree he was. And I was definitely talking about way different things. He's talking about speak and spell and, all this shit. I'm talking about being Korean and Irish.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 completely different things. And so this went on for a while, and I was basically blocked from going to clubs. Literally 2 days after that conversation, my manager, who was his manager, dropped me. And I go, is this about Dane, Barry? He's like, no, it's got nothing to do with it. I go, fuck you. It's about Dane. Just be man enough to tell me it's about Dane. I don't respect you more. And he didn't. So I didn't have a manager, and I didn't have 2 of the great places to work when you first moved to LA. So it was a tough place to work from, but also it was like, I got a little thick skin from the experience too. It sucks because the biggest comic in the country hates you, right? And he's all over LA and the billboards are up and all everybody's listening to or talking about is Dane Cook and he hates me. And it's like, oh, this fucking sucks. And I just moved here, like maybe 4 months in.
So what's your mindset then at that
My
point?
mindset is like, well, fuck it.
You basically got canceled.
He got canceled by Dane.
You got canceled by Dane.
Man, his shit
But I was like,
funny
I'm
as
going to
hell.
outwork this. I'm going to outwork this moment, this situation, work twice as hard. And I did. And I didn't pay it any mind. And then years later, I was with Vince Vaughn at the Improv and Dane was there. And Dane came over to say hi and sit down at the table. And I'm just sitting there like fucking seething.
Yeah.
Seething like, are you going to fucking say anything?
How long ago was this situation you're talking about right now?
This situation maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
So this is
A lot of time had passed.
Dane has been
over a decade. Or
I
basically a
had
decade.
not seen him for a long time.
Yeah. And did you have any more situations with him since that conversation you had at his house?
No, the only thing that happened was it was happening to Chris D'Elia.
Yeah.
So D'Elia was blowing up now. And then D'Elia and I talked about it. And I was like, Chris, it happened to me. It's happening to you.
So
Don't fucking worry
Dane
about
did the same thing to D'Elia.
it.
said he's
What
stealing the
Dane did
shit.
was worse to D'Elia. So this is what Dane would do.
Dane Cook did the same kind of thing to D'Elia.
But this is what Dane would do to. This is what Dane did to D'Elia.
When was this?
This maybe 5 or 6 years ago, right around the same time.
Yeah.
That I had this talk. So D'Elia is starting to blow up, right? It's his peak before his peak.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is like everybody knows about him, and now something's going to come out that's big. Like Dane's first movie was
Yeah.
going to come out.
Right.
So D'Elia was about to really blow up. So D'Elia's going around making the rounds at the factory and the stuff. And Dane didn't block him, but what he would do is he would find out on the schedule when D'Elia's performing at the Improv. He's got the 8:55 at the Improv. I'm going to show up at 8:40. I'm going to bump him. And he would bump D'Elia and then do 30 minutes before D'Elia. So D'Elia's just sitting there waiting, and he's like, oh, okay, it's fine, I guess. And then he'd go to the Laugh Factory, D'Elia, for his set at 10 o'clock, and then Dane would show up at 9:50 and bump him again and do 30 minutes. So when you do a bump, for example, like a guest set,
Yeah.
you're doing maybe 15 minutes because you don't want to be disrespectful to the show or other comedians. Guys like Chappelle, Rock, like even Chris Rock, he'll come in, he'll do 20 minutes, he's out. Maybe 30. Chappelle's the exception because everybody loves
the thing with
Dave.
Pauly Shore, right?
Who's that?
Chappelle.
Chappelle. I don't know
Well,
if he
he
had a
was
thing.
on for about 30 minutes, something like you're saying, and then one of the comics said something to him, and he like snapped back at him, and I think it was to Pauly Shore.
Oh, it might have been, yeah. But look, Dave's the nicest guy in like one of the nicest guys in comedy. There's no, I've never heard of friction from Dave.
Got you.
But anyways, so Dane would do that to D'Elia, and then it wasn't coincidental. This was happening repeatedly. And so D'Elia was really getting pissed off. But at the same time, it's like, well, what are you going to do about it?
Did Dane and D'Elia have any history, like similar to how
No.
you were kind of with the crew with Dane? So he was just like,
He
hey,
just
you kind of
thought
act like me, so I don't want
This
you.
is the new young guy. And so I'm going to show him, Dane's alpha, right? He's going to beat his chest and show you who's boss. And so Dane would do that. And so I just said, D'Elia, you're blowing up. Now's your time. Just roll with it. Who gives a fuck? He had his time. Yours is now. Just let it roll off your back. And Chris handled it his own way. And he was, I think the way Chris did it was first class, right? But with Vince and I, we were there, we were talking, and Dane's just making small talk the whole time. And I'm like, this motherfucker, are you going to say anything to me? And he didn't say anything. And this went on for 15, 20, 25 minutes ago. Dane, we should have a talk. He goes, okay.
Shit.
So we get up, we walk around the corner. I go, is there anything you'd like to say? He goes, I am sorry. I'm sorry about that. I go, thank you. That's it. Now we can sit back down.
That was it.
That was it. And then we talked for like literally a few more minutes after that. We went down, sat down at the table, and he basically just copped to it, really quickly. And he was like, yeah. And this was just before the D'Elia stuff. I think had I known about the D'Elia stuff at that time, I maybe would have said something, been like, well, why are you doing this? But I'd seen Dane maybe twice since then. And it's always been cordial. The fact is, I respect what Dane did, for sure. Nobody did what he basically put the blueprint for what everybody's doing now. He was the first to go on social media. He was the first to go to algorithms via social media, communicate with his fans, and really immerse himself in that thing. And he blew the fuck up, right? And he's going to Madison Square Garden. That was such a unique thing at the time. Comics didn't do the Garden. You had to be really special to do that. And he did it. And now Sebastian's doing 8 shows, but Dane was kind of like
He
the
started
first
it.
since like Steve Martin or, you know, Eddie Murphy to do something like that. Why he's hated or why he's not revered or why he doesn't have the legacy maybe he deserves is because I think that he always handled himself in a way where he was very isolating. You know, he kept to his own bubble, whereas most comics are pretty cool. You come into the comedy club, it doesn't like Kevin Hart came in last night. Could he be a dick? Could he have a security guard with him? Of course. Could he just shuttle off on his own and not want to be bothered with anybody? He's earned that right? But he comes in, shakes everybody's hands, glad handing. We're all comics, right? We get the grind, and it's great to see everybody catch up. Dane's never been that guy. He just does his own thing. He's a cat. So I think that
Tough. That's a tough
didn't
comment.
help.
Being called a cat.
Yeah.
It didn't help him. It didn't help him.
Well, yeah, I heard on when Joe was talking about Dane, he said that he was stealing jokes as well. He allegedly stole a bit from Louis C.K.
This is why I fucking love comedy. This is why I love comedy. Flash forward 8 years ago, okay? There's a debate between Louis C.K. and Dane Cook about who stole the bit about an itchy asshole.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I have an itchy ass. That was the bit that started this all. And then it became a car thing and something else.
There was a bit. The bit I heard was Dane couldn't wait to have a son because then he can name his son whatever he wants. That's exciting. And he went with the letter F, like he's named his son.
Yeah.
And then I guess Louis C.K. said, "Well, I did the same bit 5 years ago, and it was with the R, like
Sure, yeah.
you know, or maybe it was flips or something like that." And so I think they actually had to sit down. This is me. This is a fan of watching this stuff on YouTube, and you just see things pop up.
Taylor saying fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's two fucking grown millionaires bitching about an itchy asshole joke, which I find hilarious. It's like, you guys are out of your fucking mind.
It's got to be so hard not to steal jokes, though. Like when you were talking about being a golfer, focusing on your game.
Yeah.
When you're around people, you take, like, if we're around each other, I'm taking some from you, you're taking some from me. We're interchanging our energies or whatever you want to call it. I go and do something, a piece of you is coming with me and vice versa.
Yeah.
So like to watch comics like Dane Cook or Louis C.K. and all that, like it's got to be hard not to kind of take somebody's joke, even if it's subconsciously, and moving it around a little bit, having it become yours.
I think when you're really doing this professionally and you're at the stand or the cellar every night and you're doing these showcase shows, which is like 8 comics a show, you know everybody's set. You know, you know what somebody's working on. Even if you're sitting there waiting to go up, you've heard bits, right? So I think you hear things, and especially we're all different little pegs, and you know Mark Norman's voice, you know Robert Kelly's voice, or Rich Ross's voice, or Jim Norton's voice, and so it's rare you have somebody doing something that's verbatim that. And usually when it does happen, comics pretty much squash it pretty quickly. I had something with Burr years, like when I first started. He's like, yeah, go ahead, do it. I don't give a shit, because he knew his version was better, probably.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody has premises that are similar, but your take on the premise should be your own, and it will be different than you know, everybody's got a McDonald's joke or whatever, like in the 80s, right? But it was way different.
Right. With Dane's sorry to cut you off, with Dane, when he started to fall off, do you think him playing the cat to all the other comedians kind of was part of the demise of him falling off from the Hollywood standpoint?
I think it was probably a culmination of a bunch of different things. A bunch of different things. I think he got a generation of kids that loved hearing his take on comedy, right? Which at the time crushed. But if you look back on it now, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little juvenile. It's fun. It's really energetic, but there's no real meat on the bone in terms of, like, if you transcribed it, right? You'd be like, all right, well, how is this funny?
Right.
But like if you transcribe somebody like Louis, it's like, oh my God, it's fucking hilarious, right? And I think he was an introduction into a deeper well of comedy. And so he was exposing a bunch of young people to better comedians. And I don't mean that as an insult or slight to Dane, because what he did fucking great.
Yeah.
I respect Dane. I respect him as a businessman. I respect him as a comic. And I do think he's due for a resurgence. It's up to him, though, to find the material, because people outgrew it. Kind of like you outgrow like a boy band, like young girls. It's like, I like Backstreet. And then they get it into college. It's like, oh, I like, you know, the Beatles now. And I like the intricacies of the melody or whatever. They'll appreciate it. I think Dane was somebody that was good for when you were in high school or college.
Right.
And then you get older. It's like, you want somebody with a little bit more on the plate.
Well, Taylor, that may be the best question you've had Not that like actually best question, but the question that opened up an insane rabbit hole.
I
all
had no
those
idea that was going to
stories
happen with
there.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's
wild.
been years. And look, if I saw Dane, I'd go up to. I have no animosity. I don't carry that negativity.
That's very
with
big
me
of you.
because it's so far. It's so long ago. I personally, actually, this is the last time he talked to me. He said, "Hey, I'm doing a documentary." I go, "Oh, about what?" He goes, "Me." I go, "Fuck, of course."
Yeah.
Fucking, of course you are. So he goes, "Would you be interviewed about that moment in time?" I go, "Look, I'm more than happy to sit down with you, Dane. I'd love to sit down with. I'm gonna tell my side of the story for
Yeah.
sure. I just, after having worked on film on my own, I'd like to know the narrative, the final narrative, because you and I have differing opinions on what actually happened that day. So I'd want my version to be my version, you know?
Yeah.
I haven't heard back from him, but I totally said, give me the paper. I'll sign it right now.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
Haven't heard back from him, but
Yeah.
I mean, that was us. We were the high school and college kids that loved him.
yeah, he was big.
I
He was big
I
for us in
super
like
into him.
middle school and the first couple years
For
of
me,
high school.
yeah, for me it was high school.
Yeah,
I was
you're a
in
year
college,
older
I
than
loved
me.
him. But who do you guys
Middle school,
revere?
maybe it was 8th grade, me ninth
Not even
grade.
middle school. For me, it was even in middle school, and you're a little
he
older.
still
than
had-
me.
Wait, you were in middle school?
Yeah, because I
Because
remember
2004, I was
I
13.
have something on my Apple still that was iTunes. That was like the BK Lounge where he
Dude,
talks
I listened to
about
Retaliation
Yeah.
last
joke
week.
him saying that he has like a job and he doesn't want to sound like a loser working at Burger King. And he's like, I work at the BK Lounge.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so
Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
yeah, so I
He
feel
had
like it
those
had
pretty
to
big
be
hitters.
More of the like 2008 to maybe 10 for me.
You know,
Yeah.
he
Oh,
had,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
he had,
that
he had
stand-up
three.
with the he called
He
it
had
circle,
three
right?
specials. He had three specials. It was "Harmful to Swallow," which was like the one that put him on the map. Retaliation came out in like 2004, which was like his big one, and then his final one was called "Vicious Circle."
No, there was one that he released on Showtime recently that came
Yeah,
out,
did
I
you
think,
hear
2
it?
years ago.
It sounds like the guy. Listen, I am you. By the way, I'm talking. You can totally tell I'm a huge fan of Dane Cook. I love to
course,
stand
yeah.
up.
You knew
He
all
was-
of his little.
He was a huge reason why I like started listening to comedy and stuff like.
You could have him
I was
on
one.
here.
I would love to, but
I'll reach out to him and
sounds like it'd be iffy if you reached out to him. Maybe we should have somebody else do that.
Yeah, that's all I was-
but he is
Dude, it would
starting
be
to
awesome if he came on.
Yeah.
he's starting to get back out there
I
and
saw-
starting to do podcasts
yeah.
again. And I think he's trying to get back out there. And from what I hear and what I'm seeing, I think he's putting forth a genuine effort to make inroads. Like look, I'm not speaking at a school. I mean, Louis C.K. When I was starting off, I was the young guy at the table with a bunch of young comics. He was kind of like cunty to us. He wouldn't.
Yeah.
He was just above it all. And then the shit hit the fan with him, and now he's really cordial and outgoing to all those younger
Took
comics.
you off the pedestal.
And so I was like, well, I'm glad he's so talented. I would have loved to have sat down and talked to him. I remember being in DC, I'm at the cellar all the time, running into him, saying, hey, Louis, and he's at the cellar all the time filming the show. And where I'm in DC, walk along the mall, and he's running. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And he didn't even he just gave me a head pump, and I was like, fuck that dude, man. But I'm glad to see that he kind of recalibrated, and he is cool. There's always a time to do that. I'd love to run into him at some point.
It seems like him and Shane are buddies. They did like a
Oh, yeah,
3-hour, 3-episode thing on presidents.
Yeah.
They
Something
just
like that.
released a really, from what I hear, and the trailer looked intriguing, but I love Joe List. Joe List, if you like comics on Twitter, he's one of the best. He's like a great joke writer for Twitter, but he's also a great comic. He and Louis just did a film called 4th of July that they independently financed and produced, and Louis directed it. And so obviously Louis kind of tainted goods in the industry right now. So he's just doing it on his own. So they're doing like this barnyard tour, kind of going to different cities and screening it and doing Q&As and shows around it. And they're making their money back, which is fucking great. And again, another example we were talking about earlier of comics taking the industry on their own, much like you guys creating your own entertainment hubs,
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see Louis doing that. I think Dane's trying to do that now.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see. I saw some of Dane's stuff before. It's very similar energy, but he's older. So the energy is not as vibrant and it's not as like
And he's also like,
overwhelming.
he's
As-
like bigger. He looks different now.
He,
too.
well, I think he got a lot of work done. He got a lot of work
He got
done.
the
You can
plastic
tell.
surgery.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it.
I'd love to have him. Yeah, I mean, but Louis C.K., the shit hitting the fan with him. Have you heard Pete Davidson's bit on him?
Yeah.
When he was at SNL?
Yeah.
And it kind of goes in line of what you were saying, how he was.
Yeah.
Have you heard the bit?
Mm-mm.
He's talking about how Pete, he was high.
Is
And
this
then
Pete doing the
Pete
stand-up?
Davidson's doing the stand-up. He's
Yeah.
high right after SNL, and Louis C.K. hosted SNL. Pete's walking past him and a group of people go in the elevator, and Louis C.K. is like, "Hey man, you smoking all that weed, you're gonna smoke your life away, you piece of shit!" Like going at him, and he's like, "That didn't happen. I'm too high. There's no way that happened." Well, the next day, Lorne Michaels, who started SNL, calls him and brings him into the office, and he's like, "Hey, like, just people used to do coke here, so like, I don't care if you smoke weed, but just like, kind of don't do it as much, you know." And then I guess like then the whole bit ends up with him saying, "So." One day when I woke up and I heard he was jerking off on people, I was ecstatic. He was like super happy about it. But it just seems like, I don't know, it seems like that's a thing that he had going on. It's cool to see or hear that he's like kind of being cool with everybody now.
Yeah, and I think like if you really take like a macro look at like the world of stand-up comedy after being immersed in it, like a bird's eye perspective, it's like you're seeing this fucking band of misfits, like a bunch of wounded birds. We're not you guys, right? You guys are fucking cool. You're getting laid in high school. Like,
well, I mean, we can be some wounded in some areas. Come on now.
but you
We
know
got
what I mean,
demons.
though?
We got demons.
Like, there's a
But yes, laid in high
psychological
school.
reason. Like, these nerds are going up and telling jokes and doing like public speaking is ranked like worse than death for most people. It's like 70% of people would rather
no, that's true.
die
Which is,
than
yeah,
public
that's
speak,
wild.
which is crazy. And comics glom onto that. So when you hear about like things with Dane or somebody like with drug issues or somebody like going on a violent spree or whatever in the comedy community, my first thought is always empathy and sympathy, because you know these are not like, a lot of them are just not the most mentally stable people, and there's a reason they do stand up at the end of the day. Like I feel fortunate, my folks hug me, and you know, I feel like pretty normal. But some of the folks I'm even friends with, I'm like, holy shit, like I'm here for you if you need anything.
Yeah.
But it's tough. And I'm sure in your industry, it's got to be incredibly hard, because you're like, our minds are our conduit to the audience, but you guys, you're physically, that's the conduit to it all.
Yes, and like there's definitely stuff, like a lot of guys come from a lot of broken situations.
The cool
Sure.
thing about about football is like there's guys that grew up at the top, like, you know, big income households, and there's guys
Yeah.
that grew up food stamps and like everything in
Sure.
between too. Like there's levels of adversity in the NFL that guys have.
Conundrum to take, like you said, like, I mean, how many 30 for 30s are on this, where, you know, broke the whole doc on it, but
I'm
you're taking an
terrified.
18-year-old kid and multi-millionaire. Like
Yeah.
most comics hit when we're like in our 30s or 40s, after you put like
It's like a slow
your
burn.
10,000 hours in Malcolm Gladwell into this. So
Yeah.
you kind of have a little more maturity, but that I can't imagine. I mean, being so immature. That's why, like, when social media scours a young kid for a tweet he did when he was 14, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, Will's got that
That's
coming.
crazy to me. Yeah.
My Daniel Tosh tweets, "Oh, dude, you got any Daniel Tosh stories? Why isn't he like the greatest
I think he,
of all time?"
You are, but he does have some. He is
Doug, I
talented
love
as hell.
Right.
Daniel
And it
Tosh.
was
great
smart.
dude, but I think
Yeah.
Tosh Tuesday hashtag.
he does his own thing. He just
He seems very private. Yeah.
very private, keeps to himself. Super nice. Super. I think he's. Yeah, I think he's a really. It's crazy. He had one of the biggest shows of all time, and then it just kind of like dipped. And I don't hear much about him anymore. I don't even know
No,
if he
me
performs
neither.
anymore.
That kind of just happens to people, right? Like we're like I keep bringing him up. That happened to Dane. Like he just all of a sudden
Yeah.
vanished.
Yeah.
Like,
Some people maybe they get their bag and then they're just
Yeah, is it wrong to think like some people just like get their nut and just don't want to do anything? Not do anything, but don't want to be in.
They don't want to be in the spotlight.
Yeah, they're just
well,
done with
McAfee talks about in his show. Pat McAfee says, "Hey, don't get it twisted. In 10 years, you won't hear from me again."
Yeah, it'll be gone.
Yeah, I don't know about
Sure.
that though.
Fair.
I don't take him for that.
But that's why I love. That's why I like.
Me either.
I respect
I think he's gonna stay around.
Yeah.
Chappelle and Chris Rock so much, and like even like David Spade. There's comics that are working. They're there every night, fucking grinding with the notepad, going up and telling jokes. It's like, you have a mansion in Jersey, Chris Rock. Why are you here?
Because it's in Jersey.
He's gotta get shit back.
Gotta
after
get
Will
that thing in
Smith
LA.
slapped him.
Yeah.
You know.
But he's getting in his car, driving out to the cellar, taking it on the chin with some new jokes, and still doing it. It's like, I really, really respect guys like
Yeah.
that.
Dude, yeah, Chris Rock.
Or maybe they're
Speaking
just
of
not satisfied.
a gold mine. Chris Rock and Will Smith. Like that had to be a
Oh my
comedic
God.
gold mine right there for all y'all.
Every comic had a take on that. But I think I have a different I think Chris Rock took a slap for Ricky Gervais. I think Ricky Gervais doing those Golden Globes, he shit on those people. Shit on them. He wasn't doing it like Carson did it, or Bob Hope did it, or Steve Martin did it, where there's like a communal before those hosts, they were performers as revered as the people they were celebrating or honoring, right? Or nominating. And now you got an outsider who did a show in England that nobody's heard of, and he's coming in and he's being fucking mean. I love Ricky Gervais. I think he's fucking hilarious. But would I personally make fun of Colin Farrell to his face about substance abuse issues? I wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
I don't negate a comic ever. You do whatever you want. I'm always for freedom of speech, 100% with comics. But I think he went over the line multiple times against a community that was sitting there just fucking taking it. They couldn't say anything back. And now you got that moved the yard marker down the line in terms of comedy. Every time you move it down and that becomes a social norm, it's like, oh, now the floodgates go to there. So we can go there now. And so you got Chris Rock going there to a minimal degree, and then him just going up and fucking cracking him. Which I think is fucking nuts.
That shit was hilarious.
Fucking nuts.
That was wild. And then wild, the whole string of events, how Will Smith is smiling and laughing, and then he looks at his wife, and he's like, got to do
Everyone's
something.
trying to figure out, was that stage? Was that fake? Was he in on it? All right, we are taking a break to shout out Georgia Boot, the greatest boots in the world of all times ever created. They're the best. Georgia Boot makes super good looking and super comfortable boots. So comfortable, you never want to take these boys off. These boots hold up in any condition, rain, sleet, snow, all of it, without sacrificing comfort or style. Think comfort technology of an athletic shoe, light athletic shoe, packed into a great looking, phenomenal boot. Whether you're working on your feet all day, working around the house, grilling out with your friends, going to the ball game like I did, rocking these bad boys on my feet, these boots don't sacrifice anything. Head over to georgiaboot.com, use code BUSSIN for a generous 20% off. They've been doing this since day one with the boys. 20% off, use code BUSSIN, georgiaboot.com. Buy them right now, put them on your feet right when you get them out of the box. Back to the episode, boys.
So is Will Smith done, you think?
No, I don't think so. I think it's one of those things where the entertainment cycle moves so quick now. I think he'll be back. I think he's going to lay low for a bit. But my thought was always, can you imagine working on the film G.I. Jane, and then 25 years later, finally your film is mentioned at the Oscars? It's like, now this is how it's fucking
no doubt.
But I love
I Am
Chris
Legend
Rock, and I
prequel.
think you saw every comic band up behind him. I think he's like one of my top 5 of all time for sure. And I can't wait to hear. Eventually, he'll address it, and it'll be fucking brilliant. I know it will.
Yeah.
We could obviously talk to you all day long, but I definitely want you, like, one of your boys is Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
So
Tell him, kid.
we need some Vince Vaughn. So you think Vince Vaughn would come on the bus?
I'll
that's a
definitely
hard no.
talk to him. I think I honestly think he'd probably be game.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I had a great experience, and I really enjoy your company, and then getting to meet you and getting to know you. I really enjoy you guys. I think, again, about the vibes. He's about the vibes, and I think if I told him, hey man, it's a fucking great thing.
You'd say, hey,
I'm
they're pro
trying to-
vibes.
They're pro vibes.
They're
and
pro
he's
vibes, yeah. I'm
he's
trying
our
to
money
get him out
baby.
here, but
Yeah,
a
get
lot
right
of
in
his, one of his best pals, our good buddy Derek West, won national title at Colorado, and through Derek, Vince is the biggest football fan. He loves football. He loves college football. His dog's name is Buckeye. But if I were to give you a,
Disgusting.
That's tough.
oh sorry, yeah.
Sorry, what it is.
But if I were to
Great
give you
pod. Make for a great pod.
a good story, I'll tell you. I grew up, Swingers came out when I was in college, and I love the NHL when they were playing Sega NHL, and he's making him bleed and all that stuff, and it's fucking hilarious. It's one of my favorite scenes, right? So Vince moves back to Chicago after living in Los Angeles, and I was touring so much, I would go and just stay with him at the Palm Olive building in Chicago, which is the old Playboy offices. So it's the top 2 floors. It's a fucking beautiful building.
Nice.
And he has this, I was visiting him so much, he's like, why don't you just move to Chicago? I was like, yeah, I'll just move to Chicago. So my wife and I moved to Chicago, and
What's your wife think when you came home? Hey, honey,
yeah,
going to Chicago.
we're going to Chicago. She was fine with it. So we stay with Vince for like 2 months until we find a place. And Vince has this gorgeous movie theater, and our wives would go to bed, and we would just stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning playing NHL on the PlayStation.
God, I love that.
And so here's the thing: when you're watching that movie, it's fucking hilarious, right? When you're losing NHL to Vince Vaughn, and he's saying all those things, but like clever lines. it makes you want to jump out the fucking window. You're like, shut the fuck up. And he's like, no, I'll teach you. Seriously. I'll after this game, I'll teach you how to do the things I'm doing because it looks like you need a teacher.
Yeah.
And just like shitty things like that. And when you're on the outside, I'm sure it's fucking hilarious. But when you're getting pounded, it's the fucking worst. He's fun but competitive. And in Chicago, there's this thing called whirly ball. You guys ever heard of it?
Mm.
It's the best. It's this magnetized basketball court. You get in bumper cars and you get like lacrosse sticks and you pass a ball to each other and the net is vertical. So you got to hit this netting and it bounces in the net and it comes out and it releases, it sounds off the score, right? And there's a bar there, you're drinking. It's the funnest thing you could ever do. So I got married. We went there the day after my wedding. Me, Vince, all our buddies, a lot of the Blackhawks. We're playing at 11 o'clock. They were playing at midnight. And my team beat Vince's team.
Mm.
So Vince's like, we got to go again. Best out of 7. We got to go again.
Best out of 7.
It's fucking, now it's like 3 in the morning.
Is it right
That's
here?
it right there. Yeah. That's it.
And you have to hit that big black
You
thing.
got to hit that black thing and you're going around
fucking
and you
awesome.
can wind up, you can crank somebody. It's fucking fun. Okay. So I win 2 best out of 7s,
Mhm.
my team.
14 games.
He's not happy. It's now 3:45 in the morning. He's like, we got to go another best of 7. I go, dude, my fucking honeymoon, I'm leaving at 6. It's 3:45. I got to go. He's like, best out of 3. I go, oh, fine. Best out of 3. We do best out of 3. I got home. My wife is on the couch. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, what? She's like, we're going to be late for the fucking flight. So I almost missed my honeymoon flight
that would've
because
been
Vince
bad.
Vaughn wanted to play best out
God,
of 3
what a-
in whirly ball.
Dude, that game looks unbelievable.
That game does look
It's the
unreal.
We got to do a Bussin Spring Tour at Northwestern just so we can go do that.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'll tell you, he's
Oh, that is rad.
Seems
You know,
like we-
you
seems
know
like
what's
we
playing
gotta-
this? Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah, that boy will be
Yeah,
out there
look at-
fucking
Look at Gary. He's back there. He's back there
fucking
kind
twirling
of like,
that shit,
he's back
dude.
there moving his foot
We
like,
would
yeah,
take
I would
those
fucking
rackets
murder everybody.
and we throw them at each other. Like if you had the ball, I would fucking zing it and I try to hit your hand. I mean, guys were getting cut and bruised and shit. My one
No
friend cut
shit.
his nipple.
How heavy? Cut his nipple.
Nice.
How big is the ball? It's like a little cross ball.
It's like a wiffle ball almost. But
I
those
think they have like the actual or the paddles and the ball is like a beach toy. that you
yeah,
see a
it's called
lot.
trackball is what it's called.
Okay.
But it's so fucking fun.
Just backing it up, reversing,
And
moving
you can
forward.
you can get a little speed and you can drill somebody.
Rip around, huh?
Yeah.
How fast does little carts
Bumper
go?
cars, dude.
That's what you're talking about? You're talking
Yeah.
about the ball.
The ball, no, the ball you can zing. Yeah, you get hit with that ball. It's kind of like a hardened like little plastic ball.
Yeah.
It'll ding you up. but
It'll stay.
yeah, it'll sting. Yeah.
Ah, whoa, that was tough.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, well, that was a little much.
why? We're friends.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, that'd be sick, dude. If he came on, I'll tell you what, that'd be fucking pretty all time. As
I'm
far
sure
as-
I'll talk to him next
Is
Thursday.
Vince? Did he ever do stand up comedy?
No, but I'll tell you this: if I have one friend that could go up on stage right now and just do it, it's him. His SNL monologue, he didn't
Mm.
do a monologue. He did crowd work.
Really?
It was, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, he did it. And I said, what are you going to do for the monologue? He's like, I don't know. I'll just
So
do it."
when you do SNL, they don't help you write your monologue. You do your own
They do,
monologue.
yeah, they do. But I think Vince said, I'll just wing it. And you see him and he's talking to the crowd. He's the fastest human being I've ever seen in terms of matriculating and getting to a punchline so quick. And not only that, but hilarious.
Mhm.
The other day I was talking to him and I go, I told him something. He goes, oh my God, if I was a lawnmower, you just pulled my cord. And I was like, I got to write that. Like, you know how long that would take me to come up with that? That's
Yeah.
fucking great. And he's just being sarcastic and shitty, but he is the funnest best friend a guy could ever want. Like literally, I say that all the time to my wife, and that's the way I describe him. The way you see him in the films, that's him. Like when you're watching
Fucking awesome.
That's what you
old
hope.
school.
That's what you hope too, because
Yeah,
you say
yeah.
don't meet your heroes. I'm not
Oh,
saying
no, no,
Vince.
no,
I'm not
yeah.
saying I have a mural of Vince in my room, but I'm saying when you watch the movies,
Yeah.
you sit there and there's a smile on your face the entire
I've
time.
had
whole
so
time.
many
To meet
friends-
him
Yeah.
and him be like, treat you off. What a dagger in the heart that would be. What an absolute dagger.
No,
That'd
no,
be tough.
he's
For sure. I want to
No.
hang out with him so
Saw him
bad.
at a Predators Blackhawks game,
yeah.
and I was with a guy who is one of the people at CA, and he's like, "Do you want to meet him?" And there's a whole bunch of people clamoring to get to him, and I was like, "I just don't think he wants that right now." But I admired from afar.
Oh, the minute he found out if you guys play football, you're off to the races. I mean, he loves.
Probably
the
enjoying
sport.
knowing
It's
that
the biggest
Taylor's
thing.
He's
a
an Ohio
Michigan
State
guy.
fan. I thought
Big
he-
Ohio State
Notre
fan.
Dame?
He's a big Notre Dame fan. He goes to I think at least
That's an odd combination.
yeah.
Be a great duel it out.
Notre
Let's
Dame.
find
I
out.
know you want to throw your sword in.
I
in
do
the
want to
ring.
throw my
Yeah,
sword
like,
in. Well, you know, I know what you're
I
talking
know,
about, and I
like,
want
he's
it.
sitting there explaining it. I'm sitting there just thinking, like, man, I know Taylor wants to like just kind of.
It's
We
Notre
want to feel the
Dame
waters.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of Rudy. That's
Huh?
why he's a Notre Dame. 'Cause of
Yeah.
Rudy, and then Ohio State
That's right,
because
Which
he's
is
a
an
Notre
overrated sports movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
so?
Well-
Yeah, it is a little bit.
Really?
This stuff. It's
Why
tough one.
do you think so?
It's just, you know. I mean, I also think like Remember the Titans is touch
Buddy,
overrated,
yeah,
but here
you-
I go, and I'll finish when I'm done talking. You can go too. I think Remember the Titans is overrated because it's so everyone thinks it's the greatest.
Yeah.
And it's a really good movie, but it's been so overplayed now. It's like we can move on.
Sure.
I'm not a hater.
I've never seen a ratio as bad as that tweet.
But what is ratio?
We'll trust
So
me.
when we do tier talk, which we're doing today, which is going to be best
No,
condom,
it's best sitcoms. We went over this. Literally went over this.
We were doing best condiments.
and just like that, Jack's fine.
Okay,
That-
If it goes, it'd be great for Steve to do best sitcom since he's a comedian.
Instead of condiments.
That was JP. Shout out the boy.
Hey, okay, so
Okay.
what was I saying? Will, help me out.
This motherfucker,
okay.
Rocky.
So do you our tier talks where we like say like this is the best, whatever, this is the second best, this is the third best, our opinions.
Sure.
We usually pick one for each. Will said the entire Rocky series is his tier one for inspirational sport or best sports movies.
All of them?
All of them.
They're
It's just crazy.
Rocky?
It's
It was-
crazy.
it was- one where he
it was-
fights-
7
it
movies
was
ago,
Rocky-
those
it was
ones are
Rocky-
my
it was
tier
Rocky
one.
1 through 3.
You weren't here to police Will.
That shit, you let him just ride, didn't you?
wasn't
What was
meant
it?
to
And
me,
he
that's
put
just
2
like a
football
funny
movies
thing.
in
Like,
too. He
obviously
put
people think-
he
to
put
me, Rocky
was
1 is the
Friday
best.
Night Lights, which is a
Phenomenal.
worse version than Remember the Titans. You know, I'm just, and I talked to Will on the phone. He's not gonna. I'm not sure he'll give in, but he did say if he redid it, he'd probably think about taking Friday Night Lights out.
Yeah, I would think about switching Friday Night Lights, but that doesn't mean I don't love the movie.
It's a great movie. It's a little overrated, but
I think it's
yeah.
a great movie.
Football movies in general, besides Varsity Blues.
Radio.
Varsity Blues, awesome movie.
Varsity Blues. Hey, JP looking back like, well, what's so funny?
Noted. Laughing especially.
Bro,
Miracle.
I'd rather have Mystery Alaska than Miracle.
No, what?
Yes. Miracle is unbelievable, but I love
love
Mystery Alaska. The small town vibes.
hang on,
the
hang on.
Rangers come in to play
Yeah.
them, and they tell who's the singer who does the national anthem.
For what?
For Mystery Alaska, and they're playing outside in like the dead of winter in Alaska, and they tell him, "Hey, sing the national anthem real slow."
Yeah.
And all the Rangers guys are fucking freezing, and all the dudes from Alaska are just totally fine.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic movie. The scene when they're in the
Hang on, though. We can agree that Rocky is a phenomenal fucking
phenomenal
Beyond.
film.
Have you seen Rocky?
I've seen one,
You
and
never saw it?
and I saw the last one.
I
that came
was.
out.
I think what I was.
I know I'm
I think what I was,
mid or whatever the fuck the kids are saying nowadays when it comes to that.
hang on.
Yeah.
What I
gotta
was
see them.
most nervous about is you struck me for somebody who hadn't seen them all. So
It doesn't matter if you've seen them all or not. You shouldn't have 7 movies or 3 movies in your tier one.
oh, absolutely.
If Rocky
I think I
1
was
through
just-
3 is your tier 1, then Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, or however you want to order them.
Rocky 1, Rocky 3, Rocky 2.
Okay, then that would be your tiers.
Yeah, I understand.
And if
though.
that's the case,
I
you're getting
under- I
dummied. You're getting fucking dummied
I
then.
understand the game. If I'm actually doing the tier talk, it's Rocky 1, Remember the Titans, Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
But you could switch out a Friday Night Lights, like, you could think of a fun one like Waterboy, Happy Gilmore.
Remember the Titans
yeah.
is like a
Varsity
movie about
Blues.
inequality that involves football.
Dude, Remember the Titans is a fucking awesome
It's a-
movie.
it's a good film.
Single-handedly cured racism.
I'm pretty sure it's. Don't. Hey, we got to keep this thing going. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get canceled. We got to keep this thing going.
But dude, Remember the Titans is an awesome movie. It really is. Like, there's a reason it is overplayed. It is extremely popular. It's
Yeah.
because it's one of the best sports movies of all time. And
It
for you
didn't
to
get my
say-
butterflies going like Goon. Go watch Goon.
Dude, Goon is
Again.
not the most inspirational sports movie in my
I
opinion.
already explained why it is. I got goosebumps. And also, the thing about Tier Talk is it's literally opinions, dude. Whether how right or wrong they are, we have opinions.
I get that, but to legitimately say it is my most, I think here's what you should say. It is my most inspiring sports movie. I don't think it is the most inspiring sports movie. Like if you're actually trying to put it in there and list, because then you have to take into consideration everybody else.
I mean, Rocky is the most realistic, I think, in terms of like, he establishes from the get-go you're in a shitty situation. He's boxing in a church, right?
Right, and he's
Yeah,
an
the visual
enforcer for a mob
Christ,
taking
yeah.
money.
By the way, lines
With a big heart.
Yeah.
With a big heart too, which is nice.
I
Just
just
like
want to know if I can go the distance. That's all he wants to know. If he and then you set that theme. It's proved at the end. But then you have a film done in the 70s where the mobster comes up to Rocky, sitting in the car, going, "Hey, yo, Rock, I heard you're dating a retard. Why don't you take her to the zoo? I heard retards like zoos." It's like, what the fuck? Like, that is crazy. Like, with the optics of today, looking back on that, like even Slapshot, again, filmed in the 70s. Paul Newman walks into that dive bar in Johnson, Pennsylvania, and the guy who's the grizzled veteran pitcher in Major League is sitting at the bar, chain smoking, watching a soap opera. And on the soap opera, the woman is breaking up with the guy. And Paul Newman just taps him on the shoulder. And he's just staring at the screen and goes, "What a fucking cunt." It's like, that is fucking insane. Like, that was in a movie. Like,
dude,
like
those
looking
movies
back
are
on that
so
shit,
funny.
you could never do that today.
so funny.
I'll
God.
get canceled for that because
Yeah.
I'm quoting a
When
movie.
you said R, you said R, and then you said it twice.
You're gonna go to the top.
Yeah, you said R.
What
Can't
do you
say R.
quoted a movie?
Who's the comedian? I think I said Ralphie May. Is that the dude? He's a white dude, right? Big, heavy white guy.
Yeah, he was my favorite black female comic
Black female comic.
because he had this high pitched voice.
Dude, I was listening to some of his stuff, and he says the N word, and he says
Yeah,
what I'm not going to start into what you were saying.
Taylor.
Right? Yeah. His shit is so like shock value funny. He has this whole thing about going to black movie theaters, how he loves black movie theaters, and he loves watching the previews, and he just loves listening to black people in the back. Like the black girl's like, "Oh, I'm not ever going Northland. You can't catch me going Northland out there with them shocks." Like, and he looks, dude, he had a whole funny deal about that. His shit is so funny. And he's got a whole bit about
comic. Lived here in Nashville. He was one of the first I knew that kind of moved here. Him and Madigan. Obviously Nate's from here or whatever. But yeah, great comic.
why is everybody moving here?
I moved here because I got sick. I got sick of the politics, and I got sick of California taking advantage of its the people that live there. You know,
Big Trump guy.
you're paying MAGA. No, it's hyper politicized over there, and you're going up into the Hollywood Hills off of Gower, off the 101, and it's tent city. People like movie stars live up in the hills, and you're going up Gower, and they set up wash stations and all this other stuff, and it's just like Hollywood's not the city I moved to when I first moved there. It's awful, and then especially when you're raising kids there, my property tax is what I pay. Now I can't send my kids to public school because they're shit. So I got to go to private school, and to get into the private school, you got to sign up for a lottery, and you hope you get in there. And then if you get in, you're paying college tuition for your kids to fucking crayons and an app. It's fucking crazy.
That's a tough deal. LA seems like a tough area. Now San Diego,
Beautiful.
I mess with San Diego now.
There's a lot of beautiful parts in California.
Encinitas, yeah. Carmel.
Shall we do Tier Talk?
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
This last question with Steve Byrne is brought to you by Roback, the Roback question. Use code BOYS, BOYS, on Roback.com for 20% off your first purchase. That's RHOBACK.com, code BOYS. They work with the best college athletes around and have the best performance polos, shorts, Q-zips, and hoodies. It's all that we wear. And for our guest today, we will be gifting Steve Byrne a Roback performance hoodie on us.
What's your vibe on SNL? Like how the dynamics changed? Because I feel like SNL used to be, and this is me shooting from the hip. I really don't know what I'm talking about, but SNL seemed like a place where like comedians would. If you want to get into show business, that's where you go. That's where you
Great
started.
launching pad, yeah.
Yeah, huge launching pad. Like Will Ferrell, Farley, Rock, all those guys were ripping in there. Belushi, and now with all these things we've talked about, how everyone has a podcast, there's YouTube, there's so many different ways to get yourself out there. Has that taken away from SNL a little bit, you think?
I think SNL will always be like a beacon of communal entertainment, right? There's so few things that are communal these days. Sports, thank God, communal. News, a big election is communal. SNL still is somewhat relevant in being communal, where people share the clips and stuff. I think my big issue with SNL is that they went from character-driven to premise-driven. And so characters were the sketches. Now it's all based on a funny premise. Wouldn't it be funny if this happened in this situation? Now the characters got truncated into Weekend Update. So Jost is just handing the ball to a character where the characters, before the whole sketch was built around the character. I miss that. I miss
Yeah.
Church Lady. I miss all those things
Yeah.
that I grew
What
up
is the B gangsters or whatever they were from it was Belushi and was it Chevy Chase was in that? I don't know.
Belushi, Dan
Anyway.
Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Belushi was the B. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it
all the
did-
great characters. Now,
And they would just bring people back over and over and over again. The Pepper Boy, all that stuff.
yeah.
That was awesome.
I mean, Target Lady with Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
I fucking love those sketches. And the Californians, right?
Mm.
The Californians, I don't know if that sketch would exist today because they'd be, doing a sidebar and update, which that to me is when the show pivoted. Because for decades, it was character driven. And so now, even like thinking like Shane was on SNL, it's like, well, what character would he be doing?
Mhm.
Like he doesn't even do impressions. Like, what would he be doing? But again, that's why, because it's premise driven.
Yeah. The what about Mad TV? Was there ever
I loved, I think Will Sasso is one of the most talented.
Dude,
He's
Will
so
Sasso
fucking
is
funny.
so fucking funny. I didn't
I
even
love
know
him.
Will Sasso from Mad TV. I knew Will Sasso from fucking Vine, and Instagram.
yes. But he was dude on Mad TV is so funny. Who was it? Michael McDonald? Was that his name?
McDonald was on
Who
there,
did
Stewart.
Stewart? Bro,
Callan
that
did the
Stewart
Pool
bit was
Boy.
so funny.
Oh, great. Bobby Lee, who I'm friends, I'm not speaking at a school when I tell you this story. He's
That's a-
fucking crazy.
That's a zipline. That's a zipline phrase for you. You love it. I'm not
Yeah,
speaking
I
out of
kinda
school,
like it.
dude.
I'm not speaking
You know
out
what I'm
of school
saying?
when I
That
say
Woody, the Woody doll, you pull the line. There's a snake in my boot. Yours would be. I'm not speaking out of school here. You know?
Well, Bobby and I have a very complicated relationship. It's a love and hate relationship, but I love him, right?
Yeah.
Is there like a competition going on?
No,
Because
not at
of-
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't say it.
Yeah.
I toured with Ken Jeong, Bobby Lee, and Kevin Shea. We did this Kim's a Comedy tour.
Yeah.
We're in San Francisco.
Kim's of comedy.
Kim's of
God
Comedy.
damn it, dude.
Ken Jeong and Bobby Lee had a rivalry.
Mm.
Okay. So Bobby was always the big dog, right? He's on Mad TV. Everybody knows him. I just had a Comedy Central thing. Ken had just been like 3 lines on The Office, and Ken's trying to break in, right?
Mm.
So now we're doing Kim's a Comedy. We're touring. Ken's in a hangover. Blows the fuck up. And now the pendulum has swung to Ken's side. Now Ken's calling the shots, right? So Ken and Bobby are in San Francisco. The line is outside the door, sold out. It's fucking packed. It's going to be fun. They're fucking screaming at each other. Ken's pissed off, bringing up this thing from years ago. Bobby's going back at him because Bobby's a fucking weasel.
Yeah.
And they're just screaming at each other. And Kevin Shea taps me. He's like, dude, you might want to fucking break this up. And I'm like, I'm going to let them go because this will be the cutest fight I've ever seen in my life. It's like a baby puppy and like a Manchi-Chi
Yeah.
wrestling. They're both 5'3",
Yeah.
tiny little human beings. But Bobby, when he was on Mad TV, he was telling me the story about this girl just got hired at Mad TV. And so she's filling out paperwork. And Bobby thinks it would be funny and a good idea to pull up a chair behind her quietly as she's working, tap her on the shoulder, and as she turns around, his ass is in her fucking face and he farts in her face.
Bobby did that?
Dear God.
Farts in it. She's literally filling out
Worse
like a
than I thought.
W-9, you know?
Yeah.
And she farts in the face and Bobby's like, hey, welcome. She's like, get the fuck away from me.
No
dude."
shit.
So flash forward, like lunchtime, Bobby's on the phone with the president of Fox Network and lawyers going, what happened? And Bobby's like, okay, well,
Oh my God. Dude, that show is so funny. He's
oh my God. But I always loved Bobby on Mad TV and he had me on their like 300th episode or something. They had stand up on it.
mm.
And so Bobby said, I know a great comic and he got me on it. So it was a pretty cool
Why did that
honor.
show end? What happened there?
I think because it's on Fox and they didn't have the consistency with it,
Mm.
and they never really pushed it either. And it was different. It was very sketch heavy, as opposed to like doing something like Update where you had a chance to take a breather and get to know some of the performers. It was just sketch to sketch to sketch. So there was no like, I guess, investment in meeting the character role players because, when you had, and plus you never had like the guest there. Through the guest, you got to meet, people during their monologues.
Mhm.
So the players would come out and run the monologues with them. So you get to know them a bit more too. Mad TV was just sketches. That's it.
Yeah.
And they didn't have musical guests that often either to give you incentive to bring in a different broad audience as well. But I always liked it. But for me, SNL is still, I still revere it.
Yeah. That's
Speaking of like an SNL vibe or a late night show vibe, that's what you're building. your premise off for your
Yeah.
show that's coming up in a few months.
Yeah, when I film this hour special, because you guys know there's so many these days, and it's just somebody in front of a curtain for 60 minutes pontificating.
It's going to be
great.
called
It's called The Last Late Night, and it's an homage to the late night talk show format. So I thought everybody's doing an hour, do it a little differently. What can you do different in the space that's unique, and you're not breaking the mold, but it's still there? So the most, to me, like something really digestible is the late night talk show. If you really think about it, it's 3 styles of writing. You come out with a monologue. So those are kind of like fun one-liners, right? And they're usually topical. So you do that for 20 minutes. Then you go to panel. When you go to on Colbert or Jimmy Fallon, you sit on the couch. He's behind the desk. And the producers say, okay, give us some stories. So it's really just storytelling. So that's 20 minutes. Then you go to the third act, which is traditional stand-up next to the band. So you do another 20 minutes there. So the set is going to look like a talk show. I'll have a band. Everything will feel like a talk show. The intro will feel like a talk show. And even the presentation of the material will be under the umbrella and 3-act structure of a talk show. I've never seen anything like it before. And I was like, that's it. Because I saw Neil Brennan's 3 mics, and he just has 3 styles of comedy that he's bouncing between. I had seen a comic do that with 2 mics years ago on the MTV half-hour comedy hour that was on in like the 90s. But I like Neil's concept, but this is certainly absolutely more visual. And my material is driven towards those things. But it all ties together at the end, too, because there's a message behind it of like the state of political correctness and woke and cancel culture and everything. Just as a comic, trying to do my part along with Andrew Schultz and Rogan and Chappelle and Shane Gillis and all these comics to push it back to go, this shit's getting out of fucking control. All of it. So
is there a guest element? Like, especially that, like the act too?
It'll just be me.
You need somebody.
So
We're open.
yeah, it's Saturday, August 27th.
This is open.
Yeah.
Franklin
Yeah.
Theater, you can get tickets. There's a few tickets left, and it's filmed right here in Nashville, so it'll be cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
We going to get tickets?
Yeah, I'll get you guys to. And my buddy Joe Gatto from Jokers, he's going to direct it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
he'll
nice.
direct the special, which would be cool.
That show's so fun.
Is there a goal in mind with it? Like, are you trying to become a late night talk show
No,
type
He's
of
be
guy?
an outstanding late night
I
guy.
think
I
that
mean, he's
format's
got a
dead.
vibe where you can
He's
just
a-
hang out.
You
with
can
him
kind
and
of
you
riff.
kinda
Yeah,
do
you
a
kind
little
of
bit
sit
of
there.
everything.
Like that's the whole point of a late night. You're sitting with your buddy and you're
Yeah.
you're
Look
just
at how
talking.
he's sitting.
Look at you.
I met
That's how you should
myself
sit
at
in your
home,
chair
yeah.
too.
I'm going to trim my pubes here in a second.
There-
Clip my toenails. No, I think the format's kind of antiquated, you know? In the 70s and 80s, the variety show was popular. And in the 80s and 90s, that became antiquated. And I think what's happening now with late night talk shows, the relevance of seeing your favorite film stars, peel back the curtain, get to know them and hear a story about it, it's all gone. Like the reverence of it is done because now it's all on your phone. Like somebody from Rotten Tomatoes is talking about Top Gun 2 and they'll get a soundbite of Tom Cruise talking about it. Like you get people that kind of reinvent it, like James Corden with the late night karaoke stuff. That was kind of cool.
He's cool.
But you're still watching it online.
They do skits too, and they play games, Two Truths and a Lie with Jimmy Fallon and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
He does some fun stuff. I think
I'd like
he's-
Jimmy.
Yeah.
I think he does a great job.
He's a great host.
Yeah.
He understands it. Sometimes you get, I don't know, like there's certain hosts that I think more the attention is towards them or they can't wait to make a
Right,
joke
right,
or
right.
whatever. That's why,
Like, it's kind of centric around them.
yeah. That's why I always thought Carson was the greatest because it didn't matter who got the laugh as long as the show got the laugh.
Yeah,
in
as
it.
long as we're all
Yeah,
laughing.
Yeah, he was
Pro
the best.
vibes.
Yeah,
Pro-
pro vibes. That's
Pro
it.
vibes, man.
Future, I feel a future hat or T-shirt coming with that.
Ooh, pro vibes.
Pro vibes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Garrett, write that down.
Shall we do tier talk?
Tier talk.
I know this has been a long episode. It's been
Yeah,
fucking
sorry,
awesome,
guys.
by the way.
No,
And
you're
I
fine.
apologize to like your listeners. It's like, oh, it's a comedian. It's gonna be fucking fun. And it's like it got a lot more serious. But I sorry about that.
I think people
Now,
will
do you
appreciate
feel
that.
like being a comedian, you have to be funny all the time?
There's times where like, yeah, you feel like I should chime in here. And even when I'm talking, it's like, oh, I could do this Trump bit, I could do this bit, or I could improv. But like with you guys, it just feels comfortable. So it's been nice. And I think as long as
shall we
it's,
get a three-way then?
as long as it's interesting, I hope the
Taylor
conversation
reach
is
across.
interesting. Right?
Steve reach across.
There you go. Trifecta.
Yeah.
This is it's a homie bus.
Pro
We make-
vibes.
yeah, Oh,
All right.
yeah,
so,
tier talk. Do you know the premise of tier talk? We kind of explained it earlier.
Yeah.
And we're
All
doing,
So tier talk, tiers 1 through 3. Obviously, your top 3. We obviously were arguing about it earlier with the sports movies, but
Yeah.
you will start with your tier 3 and build up.
This is a good way to get roasted on the
You can
internet.
choose. Have you seen any of the clips on Instagram or Twitter where you can go follow us at Bussin WTV?
You said you did.
I didn't see the tier talks per se. No. So yeah.
So usually you
They're on
can
every week.
say them, but it's usually better if you give some context as to why you're choosing them.
And do you follow Bussin' with the Boys?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, good.
On Instagram. Yeah.
Just making sure.
Love that.
That's huge.
Tier 3.
So you're gonna go first. I know it's tough.
I can pick from
You
this.
can pick whatever you want. This is more like a guideline.
Yeah, it's more like a guideline.
Okay. So
Hey, you've got my tier 1 on here though, which is gonna get roasted.
Hey, never mind.
tier.
Well, go ahead.
No. Never mind. I had a question, but it's already on there. So
I go
I'm
3, 2, 1. Right. Do
Yeah.
I do it in order, or do we go 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2?
No, you do an order.
that could be fun. Could be a
You
fun
wanna do
change.
that? You wanna change it
When I
up?
was telling the boys, CJ was on. He goes, since I'm sitting in Taylor's seat, I want to go last. I was like, it's funny you brought that up because I was actually going to try and make an argument and say I have earned the right to go last since the scoreboard is. I think
Keeping score?
I think we can agree.
You have more followers than me now, homie. You got
Yeah,
that.
but
My
you-
boy got his followings up, dude.
Yeah?
It's been a good glow up year for Willie.
That's great.
Piece of
I
shit.
appreciate like trying to take the comment. I appreciate that. And right before I say it, you piece of
But
shit.
no, the line's been drawn, and so I will go last.
You want me to start?
You started. You go 3,
I go 3.
and then one of you guys go. I'll go. Taylor can go.
Damn, we're doing 3, 3, 3, 3, 3.
Yeah, I think that would be a
Okay.
fun little element.
Okay.
Okay. My tier 3 is Martin.
While really trying to get the black
Someone-
community right out
Someone's
of the
age is
gate.
showing. Someone's age is
I
showing.
fucking love Martin Lawrence back in the day. Oh my god, that show.
I've seen it. Come on now. I had college
Yeah,
roommates
they got
were
that
black.
mic back there. They're fucking loving it.
You guys never watched Martin?
I mean, we've seen Martin.
Yeah. No,
God,
all
he's
my
so
college roommates,
physical and animated. Like I
it was
love that
about
show 'cause
Martin.
in anybody else's hands, they would play that straight.
Mm.
He's physically giving every line and over. He's like almost like a black Jim Carrey. Like everything is so much more accentuated. I fucking love it. He just threw every ounce of his body and soul into that show, and everybody else is just pedestrian in it and grounding it.
God, I'll tell you, the way you explained that just now kind of fired me up.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love that show.
I love like the view you have on this stuff that we wouldn't have because you've been living it. You know, like he threw his body into it. He was so eccentric. Everyone was just there to support him while he did it. I'm like, yeah, shit was funny. You know, you don't really.
He reads and writes and does all the storytelling.
Yeah.
Very well spoken.
Very well spoken. A lot of big words I got to Google later. A lot of big words.
Okay. Who's gonna
All
go
right.
from the back?
Well, he's in Boston seat, so only feels right.
So this is your tier 1.
Okay, my tier 1.
They each do their tier 1, and this will be their 3.
Should we just
Wait, what? So they all get it?
They
just do our
each
one.
give their favorite one, and that is their 1, 2, 3.
Got you. So JP's the first. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my tier 1 is, we mentioned him earlier.
Are
on the
you going
podcast.
tier 1 or the tier 3 too?
Huh?
Tier 1 or tier
So
3?
This is their tier 3, so please say
their
my tier
collective
3.
is going to be.
Got it. Sorry.
Wait, no.
No.
You're gonna say tier 2 or tier 1.
But that
What
don't
is
make no
gonna be
sense.
on the graph is gonna be. You
Do
can
we
agree-
let everybody have their own tiers?
Maybe we just leave it up there.
The chart would be way too like small and too many graph things going on. I think
how about
4 is
this?
the max.
They give their tier 3s, and us as a group picks the best one out of it that makes it on the graph.
Ooh,
Oh.
one element.
You like that, right?
I love elements. Yes.
Yes. Elements and vibes, baby. Look at you. Let's go. Hey, this one, if that's on your tier list, you're a piece of shit.
Oh no!
Which one?
Or Ted Lasso.
That second from the bottom.
I mean, it is like that, but there's only been 2 seasons.
I know. Yeah, you're right, and that's a lot of recency bias going into.
A lot of recency bias.
Phenomenal.
Because I can name 3 that's like.
There's 2 seasons, right?
I think there's 2 seasons. The third one coming out soon, right? And it's a fire show,
Gosh,
but
it
it's
is so
so
good.
premature.
I agree.
It's so premature.
I agree.
Appreciate that, Jack.
Hey, dude? We cannot let Jack be like.
Bro, he's owning us right now.
the judicial.
He's a
system.
teenager,
Yeah.
dude. He's just
He goes.
he don't listen no
"I
more.
agree."
That's good, Taylor. Good job. You're developing.
Go the right.
All right, so JP, give us your tier 3.
My tier 3 is The Office. And I was late to The Office. I was always a hater of it. Like, this is kind of, this is mid.
Yeah.
And they're like, just watch it.
This
And I
shit is
started
fire.
watching it. You know the characters. It's like, all right, this is solid. So my tier 3 is The Office.
Jackie, tier 3.
My tier 3 will be It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Still running to today. Phenomenal cast. Very hilarious.
Yeah, Charlie Day says the N word in the first episode.
Is he really?
So that one's canceled.
Yeah.
My tier 3 is going to be That 70s Show. I think that one's a sleeper.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I fucked up.
But when you pick though, like let's say Garrett has a incredible tier 3. What if it's someone's tier 2, and that's where
It does play a little like flavor.
because Garrett's is in my list.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
Hey, cut out the part where Will says Garrett's is in my list because
Okay,
you don't want people on their seats right now, the edge of their seats.
I know, but that reaction that
I gave,
got
we
out
both
of you
gave,
that you
yeah.
just
I
gave, I
shouldn't
was
have
like,
done that. I
fuck.
shouldn't have done that.
I wanted that to happen.
Yeah.
My tier 3
Hmm.
is, and I hate that I'm
Don't.
piggybacking. You know what? I don't want to piggyback. I'm going to throw an honorable mention to The Office. My tier 3, you know how I like to get a little wiggle room. My tier 3 will be Friends. I think Friends is fucking all time. I loved every season. I binged all of it. I binged it the second time when I was in year 3 or 4 and loved every minute of it. I watched their reunion, and to me, like taking Friends, because they did what, 10 seasons?
I think so, yeah.
10 years of people being best friends. Like everyone in their world, like we go through high school, we think, man, when we're in high school and we're going to hit our careers, we think one day we're all going to come back to our bubble.
Right,
and
yeah.
see who did what and compare it in the romances that go on. Same with college. Like the fact that these guys, and that's 4 years growing up together and 4
Sure.
years of high school. But going through 10 years of being like an adult in a show, going back and forth, riffing off each other, figuring each other out, they probably did have romances.
Yeah.
Ross and Rachel, yeah. Fuck, I almost drew a blank right there.
I got you back.
But their actual romance was a real thing. And for them to come back and do their anniversary and to see that they get to kind of do what everyone kind of thinks about in high school, I think is incredible. So my tier 3 is going to be Friends.
That dude.
That's a great way to put it.
Dude, yes.
That was solid. That was solid. I don't like doing it this way. I don't like because
Okay.
it's well, fuck, dude. Because there's like 5 on here. They could really go in any order for me.
For sure.
Okay, at first I disagreed with Will, but I gotta give an honorable mention to The Office as well.
Yeah.
Dude, this sucks.
It's just the
sucks.
camera angle vibes that Office gives and the zoom ins and the reacting to
funny.
the camera, the
And
awareness.
you can put it on
factor.
any time too, and it's just
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
That's really all sitcoms. You can kind of do that. The ones you love. All right. My heart's pounding out of my chest right now
Back.
because
Welcome
my
back
tier
to the
3.
It's like a
show.
rose ceremony on The Bachelor. The suspense. You got to insert the drama music, close-ups.
I think ours is gonna be. I think ours is gonna be the same.
That's okay.
shit.
We know
For
that that's
tier 3
okay.
and 2. Bro, my tier 3 is Friends, and there's not a whole lot I can say other than what Will just said. The romances, everybody getting along with each other, everybody's own specific storyline that they were able to go and develop on their own. You fell in love with each of them every single time. Everyone was a big Chandler guy. Then after 3 or 4 seasons, like, yo, I love Joey too. And then everyone kind of hates on Ross for a little bit, but he's
you
like,
doing?
yo, he's got to be there too. He needs to be there. And then he gets the hottest girl. Then Monica comes in. Almost, oh my God, Chandler and Monica are now a thing. That's fucking crazy to me. I didn't know that could happen. Now all of a sudden, Joey's into Rachel, and he doesn't know how to tell Ross. How's Ross
In
gonna
the
feel?
engagement?
And his apartment's right across the street. He can see into the window. They can see what's going on.
Remember the engagement when she was having the baby and
Hey,
Joey turns
hey,
around?
hey. Oh, Phoebe's now a surrogate for another family? That's crazy.
The coffee
Smelly
shop?
Cat's the #1 hit. The coffee shop is a thing? It is unbelievable, dude. Goosebumps again. I think Friends is a tier 3.
You broke it all down.
You
in
did.
what sounded like a rap.
Dude. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey,
That was great, dude.
Man. And I think our tier 2s are going to be the same also. I think. Don't say nothing, though.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing. All right. We've been cemented. Tier 3, we're good? JP, you're up.
All right, my tier 2. I think this would have been my tier 1 if I was older, but my tier 2 is Seinfeld. I think it's just
Piece of
unreal.
shit.
That's what they said when it was
Can't stand
first.
'em.
When it was
I'm going
first
on
played,
record.
too.
Is this my camera? I'm on record. I fucking hate him.
Oh, you don't like
you
Seinfeld?
actually don't like him.
stand him.
I've heard Seinfeld's a piece,
Oh,
though.
wow.
Yeah.
Sidebar story? We got a side story?
He's just a horrible person.
Oh, you see his interview with Larry King when the B movie came out?
Yeah, just watch that.
Just watch that.
So you're just saying from watching on the outside in, he's like he's a
being at
horrible
the
person.
cellar and just seeing him and just like how he just the air about him. It's just like, oh God, what a horrible. You know, like when somebody walks in the room and it just gets cold.
Yeah.
It's like that's what it's like for me. I'm like, ugh.
I did
Not a fun hang.
Oh, hang. There's no hang. He just floats in with arrogance and then leaves with arrogance.
He would do. Jerry Seinfeld was on top of the world.
Yeah. So
He
you
was-
wouldn't do, what is it, the coffee show? Getting coffee?
No.
Oh yeah.
I'd sooner
Comedians getting coffee. Isn't that a Jerry
quit
Seinfeld
comedy
thing?
and watch.
That kind of, I was never a big Seinfeld guy, but that.
I heard that thing's good. Yeah, but it's just I.
But go ahead, continue, JP.
Yeah, it's gotta be tough to talk about after that just
Yeah.
happened.
Bags don't care about your feelings. I separate the person from the show.
As a man of character, that's weird to hear.
Fuck you, dude.
That's crazy.
So yeah, tier 2, Seinfeld.
Now they're all going, right?
They're all going. So this is Jack's tier 2.
This is tough, man. My tier 2 is going to be Arrested Development. It's a phenomenal show with a lot of the way they intertwine all the running jokes
Oh.
throughout the seasons. It's very well written, not just like a easy comedy to be a part of. It's once you really get invested, all of the banana stand. I mean, there's so much.
If you
But
shut your
Audible,
eyes,
brother.
you hear Steve-O.
Yeah, oh, kind of.
Do people ever tell you sound like Steve-O?
no, but I definitely have that like very like
Yeah.
like one of those. Me,
Like a stoner.
yeah, it's the reason you guys started calling me Stoner Jack.
Yeah, which I thought was such a cool nickname, and you totally shit on it.
Well, yeah, I didn't have a career at the time, so I think that's pretty.
So you go back to being Stoner Jack now,
No,
and now you're MILF Hunter Jack.
you guys just are just trying to destroy my career at all times. That's okay with me.
They're mad because you said another one of their shows.
Oh, did I really?
No. But I thought of one, and it is breaking my heart.
That's not your tier 3.
Yeah,
the message. You saw me put my fist down.
I know. I'm very upset. I'm very upset about it.
Okay, so Arrested Development for Jackie.
I'm kind of confused if this is a sitcom, but Eastbound and Down is going to be my tier 2.
Mm.
Does that count?
That
I don't know.
would be
It's
a
a
single cam. If you're putting
isn't that
Arrested Development
HBO
in,
show?
I think you would put that in
Okay.
because they're both single cam shows.
Okay.
Single cam. Yeah.
It's like on HBO, right?
Yeah.
Those Entourage.
I mean, sitcom to me, you got to be on cable television.
Well,
Entourage isn't considered a comedy though.
yeah, you're right. That was bad. That was bad.
You know what
Pull.
I'm saying?
If
Yeah.
you have the
But I feel
HBO
like
channel, it's on
Is a
TV.
link,
If you're rich.
determined though?
What's up?
That's why I'm confused. It's 30-minute episodes.
You want to stay safe? It's gotta be 30 minutes or less.
I think you can do it.
Oh,
If it is, Eastbound and Down is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
so it's Righteous Gemstone.
That's why I'm like, that's why I don't want to get into that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never.
Here, I think it should be the 30 minutes or less, and it should be on cable television.
Where everybody can enjoy it.
Yeah, where
You gotta have the
everybody can enjoy it.
channels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so that's tough. We're gonna take it away from you. We're gonna take it away from you, Garrett. Oh, Will put his fist down. Do you want us to come back to you?
Yeah, I
Okay,
gotta come back.
That's fair. Stevie,
Okay. My tier
30
2.
minutes or less, cable TV.
My honorable mention because I didn't get one was Cheers because I fucking love Cheers. I can
Oh,
watch that
nice
anytime.
late
Good
night.
one too,
I love
dude.
it.
That's a good one
Cheers
too.
is unbelievable.
Oh, dude, Norm. Hey, what does he say? Hey, Norm would shake in 2 cheeks and a couple of chins. Hand me a beer,
Yeah.
dude. Every time he sat down.
The best cold open of that show. It was one of the few they ever did outside. Norm standing outside,
Mm.
and and I think Woody comes out and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" He goes, wait, and then this car drives by and honks, and Norm waves. He goes, "Oh, who was that?" He's like, "It's my wife. It was our anniversary today." And he goes back downstairs. That's the opening. It was fucking
That's awesome.
brilliant. Yeah, so that's my honorable mention. But my tier 2, it's a curveball, but it's The British Office.
Whoa.
The British Office is the greatest single cam show done. It was so popular, it created, it basically gave license to 30 Rock, Parks and Rec, all of them. They all copied that style. And it was on BBC Two, and Ricky
Was it cable?
Gervais did it on nothing of a budget. The whole stilted camera in the back, they all ripped off of it. The American Office I enjoy, but the British Office, nothing will touch it. It's so uncomfortable. It's so fucking great. Ricky Gervais is a genius in that show. If you've never seen it, watch. There are only 6 episodes a season, by the way, over in England. So there's 3 seasons. It's like 18 episodes. And to his point, when he saw Steve Carell get the award at the Emmys, he said ours was only 3 seasons and only like 18 episodes. He said quality over quantity, and I do agree with that sentiment though, because they jammed that show is so rock solid. There's no fat on those shows. It's great.
Man. Now the way you put it had me agree with you a little bit. I don't know how that's going to be received.
It's fine, but
because
if
The Office
you don't
is
have
so revered
the
here.
British Office, you don't have The Office, you don't have any of those single cam shows that were Arrested Development, none of it, unless you have the British Office.
Yeah. I love that.
And
I love that you stick your flagpole on the ground.
From Christopher Guest, because of the mockumentary Spinal Tap was so influential to him, he wanted to make the mockumentary of being in a shitty office in working class England.
That's pretty outstanding.
I'm absolutely sick.
Bro, I'm sick too because I just thought of 2.
I'm absolutely sick to my stomach that I can only say 2 more because I have 3, like a true 3.
Yeah.
And the fact that I've already said a tier 3 and I've said an honorable mention, it's like
my baby girl came to me right away. I know my number one. I know my number one in a minute.
I could puke. This might not be well received by you guys, but I would like to ask if I can bump. It's okay if it's no. It's okay. I promise it's okay.
Is the ink dry yet, or?
I put my fist down.
You did.
But
my
hey,
hands are literally sweating. I'm so sick.
Dude, same, bro. I am lost right now. Okay, here's the deal. We all got to vote. I'll go first. I think that's okay.
I really appreciate that. I really do appreciate that.
You guys want to start over? No. For Will to bump his 3.
For me to knock my
knock
3.
his 3. And he's going to have 2 honorable mentions now. So will I.
That's
Yeah, I'm such a fucking loser.
So if that's the case, I need to bump my 3.
We will not allow that with you.
Why?
Then vote against
We
it.
have
The
to
boys,
vote. We
the boys,
have to
the boys,
vote.
the boys.
Oh, you should have done it after they voted. Now they're going to vote against you. I need to bump my 3 too. Hey, Jack, you want that Silverado? Come on. All right. I say yes. JP?
I would say yeah. Why not?
I appreciate
Okay,
it.
that's 2.
I say no.
I say no.
Oh,
That's good because we got the people on the show. Their votes. Their votes go
Oh, really?
up. You guys count as like double.
That's
Wouldn't you say you
crazy.
get 2 votes.
Old Dictator Willie, dude.
Yeah.
Dictator Willie.
We gonna let the.
But I agree. Let's go, baby. I want to change mine too. It benefits me. Let's go.
We can't let the prisoners run the yard.
You
just
sound
act really
crazy
crazy.
about your boys. I saw y'all in Vermont having a great time. Like, damn, they're getting relationships. Sounds like it wasn't.
It was not like
Oh, God. All right. So, Willie,
All right, what's your?
give us your 2 honorable mentions in your tier 3.
My 2 honorable mentions, like I'm sad we had to bump Friends. I do think we
After
really
what we said about it,
we
too.
really
so
did
you're bumping
Friends right.
Friends down.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm not adding like another honorable mention in there.
Shit, okay.
I have my 3.
Yeah. Okay.
My tier 3 is gonna take everybody's gonna be like, huh? But when I really started to fall in love with the idea of knowing that it was a sitcom, it happened for me in college when I would binge this show because my brother Cody, shout out Cody, all the free shout outs to the little bro, put me on this show. And it is How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother is one of my favorite shows of all time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was one of the first shows I binge watched. I think the pub at the bottom, Will Sasso actually makes an appearance in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
But what's the big dog's name from Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Siegel.
Yeah, Jason Segel. Like, I love all the characters there. I'm sticking with that. I really love How I Met Your Mother. That is my tier 3.
Above Friends. That's
Yeah.
And it's wild, too, because without Friends, How I Met Your Mother is not happening,
I agree
right?
with you. I agree with you.
So the premise of you took The Office, so it's
right,
kind
yeah,
of the
yeah.
opposite
But
here.
check, so
I don't hate it, though. I think How I Met Your Mother is a phenomenal film.
but
I'm not mad at you at all.
okay, good deal. I needed that, truthfully. But
Because mine's
I
gonna
don't-
get shit on.
I don't go back and watch Friends for the second time without binging How I Met Your Mother.
Right.
Like Friends, I would just kind of watch sporadically. I never kept up with it, like to where it was like in sequence or chronological order. But when Cody put me on How I Met Your Mother and I watched that all the way through and I fucking loved it, that made me go back and watch chronologically the Friends. So Friends wouldn't be there without How I Met
Now,
Your Mother.
one thing I don't like about How I Met Your Mother is it's kind of everyone has their own character development, but it's really based around Buddy. What's that dude's name? the main guy in How I Met Your Mother. Since it's your tier 3, you should know
I
his
know,
name.
but I'm more in love with like Barney.
Yeah,
Like,
Barney's
suiting
all
up,
time.
Barney was
Yeah,
a fucking
Barney was
vibe.
all time.
You're talking about Ted.
Ted, I think Ted was kind of a
God, I
bitch
thought of that.
because after a couple of seasons, you're like, you kind of just
He's kind of like the Ross.
yeah, and it's like
Always
he
chasing.
kind of
love.
annoyed me after a while.
For sure.
But I thought Barney kept it going. It's Jason Segel, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
He did Segel. He did a fantastic job too. Okay, my friends is now bumped, and I think yours was more well received. Mine will not be well received.
Oh wow.
I'm-
Doing it 2 as well because we're on.
Oh yeah, we need your
Yeah,
two.
Richard, too.
So my tier 2 is That 70s Show.
Okay.
That 70s Show was the first show I would literally go home after high school every day and watch it. Didn't matter which one was on. All of the characters there, I loved them. Red Foreman, Eric Foreman, Kelso, Hyde, Jackie. I loved them. Donna.
Fucking
Loved
love
them
Jackie.
all, dude. They would sit in the circle, understanding they're all getting high, but they're not like,
They're implying.
Yeah,
It's,
they're
it's even better. It's
implying
them
it. Yeah,
actually,
it's even
and there's a little
better,
bit of
bro.
smoke behind them.
But I love Eric. I'm gonna put my foot in your ass. The tough love, just the basement vibe.
Yeah.
That 70s
The
show.
mom's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That 70s show is like the first sitcom that I just would watch over and over every day.
Phenomenal.
Thanks, man.
So, my friends is now bumped. Boys, I'm sorry you're being treated the way you have today. Just know, although I agree with Will, I don't agree with how he handled it. My tier 3. We good out here, boys. We're straight. You know what I'm saying? I'll get you guys back one of these days. My tier 3 has not been seen by a lot of people, and I've tried to put you on the show so many times. I think it's phenomenal. The show is one long run-on sentence. It's based in Canada. It's a small, tiny town of 5,000 people of Christian, Hicks, hockey players, and skids. The dynamic is unbelievable. And the spinoff, I think I would have put it in my tier talk, but it's only been one season, but it fires me the fuck up. That show is Letterkenny.
Right.
I think that show is so funny. The chirps,
Is
the
Taylor's
way
favorite
people,
show.
I fucking love that show. I think
never
it's
seen it.
unreal. And then in that show, which will eventually probably become in my tiers, is a show called Shoresy, which is a spinoff of a character on that show.
Right.
Shoresy's a hockey player. You never see his face. Jared Kizo, who is the writer and director of that show, plays one of the main characters, who's quote unquote Hick. He also plays Shoresy, who's a hockey player, but you never see his face the whole time, and all he does is just chirp. They made a spinoff
Yeah.
where Jared Kizo's face is now seen, and they're in this shitty place in Canada where they're playing like senior A hockey,
Sure.
and it is, buddy, if you like hockey,
Yeah, I
you
do,
will
yeah.
fucking love this show.
All right. Yeah.
Taylor really does.
The first
Taylor
two,
really tries to put me on it all the time. I just haven't
Bro,
taken the time to sit
it
down and watch
is
it.
so genuinely funny. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll check it out.
Yeah, Letterkenny's great, but you're gonna love Shoresy. It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah.
They're fast paced. They move like it's
Yeah.
going and going and going.
Where is it? Is
You
it
can find
Netflix?
it on Hulu. Oh, I can't put it in there. It's on Hulu.
I was wondering if it was on like.
Yeah, it's not on cable. I can't put them in there.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Taylor just intercepted himself.
Yeah. I threw the ball and I ran and caught it. That was pretty impressive of me. It's on Hulu. I wish you didn't ask that because then I could have got away with it. It's all right. It would have been found out eventually.
Maybe you can have that like.
But in Canada,
You-
where is it seen?
Crave TV, which is their Hulu.
Oh, okay. I thought it was on like CBC.
Like maybe you can put it as your honorable mention and keep the friends where it is, just so it gets its love, and then you obviously explain it on social media.
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna need that whole Letterkenny thing cut up though. I'm trying to get on that show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on that show. But yeah, what a fantastic show. And Shoresy's unbelievable. You will
Okay.
absolutely love it.
Check it out.
Garrett, what would you have bumped?
Oh, I gotta do my tier 2.
Oh, that's
So
right.
now
that's right.
now Friends is back in my tier 3. Is that what we're saying?
It'll be on the they'll all be on the graphic.
Hey, we'll give you Shoresy.
We'll give you Letterkenny.
Yeah, that's fine.
You do love
According
Letterkenny.
to you, they don't count. So
I would say I would vote yes with them on Letterkenny.
you let me keep it.
Yeah.
Nope.
You're so crazy, bro. Letterkenny.
Is Letterkenny?
Hasn't seen it.
Oh, Eastbound and Down? Love it, dude. I could sit there and watch the Will Ferrell bloopers literally
the plums.
every fucking day, dude.
Two plums for one.
Yeah.
That is just so funny. Okay, anyway, that's my tier 3.
Let the boy watch.
My tier 2. We're on the same wavelength today. That 70s show. I just like Will. I would come home. That is the first
cool.
time I fell in love with like your celebrity crush. Like, who's your celebrity crush?
Sure.
Kate Winslow or Winslet? Winslow. I know she's on that
Winslow?
70s show from Titanic. The first
Kate
boobs I
Winslet.
saw. She was the first boobs I saw, and that really, whoa.
Yeah.
This is what the world's like. That's incredible. The first girl I fell in love with was Jackie. Oh my God. She was unbelievable. Mila Kunis has since then been my celebrity crush. Don't care how old she gets.
Yeah.
She's just outstanding in my opinion. I hope I never meet her. I hope I never do.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to get let down. You know, I don't want to be let down.
Isn't it fucking awesome that Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher got married?
Unbelievable. And I love Ashton Kutcher.
Jackie.
I fucking love Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
The whole dynamic between everybody, it's outstanding, dude. It's such a great show. That
Really
70 show is my tier 2. I'm
Garrett?
proud of these. I'm proud of all these right now.
What would you want to bump?
I'm gonna need to bump that 70 show to 2 and do 3 now.
Okay.
If that's
What was your
okay.
3?
Well, it was
It was-
that 70 show, and then I did Eastbound and Down. Y'all said no for some
He
reason.
said no. He said no.
Will said no.
What was
I
your
agree
tier
with Earl.
2 the second time around?
I haven't done it yet. Way to
Okay,
skip me.
okay.
Go
Am
ahead,
I
kid.
going?
Proceed.
All right, so now that I'm bumping that 70 show to 2, my tier 3 is going to be 2.5 Men. That was one that I felt like I was young and didn't understand, but I've gone back and watched them, and it's just, I don't know why, but it makes me laugh so hard. It's a random one, but it's one that, like, I didn't really watch a bunch, but it's one of those.
All right.
All right, boys.
The tier 1.
Now we're at number 1.
My tier 1 is Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They got it all in there, and especially the scene when his dad is going to take him on a trip, and then his dad bails at the last moment, and he's crying with Uncle Phil.
Oh.
Like, you know what? I don't need him. I taught myself how to drive, taught myself how to shoot a basketball. The hell with him. Why he don't love me, man?
Oh, I teared up just
God.
now.
Yeah.
Damn.
Tier 1.
Tier
Will Smith,
1.
Jazz, Carlton, and Viv. And Viv spoke at our graduation in college as well. So, tier 1, Fresh Prince.
That was a good one.
To me, The Office though is God tier, so it doesn't even deserve to be on the list. And I agree with Steve with the UK Office really setting the playing field for everyone. But I think The Office
You're
is
still
God
2 in
tier.
tier 1 right there?
No, it's
Don't be
God
talking,
tier,
Will.
God
Don't
tier.
you fucking talk like that.
But my number 1, and this probably won't
I
catch
did
a
a series.
ton of eyes, but for me, it's Workaholics. Workaholics is
God, I forgot
so good to me. It's my guilty pleasure show. I put it
ass.
on. I just throw it on in the background and just let it play. So yeah, number 1, tier 1, Workaholics.
What a great
Struggling with that
show.
one.
Damn, I knew this is gonna happen. This is why I like to go last.
My number 1 is also Workaholics. I
Mm.
feel like it is like where I get my humor. It's done everything I've needed it to do, and you just put it on repeat. I think I'm on season 4 again for like the 20th
wow.
time. It's just so good.
That's fucking. Obviously, that wasn't received the same way, Garrett. But he just said it, so that's the phenomenal picks, boys.
I'm a little insulted. No one put Sullivan and Son in any of their top 3. It's fine.
damn.
That's
It's
great.
fine.
Is that your tier 1?
No.
One.
I was on my own show, and it's not in my top 3. My top 1, my tier 1, Married with Children. I fucking love Married with Children. And you got to remember, at a time, sitcoms very traditional, right? It was the Cosby Show. It was kind of,
Great show.
Cheers. But then you got Fox, this brand new network that's coming out, and they put this sitcom on where they just said anything they fucking want. That show was almost like the internet before the internet. You have characters saying things that are so outlandish and insulting and making like a mockery, caricatures of like your typical housewife. Peg's constantly smoking. Al Bundy's got his hand in his pants and he just wants to read Biggins or go to Biggins, the strip club, with his group of guys and the neighbors, and they treat their kids like shit, and the kids treat their parents like shit. You'd never seen anything like it before. I fucking love that show. And Ed O'Neill in that show is when he's in the shoe store and like women are coming out, like big obese women taking their and he's shitting on them and making fun of them, like, "Oh, keep your shoe on, please. Get out of that." He had so many great lines. I live and die by that show. If that show's ever on, I don't move. I love it. It's great.
Yeah,
On my
I've
heart.
never watched it.
You've never seen
No, I
Married
never
Children?
have, brother.
Have you guys seen Married with
But I
Children?
love the way you explain it.
Holy shit.
I could listen to you talk about anything.
The lines in that show, the caricatures of like it's like it's about masculinity, because Al Bundy is like your typical American male. He wants to drink beer. His wife annoys him. Every time his wife wants sex, he's got a line. He's like, Peg, I'd rather do XYZ than have sex with you. And and his daughter's a whore. Christina Applegate's an absolute whore.
Hey, which it makes that 70s show a good one too. The sister.
Yeah, the sisters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ted Bundy's,
Also smoke.
not Ted Bundy, but Bud Bundy's always jerking off. There's all these masturbation. It's like, again, like you got it's like a time capsule in time. You'd never seen anything like it, but they still hold up. If you get a chance, watch an episode in the middle of like their runs. The first season or two, they were still defining their voice as a show, but it is hilarious. Laugh out loud lines. That writer's room must have been like, it was. I don't think they ever were like, oh, you can't do that. That's too far. Like that's how crazy the lines were on that show.
Now,
Married with Children.
Is the dad on that show? Is he the grandpa in Modern Family?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. It's,
And what a great
show
actor.
as well,
'cause
Modern
you've seen
Family.
Two totally different characters.
he is. He's great. That show's awesome. And the dad in Modern Family is also phenomenal. All-time character.
Married with Children.
You never heard of Married with Children?
No, I haven't.
Dude, when I was in middle
did it
school,
come out?
when I was in middle school, I got grounded from not middle school, elementary school. I got grounded from like cartoons. I wasn't allowed to watch cartoons. So on channel 51, there was TV Land. And TV Land played all the older ones. So I started watching Cosby Show, Married with Children, all that stuff, dude. It was awesome.
Dude, that show came out in 87.
87. It ran for like, I don't know when it must have gone.
Your
to like
list might
97,
not
like 10
play
years.
well on Twitter, but you might do numbers on Facebook.
Oh, that is fucking funny
I'm
now.
47 years old, so
No.
I own my age. I don't care. At least I'm
You
not
look
Callan.
great.
You look
Callan
fantastic.
would be I Love Lucy, you know,
Yeah.
Happy Days. Yeah.
Dude, so my tier
Oh,
one.
is it? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for mine. I've been excited. This was actually the one I thought about because I watch it so casually and I think it is timeless.
You're getting
And it
pumped for
is-
this?
I'm
And
nervous.
It's a shout to the Tiger Blood King himself, Charlie Sheen, Two and a Half Men. That
Ooh.
is
Number
my
one.
Yes, I can watch it. I still
Wow.
watch it. I watch it now. When it's on, I go on Two and a Half Men. It can be background noise. It is my favorite show. I was so sad when they stopped running him or they went into the Ashton Kutcher. I didn't think that Two and a Half Men was that good at all. But the Charlie Sheen Two and a Half Men, dude, is my favorite shit. I would watch it at. I think it's timeless. I think I'll watch it forever. As long as they're running them on TV, I'm watching it. Two and a Half Men.
You know, I was impressed the way you reacted when Two and a Half Men was brought up.
Dude, I was like, because Loki Garrett took a couple from me.
Hmm. I think we know who's is making the list
What do you mean?
up there. Because we're taking one, right?
Yeah, we're taking one from each for sure. Like Garrett.
No. We're taking. I thought we're taking one column. Like it's either gonna be JP's column, Jack's column, or Garrett's column.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm
That's
down
what
with that. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be one from each tier.
Well, the way I phrase it, that's how I was
But yeah,
thinking.
I'm
But
down-
it's,
I'm
it's,
down
we
to
can
do
do whatever
the
you guys
person.
want.
I'm down to do the person.
I'm gonna do the
But
person
for
too.
sure, if
like,
I'm,
hey, you got called up
I'm
to the
sitting here
bigs.
getting it. Yeah, I'm getting sitting here listening to Garrett. I'm like, we could legit fucking watch TV together. There's even Yellowstone.
That was beautifully said.
Yeah. I think it's a way to say it too. Like, yo, I could fucking watch TV with this motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know.
Yeah, and we would have a great time. Not saying a word to each other, and kind of like looking over at each other, like, you like this too? That would be.
And that's how you know you got a good friend too.
Yeah.
Is when you sit in a room and just don't even talk.
Yeah, you don't have to talk.
You don't have to do. There's no like, hey, we got to say something to each other.
Yeah.
You go and sit there, watch TV, stare at your phones.
Yeah.
And you're cool with it.
Yeah.
That's a friend right there.
Time
That's a
goes by, and then
friend.
eventually you're like, oh, I think I'm gonna head home. And you're like, all right,
All right,
brother.
man, we'll see you. Or if you're me, it's like, come on, stay for 10 more. Stay for 10 more minutes.
Like, hey, we've done nothing.
Yeah.
Two and a Half Men, though.
That's a solid one.
You know what I thought of too?
Hmm.
I don't think you're gonna say it, so I'll just may I have a third honorable mention? I'm just fucking around.
Bro,
I'm
you
fucking
are.
around.
My man is crazy.
But what I was thinking of is King of Queens. I always like enjoy that show.
It was an enjoyable show. I don't think
Yeah.
it was going to make the
It
tears, though.
wouldn't make the tears,
Yeah.
no. But a good like, you kind of grin and
Right.
Yeah.
like, let me go see what Kevin James was up to. Yeah.
All right, my tier one. It got me right here because every single time I would watch a show having some girl problem, I don't know why, but if I was having some girl problems, if I was going through a breakup or I was just a little down, I would put this show on. I would just watch it for hours. It made me feel so warm and fuzzy watching the trials and tribulations of this young gentleman work through becoming a doctor and going through love, figuring out with people, what are we going to do left and right. I will watch the show whenever it's on. You put it on now and it's a little cheese. It's a little cheesy if you put it on now, but it's so fire. And that show is Scrubs. I think that
Wow.
show is all fucking time.
That's my boy Logan's favorite show.
Really?
He loves.
I
Scrubs.
think
He
that
fucking
show
loves
is so
Scrubs.
good. Brown Bear, my buddy. Well, that's who he's named after. My nickname for him. But anyway,
That Brown Bear's on the show of Scrubs.
Brown Bear, yes.
Okay.
JD is the main character. His best friend is Brown Bear, who's who's Petey from Remember the Titans.
Something. Yeah.
Which his character is unbelievable. But they just, dude, that's an all-time show. It warms my heart every single time I watch it. I love it. The head doctor, Dr. Cox, his rants going in on JD was just all time, dude. That guy's so fucking funny. I absolutely love that show.
I'm sorry, no Golden Girls. Not one mention of Golden Girls.
Golden Girls.
Yeah, you ever watch it?
I've never actually seen Golden
Solid
Girls either.
jokes.
Really?
Solid.
Pretty funny.
Holds up. Yeah.
Really?
One of the classics that you'll just be flipping through channels and it's on. It's like,
Betty
great.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Betty White, B. Arthur.
Well,
I
was
mean, there's
gonna
a lot
say,
of greats out there.
A lot of greats out there. But that's why it's tiered.
The sitcoms, I think, also what helps the sitcom game is their songs. Like that intro song, like every time it comes on, you're like, ooh, like I'm not hitting skip. Like on Netflix, you can hit skip. But like the sitcom songs, like the intro songs were just perfect.
Hey, I was thinking about God tier. I think, you know how we put Wedding Crashers at God tier for our rom-coms? If our tier ones are all the same, automatic God tier. And so that one transcends, and then our tier twos become tier ones, tier threes too, and then we get one more.
But
an honorable mention makes it up.
How do we figure that out though?
That's how it's God tier, dude.
Okay. All right.
You know what I'm saying? It would be, but we would all say best rom-com, and we'd all, for us, I don't know what it'd be for you. I love Lucy's a sitcom, but you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? You know the joke I'm trying to present to you right now. But Wedding Crashers was by far number one.
I just think it's slick that. So who we picking back there for the list? My vote would be Garrett.
My vote is also Garrett.
All right. Settled.
Wow, this is the longest I've ever been on a podcast. This is fucking great. Thank you guys.
How did you feel about the tier talk? Like, were you getting bored listening to us?
No,
we were super into it, but I was kind of thinking like,
what
man,
I
what's
like
Steve
hearing
thinking?
is like the disseminate, like how you break it down, and how you break down. When you did the Friends rant, I was like, oh my god, I bet like if you took that sound clip and sent it to somebody that wrote on Friends, they'd be fucking like over the moon. It was so fun to see how you broke it down, and then your take on, I think your third was really cool. I don't know. It's fun to hear how people perceive the show and what it means to them. You know, I think I liked it. I had fun.
Sitcom. It's a great way to go turn off your brain.
Exactly. Yeah.
God.
Good vibes, dude. It's a pro vibe.
That's why it was funny. I was talking to the guys on Impractical Jokers. That's why their show works. Do you know why? Because their laugh is their laugh track. Yeah. Which I never put together. I was like, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's smart. That show's so damn funny. Now, why'd they break up? Are they done doing their thing or?
No, the three of them are still doing it. Joe just stepped away. I think he's, you know.
Seems like we should have Joe on.
I could talk to
Ask
Joe.
him about it.
Sounds like you got a big trifecta ahead of you. Dane Cook, which we'll probably put that in the probably not category. The Vince Vaughn will put in the probably category.
No,
and then Joe, we'll see how the rest of this conversation goes.
If Dane came out here to play, I'm sure he'd do it because he's doing a lot more podcasts. Vince, I'm sure I'll talk to him the next day or so, and then
call him right now.
Gatto, I'll talk to.
Just you call, and we take the phone. We're like, hey, you want to come on?
What's up, sweetheart? I'm still sitting on the bus with Steve Byrne, Taylor, and all the boys. We are just now wrapping up.
After a pig.
Your boy will be home as fast as possible. We just got done with our tier talk. How's Rue doing? Is Rue being a little nightmare?
Man, imagine being married to Will, where like you think every conversation you have might be like recorded or tweeted about.
No, right?
You know, Charles, they're like, yeah, she's being fine. It's not that big of a deal. she legit thinks she's on speakerphone right now.
Yeah, I'm like sitting here with Steve and Taylor. She's like, okay, you know,
do your thing.
Things great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay as long as you want.
Yeah.
Shoots me a text on the side.
Get your ass home.
Yeah, you know I was fucking around, right?
Oh,
just for the audio. But all right, babe, I'll be home soon. Ooh, perfect. We'll order Uber Eats or Postmates.
why is your elbow so high?
All right.
the fuck's that thing doing up there?
All right, love you. See you.
All right, we'll talk to you later, sweetie.
You just go right here.
Yeah, my man getting a lat stretch.
What is he
like
doing?
that.
Am I pitting?
A little
Oh,
bit.
thank God. That dude can. No pits.
Dude can't fire. I want to give a quick shout out real quick to Chevy Silverado. The vehicle that they made an engine called the 350. That is what is sitting inside that 76 van.
Yeah.
That van just traveled 2,355 miles. I had a hiccup, not because of the engine, but because of the gas pump and the carburetor broke. I got that fixed. That engine ran hard 22 hours straight to get here.
You'll have to say that again for our intro next week.
Absolutely, I will.
I love how I love how he says it. Like we just do a 3-hour pod. He's like, I want to give a shout out to Chevy because not knowing when this one's gonna drop, like you'll definitely be delivering this again.
I got 20 minutes to talk about that show.
I know,
that drive.
I got to give a shout out to Saturn for the third door.
Yeah.
When I roll up to Zany's and I pop that third, the girls know Poontown's open for business. So thank you to Saturn.
Shout out Saturn. Psych.
No free shout outs to Saturn.
No
bleep when he says Saturn.
We're a Chevy
This
pub.
was fun, man. I appreciate it. And
Thank you,
again,
gentlemen.
shout out your dates for tickets, recording, all the stuff that you guys
Saturday,
do
August
now.
27th, Franklin Theater, filming for Amazon Prime, 9:30 p.m. Joe Gatto directing. It's gonna be a fucking great hour special. I worked so hard on this, so thank you guys for having me, and thank you guys very much.
We're gonna get
Appreciate it.
tickets.
Franklin Theater, just God, whatever the fuck it is. Or
God, whatever the fuck it is.com.
Craigslist, you can find tickets
Yeah.
there, yeah.
Back page.
Yeah. Free tickets. I can't use these. Anybody want them? Yeah, that's where you find them.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, brother.
man.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Wait.
Hey. Bye.
Vibes.
Nothing better.